Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Always talking my shit. Ashley, you got a condom in your pocket when you come home, baby. You are sloppy.
Rihanna,
I think you want to shit.
Why? Oh, okay, what's up? I'm still single. What about you?
Sabrina. I need more controversial friends. That's crazy though. That's just like, I don't even know. I'm gonna need y'all to comment, like, subscribe.
Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hola. Hey, guys.
We're
Welcome back.
with another episode of Always Talking My Shit with Ashley.
Tiana. Melanie.
And Sabrina.
John.
Ty.
Hey.
I see what y'all tried to do there.
Okay, I like it.
He's like, let me jump right in.
They said, let me introduce myself.
Right.
We have our guest.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
All right, so just do a quick intro. You know, well, you did your name, but your age and your relationship status.
My name is John. I'm 34 and I'm married.
Oh, nice.
My name is Ty, 34, and not in a relationship.
Okay.
Not in a
okay.
relationship.
Single and ready to meet.
But that's not a status though. So you're single.
Single.
Are you dating?
Well, you know, right now
let her know.
in life, I'm kind of like on this road right now of like dating without a purpose, and it is what it is. It goes where it goes. Right now, I'm not dating with any expectations right now. Like,
By choice? Like you don't want that, or you're just not putting those out there?
Well, do I not want it? Of course I do, but just not right now due to the fact of I've been through some things. So, you know, I'm kind of working on me internally.
Oh, that's cool.
Tired of men saying that.
saying that.
Let's get into it.
We're gonna get into that.
Let's get into it.
I'm just,
Y'all don't want me to get into it.
I'm just saying. I rather a woman tell me she's working on herself internally, so that I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least give me that, so that I know it's not just me.
So how long have you been
Working on yourself.
working on yourself?
So it's been like I'm gonna say probably about like a year, if that.
Okay, that's
been
not-
going to counseling and all
not
that good stuff.
Oh,
but
that's good. Counseling.
I disclose it though.
So you're really working on yourself. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was just
You're
an
just not
excuse.
saying it just to say
Oh
it.
yeah, nah.
Oh no, it's good.
So you're really taking the steps to. Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I know what I'm struggling with. I know what I got going on.
That's good. That's great.
How long do you think it's gonna take?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I don't know. You can't. I
Is
don't
it
think
day
you-
by day?
I don't
type
think you
thing?
necessarily put a time limit on it. I think it's just more of that thing like it's kosher, like with having the understanding of life and where you're supposed to go and where you're supposed to be. You gotta have a vision on that. And if you can't see a vision of where you're supposed to go and where you're supposed to be, then it's kind of like, what's the point of being in a relationship? So I'm not gonna waste no girl's time. I'll let her know, like, if we start talking, this is what it is. I'm working on me, but I'm down with like trying to be friends. And if we build something that goes there, then you know, first I gotta get in alignment with
So you
God.
wouldn't stop something from happening, like a relationship or commitment?
No, not at all. But she has to be in alignment with God because that's where I'm battling the most.
Okay.
I
A
see.
little sprinkle of razzle dazzle of God in there.
No, for sure.
I want to know how many of y'all females liking it,
Liking it?
liking what he's saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
mean, it sounds
Phone
good.
numbers today.
If I,
sounds great
good.
on paper.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's really true, that's amazing.
yeah, not saying
Not saying you're lying, but
Nah, he ain't lying.
But
Let's
like
talk about
being
it.
a
What men
single
really open up.
woman and hearing that a lot, yeah.
But my question, I guess, too, is like, so when you date, do you date people the same age or like same? Because if you're not ready now and you're 34 and a woman comes to you and she's around the same age, like I'm sure she's gonna want something like in the next couple months, kind of thing. So like, do you date younger people or is it just what it is? Like,
Older.
oh,
Yeah, I'm more of like
You can't date young.
yeah, I'm more of like if she's not at least 35 all the way up, I'll stop at like 42.
okay.
Then it's like,
Wow.
But if you meet women that age, they're probably ready for something more than you're ready for
Oh,
right now.
definitely, but they're gonna understand it will be kosher to it. They're not gonna try to rush it. 'Cause they
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
So I mean, on a daily, she's saying she hears dudes saying they're working on themselves. But I mean, don't get me wrong, there's dudes out there that manipulate the situation, say they work on themselves so they can have multiple women. But then you have a guy that really tells you this is how I'm working on myself, give you the direction and foreplan of where we going with it, how I'm working on myself. Then that's where you should have to understand, like, okay, he really is trying to work.
Interesting. I'm sure we'll get more out of that in this conversation. How long have you been married for?
7 years.
Oh, wow.
7.
You
No,
took-
wait.
You took way too long to
8.
think.
Because you know what?
Wow.
I know.
Strike
I
one,
know.
John.
I'm like,
Nah,
did you
look.
just have?
Oh, there we go. My bad. 7 years.
Okay.
How long y'all been together?
10, 11.
Okay.
11. I stopped counting after 2.
Wow,
Yeah.
after 2.
Yeah, nah, but I got a little son, 5-year-old boy. That's
Okay.
my best thing that ever happened to me. It's like, man, changed my life.
Was that? Did you guys have the baby before you got married, or?
We had him before we got married.
Okay.
After we got married.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
After we
7
got
years,
married.
5.
I know.
Oh, yeah,
after
yeah,
we got married.
I didn't even
we
think
had the
about
baby.
it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
the story behind that too is funny because my wife would always tell you. She always get mad at me when I tell other people because we were trying to have a baby. Like, I think it was only like a month we was trying and it wasn't working. I was like, okay, forget it. Let's just, stop. Let's wait until like, it's time. So then my little brother, he called me. He was all like, guess what? I was like, what? He was like, you about to be an uncle. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. And then he was just like, so no, you know what that means? I was like, what? He was like, you got to have one. So after that,
Back on trying.
we was rolling. And she did not like that. But she over it, though, because she got her boy.
Yeah.
Do you guys want more kids?
Nah. I'm good. Just the one? Just the one. I give it up to people who have multiple children because with just that one, I focus so much on him. I can focus so much on him. And I listen to my coworkers and other people talk about, I have 2 kids or 3 kids. I can't do this because I'm running back and forth. I don't have enough time in one day. And I value all that. Like, I value that time with my son because I'm able to give him that.
Yeah.
And another thing, too, I didn't have it when I was growing up. So I'm trying to be the best dad I can be.
Right.
I'm setting him up to be a husband. I'm setting him up to be a young man. So I want to make sure I spit all my game, make sure he has all that knowledge.
Why are you laughing?
But I want to make sure that he got all the knowledge that I didn't have. I do a lot of handyman work. So me and him be in the garage, we working together. I bought him his own little measuring tape. I know it's a small little. I love it. Little handyman.
So do you think you couldn't do the same with multiple kids? Like,
No, I could. I could do the same.
but you just really enjoy having the one.
My whole
with
life,
time.
I didn't really care too much to have a kid. So even when my wife wanted it, I was like, okay, let's go for it. But she wanted her little boy. She got her little boy, so she's happy with that, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Do you have kids too?
I got 2, son and daughter, and then a stepson. My son's 9. His name's Elijah, and then my daughter is 5. Her name is Aliana.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So no, at one point, so don't get me wrong. At one point in my life, I was married. Oh. So that's why, like,
Plot
I literally.
twist.
So I just realized that, like,
Right.
that dawned on me. I should give you that detail. So at one point in my life, I
So you
was
should have
married.
said divorced.
Yeah.
divorcee.
Divorced, but so single which should be the new title. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
But you've been
definitely.
there, done that.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. Loved everything about it. It's just a journey that I was on,
That's great.
So
I'll tell you though, one thing though, it's nice being married. We go through our ups and downs. I think everybody do, and I think being married is just like you have to really, when you down, you really have to work on it. You can't give up. And I learned that. Like me and my wife for many years, we been up. We still up. We back up now.
Yeah.
But no.
No, I can relate. I can relate.
Yeah, when you go down, when you're so high on that roller coaster and you finally come down, that's when everything challenges you. That's when you have to put that work in. That's when you have to
Test the character.
Right. You have to, and I'm thankful. Like everything, that roller coaster is going right back up, and that's what I hear from a lot of older folks. They be all like, "Oh, people that's been married for 20 years will tell you, it's work."
Definitely.
You cannot be married for more than.
And you don't always have that in love feeling.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. And it comes back.
Yeah.
And I my wife, if she was here, she can tell you. I know she fell out of love with me, but she's back in love with me. It's
no.
back and forth.
Definitely.
Because I know I get on her nerves. I'm just that type of nigga. I don't be trying. I don't do nothing stupid. It's just like I'm irritating.
Yeah.
And I know it.
All men are.
Yeah. So, do you mind telling
I know
us?
How she hold on over here.
I know, right. We already
I'm on your
know.
ass, though.
I'm
I'm
independent.
the only girl I
I'm
have brothers.
independent.
Men are irritating.
I don't-
Wait, do you mind telling us like the reason for your divorce?
Honestly, I choose not to disclose that one only just because just the sake of the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you,
Would
I
never
feel
put her
you.
out there like that. You know what I'm saying?
Is there any anything you would have changed or?
Oh, for sure. Oh, for
I mean,
sure.
in the sense of like to save the marriage? Like,
Oh, yeah. I mean, man, looking back at it, you know, there was things that like I did that like looking back at it, I understood like, oh, okay, I see where I went wrong at. I see what I did things wrong at, and it's just me self-diagnosing the issue within myself, and understanding that. So I'm very kosher to understand that like, okay, damn, there's stuff that I could have did different, and stuff that I wish I would have did it different. Because don't get me wrong, I was with her for 10 years. So it wasn't just like, it was just like, oh, you know, I'm just going to get up and go. But it was just like certain stuff kept on, you know, repetitively happening. So at the end of the day, I can only go through that. And then it took for me when my 9-year-old asked me, he said, Dad, how come you don't sound like you're happy no more? That really fucked me mentally. So I had to like realize that like, okay.
So I have one more question. And I don't mind if you don't answer, but who initiated the divorce?
It would be me. I'll be honest with you. And I normally, and me, it took a lot out of me to do it because I'm normally a fighter. I'm not the one that'd be like, no. I keep pushing. But then once I started the demise of myself, like started going like a different route, I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm getting pushed to the limit. So
interesting.
Yeah, I can.
Usually women are the ones to be like, I'm out.
Yeah, y'all want to be single. Y'all want to be out there. Y'all want to be.
Y'all know how y'all work though. Y'all when y'all over a dude, y'all single inside your head while the dude still think y'all in a relationship.
Yeah, they start getting in the gym.
Y'all over there,
they start doing all this cute stuff. Like,
wait a minute.
Y'all over the relationship.
No, it's not like that.
Y'all don't check out.
Yeah, we check out, but I feel like if I'm checking out, it's because you're not giving me what I need in this relationship.
Okay, so
but there's still a chance for you to fight for it and do better.
I'm not checking out acting a fool, doing all
no.
that extra shit. No, I'm checking out like mentally, like I'm just drained.
So when you say mentally drained, what do you mean like checking out mentally drained? Like because
that's an open door.
There's sometimes you gotta have that little break to yourself and get that understanding. Like, okay, this is really what I want and what I want to do. That's that type of mentally check out. What's mentally check out for you?
That, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna start doing different shit for attention. Like, oh, all of a sudden I'm gonna go to the gym because I'm over him. But I'm so like, no, I'm not doing all that extra. No.
For me, I think too, when I was like, because I'm married, and when I was when we were at our lows and I was mentally checked out, I feel like I was so focused on all of the problems that it just like caused like the depression and anxiety. So I think it was a different type of checkout. It was I need to get back to myself. So I didn't necessarily do things for attention, like you know, posting selfies or going partying or anything like that. It was more like every day was like a struggle. Like I need to get up. I need to figure out how to still raise my kids. I need to figure out how to get to work and not think about the problems. And then of course it was also like we were fighting so much during the downs because I'm nagging about all my issues, like what I have issues with. So for me, when I check out, it's like I'm low. Like I'm trying to figure out how to like every day move on and get better and get myself. So if I were to have been like in the gym or doing things like that, it's just to help my mental because it was so bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I kind of check out when I do get to that point.
I think if I was married, it would probably be like that because I'm not if we're in the same household, I can't do the walking around not talking to each other and stuff like that. It would really bring my like spirit down.
Yeah.
Fuck me up.
Yeah, I can't do it. I would leave.
I don't like the
But that's why you communicate. I mean,
I know I'm
like,
a very good communicator, but when you don't want to like meet me halfway or like try to fix the issue, but you want to still walk around and act like nothing's going on, then no, we can't do that.
I feel what you're saying.
I'm like the opposite though. I will just separate myself. Like we'll be in the same house, so I'll tell you I'm irritated. You'll know I'm irritated, but I'm just like, you know what, me and I are gonna go. Like, well, you wanted to come. This is supposed to be a family day, but I'm just gonna go. Me and her. You can stay home, do what you're gonna do with your attitude. Bye. Like, I will still continue to do what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. You're going to know. That's my version of mentally checked out.
Yeah.
Like, because you're going to know and I'm going to tell you I'm mad or it's not working out right now. But I still have to continue and do what we're going to do.
So when is it enough? Like, y'all be like, okay, I'm done.
I think when the other person is really just not trying to fight, like, and then it's like the disrespect and all that stuff comes along too.
Wait, are you talking about in relationships in general or like in marriage?
Just a relation. I call it a marriage relationship too. I mean,
but I feel like a marriage you have to
there's
fight.
no done.
Have to,
really.
but
you don't. But it's a marriage. Like that's what.
I mean, that's why we still got a lot of
for
divorces
better or for worse.
I mean,
Yeah, for better or for worse.
So wait, so on this topic, and I know you have been divorced, so I don't know, but do you guys believe that, like, obviously you do because you have been divorced, but do you believe that divorce is an option, like, in your marriage?
Not for me. I told my wife. I actually I told my wife. I told her at the beginning. I said, look, we in this. There's no divorce. We're not going to do that. Might as well just say it because she might listen because I told her about it. So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I brought it up, but I brought it up for a different reason. I brought it up because I was hoping for a change. So I was like, okay, this might scare her or something because I know that we both. So,
Manipulation.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what?
What a tester.
Look, but you know what? We all manipulate
I've been there.
situations. But, you know, it would never get to that.
Yeah.
And that's why, like I said,
Shouldn't be on the table. Don't bring it.
you're right, and you spitting facts. I ain't even gonna argue that.
My husband
right.
says that because I used to do the same thing. Like when things were bad, I'd be like, I'm gonna leave, and then he would say like, you're opening that door. Like once you open that door, it's hard to close it. So we shouldn't even be talking about that if we're gonna fight. So
big time.
It's definitely a lesson though, because when you first get married, you don't really know what to expect. You don't really know how hard you have to fight for. You don't know how low the lows are gonna go. So. Yeah, but when you start changing that mindset to be like divorce is not an option, where it's like in your mind and you don't even bring it up, then yeah, it becomes easier to fight through the fights, I think.
So is there the one thing that you would divorce her over? Like, is there one thing you could never get over, like cheating? Like,
hey, I say it all. Like I can't say it too much, but you know what? Honestly, my wife's a good mother. Like real talk, and I like.
Aside from being a mother, we're talking about you and her.
Don't do that.
It's not about
Look,
because you could be a great mother, but you could still be a cheating ass wife.
Yeah,
I'm trying to go around this.
Speak on the wife's part, not the mother part.
You know what? I'll stay with her.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I feel like you're going. I mean, so I think we're all selfish in some way in a relationship because we always want that person to do everything not even do, but we want that person to to our likings. Mm-hmm. We don't get all that. We don't get everything. We might get a female that's cute and not funny or not sociable. So to me, I feel like life, we're not perfect. If we was perfect, then it'd be a whole different story. But why? I just believe that I'm trying not to say too much. That's why, but I believe that we're not. I know, right? But no, I just think that we're all imperfect humans, and shit happens.
So
shit happens.
Let me ask you ladies something. If you guys were all married, right, and your husband came to you one day and said, "Hey, I don't want to be a husband anymore."
Then that's different.
Came to you and said, "Hey, I don't want to be a husband no more. I'm checking out of being a husband. I don't think I can handle that position." What would you guys do?
Hey, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to fucking deal with it, and you're gonna have to check back in, and you're gonna what?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, you're gonna. How are you gonna say all of a sudden you're married to somebody, and all of a sudden I don't want to be a husband? Yeah, no,
but see, that's just like I believe that's just like fighting for someone who. This is saying that, hey, I want to get out. It's like, why would you fight for them? Now they're going to stay because of what?
Why would you?
They don't want to hurt your feelings?
I would definitely be confused. And
that is very confusing.
And I would have the conversation like, is there anything we can do? Can we go counseling? Can we
definitely
go
need therapy for that.
But I do think that biblically there's two reasons you can divorce, right? It's adultery and abandonment. So in that case, I would feel like he's abandoning me. So if there was nothing I can do to fix it and he just was like, no, I don't want this, then, I would have to leave. We would have to split.
Yeah, because I don't want you to stay just for me. But
I would feel like I would really want to push the issue because I would want to know, is this a temporary feeling or are you done? Because, we would have to take some time to figure that out, if he was willing. If he's just absolutely not willing, then I think I would
be like, we're not divorcing right now. But if you want time to, I don't know, be single or do what you want to do,
like
you
a
can
separation.
Take that time, but we're still gonna be together.
Like a separation.
Yeah, like a separation.
This shit,
we can take a separation.
We're grown for this shit.
No,
we're not because a marriage is a life partnership. So people change every couple years. So if at whatever, I don't know, you might be going through a midlife crisis and you're just like, I don't want to do this. So yeah,
I'm gonna need you to seek therapy.
Yeah, you definitely need to seek therapy. But that's on his part if he wants to do that. I would seek therapy for sure, but he could take his separation.
I feel like
And
if
then
you're
you wanna
coming to
come
me
back-
like I'm done with being a husband, the least you can do is say, okay, you know what? Let's just figure out why I'm feeling this way, and let's go to therapy.
That's your
together.
thoughts. He could just be like, I don't want
Don't
to
be a husband. Yeah.
Just don't. He
done
clocked
being a
out. He
husband.
clocked out.
Can you give me a little bit more reason why? I just need to know. I'm the
'cause
answer. I need answers.
I mean, clocking out, there has to be a reason why he's wanting to
Yeah.
not be. Clearly, there's something about you that he doesn't like. You're
That's why
doing
I'm like,
stuff.
let me know. Like, what?
I
what
wanna
happened?
know.
Like, what happened?
Like, or are you just running off of emotions because you're just, like Tiana said, having a midlife crisis? So, I don't know. That's
He don't owe you that explanation, but like,
how don't you? That's your
don't.
husband.
He
please,
doesn't.
can you just tell me, please?
How doesn't he owe you an explanation, though?
No, he definitely owes me an explanation.
So-
That's like my whole ass husband.
But that's if he has an explanation. I think where he's coming from, it's like he's just like, I'm done. Like, if that's just your explanation, then I don't know what
That's whack.
more we can do. I mean, it is.
It sounds whack and it sounds crazy, but it's just like people really don't owe people that explanation.
No,
like
I
if you
mean-
stay with a person because the person cheats and then you want to know the detail, he doesn't owe you the details.
That's
what do you need to know the
different.
details for? No, it's still an explanation, right?
I mean, I don't think anybody is obligated to explain. I think people should explain out of just like care,
Respect.
yeah,
Yeah.
respect, and like at least like
Especially if there's
some
kids
yeah,
involved.
that's childish.
Yeah, it is, but you know.
I mean, it is all of that, but if he don't want to do it,
You know what I'm saying? So,
he's already fucked up for saying he don't want to be the husband no more.
So do you guys think that it's important for okay, if you're married and you have kids and you're at your lows and you know you're talking about divorce or you're thinking about divorce, do you guys think that it would be important to try to just work it out for the kids' sake?
No.
Yeah,
Because
I'll disagree with him, but yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I don't feel that if you're not happy in this relationship and you've been trying over and over, y'all went to marriage counseling and trying and it still don't work out, you just can't do it, because what happens is that negative energy, that negative feeling that you guys are feeling against each other, the kids will start to notice that. And we're not doing the kids any justice. It's only harming them.
So-
They're going to raise up, if you have a boy or a girl, they're going to raise up and accept what daddy was doing to mommy.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to accept the dude just hypothetically say he was like disrespecting her, calling her all type of bitches and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just yelling at her. So guess what she's gonna do when she grew up? She's gonna think that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy and daddy still together. They love each other. So when I find a man, this is how he's supposed to be treating me.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that it's okay, even for a young man, because then the same thing. He's just gonna disrespect his female, call her all type of bitches, probably hit it on her if the dude does that. So no, I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's better if you can be happy and show your kids that you can be happy and you don't have to stay in a relationship just because of kids.
So I think where I differ with you is, well, let's go all the way to the beginning. I think that when you're saying things like he's, verbally abusing her or whatever the case is, I think that is a representation of the person that she chose. So that's out already. So that's wrong, number one. So yeah, I guess if that's the case, maybe there should be a divorce or separation, because that is abuse. But I feel like needs to be accountability on the person that person chose.
Right.
Now, let's say you didn't choose somebody who is verbally abusive or mentally abusive or in that sense. I would think that they should be together for the kids. In the sense that the two adults can be adults and still be respectful and still show their kids how to respect each other and still show your kids that there is love between mommy and daddy, but maybe we're not kissing and hugging every single day, but have that level of maturity to remain in the relationship for the kids. But again, that comes with maturity and making sure there's no you're not angry all the time, that you can control your feelings, that you can control your words. As an adult, we should be able to do that. And then the level of the other point I wanted to make is this thing that you're talking about, happiness. I just feel like marriage is about duty, and it's about raising children, and it's about creating two children, but it's about creating children that are going to be contributions to society. And if you chose to marry this person and you made vows with this person and there is some type of healthy relationship you can maintain as mature adults, then you should stay to those vows, and you should stay to that promise of raising your children and creating, children that can be contributions to society. Because I feel like if we're just given this idea of divorce because you're unhappy, then that's why we have these divorce rates that are so high, because we're like you said, there's going to be lows. So you may not always be happy. So I think when we weigh the option of divorce on whether or not someone is happy, that right there is going to lead to failure, because we're not always happy.
And then what you said, though, it kind of got me, was when you were like, oh, with dad's like disrespecting mom, now he's learning that, but dad can do that while they're single too, or divorced.
Nah, big time. Oh,
So it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
So I think that's just about who we pick, who we choose, because we need to be able to choose people who can control their feelings and don't, fly off the handrails every time they're, you drop a little bit of milk on the, floor, whatever the case is. And granted, not only men, but people are going to step out in their relationships, or they're not going to, but if they do, there's got to be some type of maturity in the relationship to be able to handle big things like that. But that's just because I also don't believe in divorce for things such as like, cheating or whatever. If they're both willing to work it through, they should work it through. But I do think that staying for the sake of the children is so important, because stats showed that, children in broken homes are way more likely to be, criminals, or drop out of school, or runaways, or depressed, or have all of these other mental issues. And it's like, why not stay together for the sake of the children's mental health and be against those stats? If we've already vowed to be married, we should stay married.
I agree, but what about your mental health?
I understand that, but that's where
You're responsible for that.
Yeah, that's where it's, as an adult, we have to be mature enough to seek the help we need to be in the right state, frame of mind to raise children. And again, I mean, like, if you're in a relationship where it's just every single day you're being, like, I don't know, verbally abused to the point of depression where you can't even get out of bed, then obviously there's got to be some changes made. But as adults, we have to figure that out. I mean, we made that vow to be together, and we made that vow to raise children, and I just feel like it's way more, the children are way more important than ourselves. And so for me, I went through those lows, and I used to want to leave my husband because I'm like, I'm so depressed, I'm so sad, I'm so not happy. And it's like, it's hard to raise your kids like that. It is hard to, wake up every morning and have to feed them and take them to school and put a smile on your face. But I did what I had to do to pull myself out of it. And as an adult, I have to know how to do that. I have to learn how to do that. And it's about duty. And that's why the older generations have stayed together through their men cheating, and their men having other families, and their men, going, and they stayed. And not saying that, like you said, I do agree that if children see, a dysfunctional household, my husband's family stayed together, and there was, some that he had to go through some issues, but I think the fact that his parents stayed together for as long as they did, it did create a man in him that I probably wouldn't have got if he didn't have his dad in the household.
So I'm coming from the divorce spectrum, right? We already know divorce, right? So I am literally living in this shit right now. But I was a product of a broken home. I didn't have mom or dad. So and I feel like I turned out well. I feel like the things that I do in life is to set myself and my kids up for success and get them the gearing and going as they're supposed to be. But I see, if I'm not a parent paying attention, because I'm very close in culture with my kids, if I see the effect of us not being together that it has on my kids. And I see it, and even though I'm very close, I'm very close. I get my kids every day. I pick them up, take them here and there, boom, boom, boom. And every time I show up, I'm there. I still see the effect of me not being in that house every day with them, me not being there with them, to tuck them in and read my daughter a story at night like I normally do. It really affects her, because even my 5-year-old daughter will say some slick stuff. She's 5 going on 16. She's funny as hell. I'll meet her. But I see it, and it's hilarious, because just looking at it from like I'm looking from a window, and I'm watching it all unfold. So it bothers me, like, if their mom tells me she's going through something, because I normally, when I was in that marriage and when she was going through what she was suffering from and things like that, I was a burden barrier. So when she would lack off and she just check out, I was there to
pick up the pieces,
keep everything together, keep it rolling, so then they wouldn't feel that effect. Now, me not being in that house, I can tell like certain things are going on, and they're mad because I'm not there, like, to be that protector, the fixer. And so, and that's why, like, looking back at it, like, staying in a relationship for the kids, it's more of a benefit. Now, I can be your friend, right? We could be friends for right now. We're not doing good at marriage right now. Let's not work on that right now. Let's work on Let's work on being parents, and let's work on getting better at being parents, and then we can work on that marriage. Because the marriage is, see, everybody don't understand. A marriage is a signed contract as a union and a covenant between you, your wife, and God. Mm-hmm. But more so, the covenant for the man to be with God, because if a man's not in alignment with God, it's like a car. If you don't get the alignment done, it's going to keep veering off, and then eventually you're going to go in the ditch.
Love that analogy.
And eventually you're going to go in the ditch. Get back in alignment with God, drive it straight, and control the family. You control the car, the wife rides. She's the co-pilot. So if you get that understanding in the marriage, right, then everything itself would come. That's why I know what was wrong in that marriage. I know what went wrong. I know what I did wrong. So for me not being there every day with my kids, that shit fucks with me. And there's sometimes, I'm a man, I'm going to be honest, I lay and cry because I'm like, damn, I know my kids is going through that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, everybody's like, would you get married again? Hell yeah. Because this time I'm going to be in line, I'm going to do where I'm supposed to be. My car going to stay straight. I know what I'm supposed to be. So staying together for the sake of the kids really, it might rekindle the marriage. Because now you're learning how to be parents, to be better for parents, and then you start going on dates again, you start rebuilding. You just have to rebuild. See, everybody talks about the good of the marriage. Nobody ever talks about the bad.
Right.
Grandma and Grandpa was married for 30 years, but how many of them 30 years were they bad? Like,
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I agree.
So I have 2 points. One, with you, have you always been a man of God, or was that part of your journey now with?
You know, when I was a kid, I was drugged.
Okay.
By my grandparents.
You said drugged?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Not literally.
So every Monday, choir rehearsal.
I thought you had me like.
So I get everybody that way.
I'm like, they drugged you.
Yeah, we were really
giving you.
oh my God.
Not literally.
I get everybody with that one.
I
I do that shit on purpose. I do that shit on
I'm looking at him like, what's he about to tell us?
So my grandfather.
Wait, just to clarify, is it Christianity or?
Yeah, so it was Christian Baptist. Okay. So every Monday choir rehearsal, Wednesday Bible study, Thursday we went back over the church and how everything was going to be, and we rehearsed, and then Saturday we'd be down. So it was always at church. So growing up, Sundays would be the day we perform, and every 2 services we went to the day and the night service. So we was always brought up in the church. We always had that structure of God. Right. So like DMX once said, every time I was going through something, I would always run to God. Right. So that's why sometimes I stayed into something. Yeah. So it's facts. But it's just something that I was cultured to, so I know where to go to. Right. I don't need to go to you to be like, hey, I need your help. I know where I need to go. Right. So, I'm not going to lie. I ignore it. Yeah. Sometimes I ignore it calling. Right. I'm like, I hear you, God. Let me keep moving over here. I'm going to keep moving on my own understanding. Let me keep moving in the flesh. I'm out here. Right. I'm understanding and I'm woke to what I need to do. Yeah. I'm struggling with it. Okay. So I've always been in the church. And then even when I was turned, it was 23, 22. I was a youth pastor. Okay. So I was going through that, but again, so I was living in the flesh again. Had a child out of wedlock. Had to step down, and I felt like because what I did, they told me to step down. That's just worldly to me. Yeah. Because God said, "Come as you are." Yeah. And you ain't gonna be perfect, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, we're all gonna sin. We're all gonna make the mistake. So I was just like, why am I being punished from God? You're basically hindering that, and I get it because you can't be up there talking about it, but then living this life.
I feel like that's something that you kind of went through.
I think too. Yeah, I was just about to say that. I think I understand the point of it because we're supposed to be leaders to these people, and then the people that are coming to us that are struggling with their sin and their desire, their desires, their fleshly desires, they see a leader, they're thinking like, oh, well then it's okay for me too. So I think because I went through the same thing, but mine was with alcohol. So I was trying to work my way up in church, and then I went on vacation and was posting about my vacation drinking and stuff. And they had to ask me, we can't really have you doing that. And I had to step away because I had to understand like why. I'm not out here getting drunk and like I'm still sober minded. I still know all that. And but it was because there are people who are struggling with that on a higher level than we are. And if we're showing that to them, we don't want to be the cause for their fall. So I think that's where, but I definitely admire that your testimony, like that's amazing.
Oh, definitely. I know. Like I said, I know. I'm telling y'all, man. I've been battling. Like it's been a battle for me. It ain't just been like even going on dating where I just don't see the same. It's just so crazy out here nowadays.
It's very.
It's big. It's different.
It's very very crazy.
It's different. Type of females.
So to dial it back to the conversation we were talking about, do you believe in 50-50 in the household, husband, wife?
I didn't do 50-50. I took care of the whole household. She contributed in different ways, right? She contributed in different aspects, but I didn't believe in the 50-50. I think, you know what the messed up part about it is, and this might be fucked up to say, so sorry, women, but I think if I would have took the 50-50 route, the appreciation would have been a lot there instead of just the expectation. You're supposed to do that because you're the man. Then the appreciation would have been like more of, oh, let me get up and make sure dinner's ready, boom, boom, all that, you know?
Yeah. Wait, so even though you believe in being the provider and however you see that was your role, you still expect like a level of appreciation, even though you are supposed to do that, right? Like that's how you see it.
I don't think he's saying he expects.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of non-shit ass men out there. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, right.
There's a bunch of young non-shit ass men that live off women, and you know the ones that play the video games all day and smoke weed and be like hanging out with the homeboys on the block all day. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of non-shit ass men out there.
When I get back.
And there's a lot more than there is men out there doing what they're supposed to do. So when you get that, right, just like it's rare to have a woman that really holds you down and have your back regardless and protect the identity of who you guys are. And there's 100 DMs, but they're all 100 is blue because they were getting ignored. So to me, like I said, I don't expect her to appreciate me. I don't expect it, but don't you think it should be given?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And that sounds crazy to say that, but I'm the type of person that like I'll hold on to shit. And this is the new word that the women weren't learning.
What?
You know, I hold on to shit, and then I implode, and I let it out. And then I'll bring it up to be like, okay, this is what happened, and this is why I'm triggered, and I let that go. Now you've done this, and this is what happened, this is why I'm triggered. Let that go. I get called a narcissist. Why is that? Why is that the new word? The new word?
Right.
Buzzwords.
So I was in a little debate with
not to move
somebody.
the table. Not to move the plane.
I know, right? 50-50 where?
No, I'm sorry, not to move the field goal play.
Because it does get annoying because people don't use the word in the right context.
Okay, and I feel that.
Because y'all don't want to see a real narcissist, okay? Right. So I was actually in a debate with somebody the other day about the 50-50 roles with a man that is very wealthy. He doesn't need shit from a woman. Like, he could raise a whole fucking family. Like, doesn't need anything. And he still believes that it should be 50-50.
No, I don't.
Oh, like have all of the bread and...
So, in his perspective, he's saying... So, basically, he wouldn't date a woman that isn't at the same... level of... Financially, sorry.
So
say financially, yeah. She has to. She can't be any lower.
That's a man.
Maybe above, but
scared. He's scared to lose.
Right.
To lose.
Because,
sorry.
No, that's your show.
So he was saying like, nah, it's gonna be 50-50 because whatever you're paying for on your own, why you can't pay for that when you're with somebody?
So like when they go on dates and stuff, they like have to bill?
Not necessarily, no. He means like bills and stuff, like buying a house. Like I'm like, okay, well obviously if I'm living in an apartment and you're living in an apartment and we buy a house, obviously the mortgage is going to be more. He was like, no, we're bringing both of our rents to the same. It's going to be the mortgage, so you're going to pay 50-50.
Let me say something. Hold on. So, all right, for me and my situation, me and my wife, we go 50-50 on the mortgage and everything, and I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's because I mean how much I make and based off what we have, right?
Whatever works for you works for you.
We as a man that came, like we was raised together, so we know. My grandma always taught a man needs to provide, right?
Yeah.
So I'm back in school. I graduate next year with my bachelor's in science, so I can't wait to get that for healthcare administration because I'm trying to be a manager.
Right.
When I reach that step, my wife's not paying for nothing.
That's what. But
that's the goal.
But that's the goal.
Right,
you're working there. It's different. So of course, like I got you while you getting your shit together. By any means, I got the 100.
Right. Even if we make the same.
Yeah.
I feel as a man, you need to provide.
Yeah.
All your money, as long as you put in, as long as we agree to put a certain amount in our savings account a week, and you put that there. Your money's your money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that everything else is taken care of because, like I said before, I'm raising a young man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hope it's not gonna put too much pressure on him to be like, hey, because when time comes, things are gonna just be a lot more expensive. But I'm raising a young man, and I want him to understand that.
Yeah.
You gotta be a provider.
I seen a clip from I think he's a comedian. I don't know. He started off on Instagram. He's like an actor now. His name's Duvall. Yeah.
Does he have dreads?
No, he's
Deval.
Cut.
No, he got a little fade.
And his
skinny
wife
little
is.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
the light skinned guy?
I don't know his wife's name.
I
He's a
know her
black
name.
dude.
Is it the light skinned
It's like Key. I forgot his wife's
sounds
name.
He
familiar.
sings that one song.
No, I think I know who you're
Lil
talking about.
Duval?
No, not
Little
that
Duval.
one. Not that one. No.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
no.
talking
Is his
That's
name
Smile,
Deval then?
bitch,
I don't
not
know. I don't know. He has a wife, and he's an actor now on BET, and they have like 3 or 4 kids, and he was talking about that, and he was saying like, I'm, as a man, I'm the provider, and she makes a lot of money now too because she's in the industry too now. And he was saying
I know you're
even
talking about.
yeah, he was
talked
like
about them before, I
Yeah, and
think.
he was
Yeah, I
like,
think I know.
she makes good money, but I'm still the man, and I'm still gonna provide, and I'm still the leader. And he said like, my money is gonna cover everything, and her money is her money, like whatever she wants to do. And then it reminded me of my relationship because I just feel like even when I do make money, I still put that toward the family anyways,
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not contributing at all. It's not like I'm going out here buying designer bags and going on vacations with my friends. Like, and I think a good woman would still contribute whatever money she brings into
Always.
her family. Like, and, I mean, you will get those bad apples that were like, well, you said it's my money,
Right.
and then have the man struggling, like working broke. And,
Right.
But I think as a team, like he said too, like you have to get a woman that's going to have your back. And I
Yeah.
think if you have a good woman that is, does bring home an income, that's not talking about the stay-at-home moms, but if she does bring home an income, I'm sure that a good woman would still contribute in some way. If it's not
facts.
to the rent, it's going to be to something.
Yeah.
Facts.
I really.
And
okay.
even if like the man, because life is lifing,
Yeah.
and the man falls out of his job or whatever, the good woman take that money that she wasn't going 50-50 on.
Yeah.
Look, baby, I got this.
Right.
Little did you know, I was saving up all that money that I have to
Safety
pay
net.
on the. Yeah, I got you. We got this. You can take like 3, 4, 6 months off, whatever, till you get your feet back up, and then I was here. We're good.
I really,
That's
because I'm not married, and I love that you guys are married or divorced or whatever. No, but I love that you guys are on the show actually today, because in this generation, it's always that 50-50 topic.
Mm-hmm.
And the women are always like, no, I want a man that's going to provide. He's supposed to do this. He's supposed to do that. But like you said, like, it's okay to do the 50-50 right now. You know what I mean? As long
Right.
as the man has the goal that he wants to provide for his family, be the main provider or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's not, it's what works for you. But you still are leading your household. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
And I
big
think
facts.
that's very important, because young girls these days just want somebody to take care of them.
Or they want to be super independent of men, and it's breaking down
That's-
the family,
Right.
and breaking down the dynamics.
Yeah.
It's that new. I think it's a little trend of being independent. Like,
Yeah.
you independent, so you don't need no man for nothing. But in reality, we're humans. Every human needs that somebody. I don't
Yeah.
care.
And do you
Every
hear
human.
men walking around saying I'm independent?
No.
I've never heard a
You won't
man.
hear that. You won't hear that. You
I've
have?
never-
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to be independent. Fool.
There are those men, and I've dated some
That said that like I'm
I
independent.
mean, they didn't really physically
That's what-
say
no, but
they're
that's what I'm-
independent.
that's what I was referring
But
to.
I feel like one of them actually has. Like and then to try to throw you down too, to be like, well, I have this, I have
He's
that.
an independent
I got my
woman.
shit
yeah,
together. Yeah,
that sounds like a
And
bitch.
it's like, what the fuck? So, but they don't want you to be independent. They want to take care of you, but yet they want to throw it in your face.
Yeah, that's just a bad man.
Because it becomes a form of controlling out there.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a form of control.
Yeah. So to go back to what you were saying when you were talking about your journey, how like you go to God and stuff. Like, you do believe that genders have roles then in marriage mostly?
So okay. I literally, so look, I literally, like, I have my own little groups that I'm in, and we talked about this subject. There's got to be a gender role. There's no way in hell I'm sitting on a couch watching football and my wife's in the front yard mowing the lawn.
Exactly.
The lawn mowing.
Bro, there's plenty of things that women cannot do that
like a
men
bitch, I'll be
can,
honest.
and vice
Come
versa.
out with a skirt on.
Bruh, that's funny. Ashley, did you hear that?
Oh yeah.
So
Thank you, because I'm a lawnmower.
To that,
Not anymore, you ain't.
So,
Thank you.
can I-
No, I ain't doing it.
We gonna pay somebody if we ain't got a man.
Right.
Right. I think I don't believe in that gender role. And okay, my bad. I'm too loud.
No, you're
No.
a little muffled.
On the side. Don't speak into
Oh
get
man.
him with it. Get him out of there.
You can take this
You
one.
funny.
Because me not.
Okay. All right. No, I don't believe in that.
Speak into the front, not to the side, because
Yeah,
we can't hear
right.
your muffled.
Tall. He's tall.
I know. No, I don't believe
This
in that.
ain't the
gender
studio,
role,
bruh. You ain't rapping.
You don't believe in gender roles?
No, I don't. I mean, I would never let my wife get out there and do the yard work.
role.
That is.
So you do believe in it?
Okay.
To an
Let me say this.
Go paint your
Okay, yeah,
wife's
to an
nails.
extent.
Go paint your wife nails.
I mean, if she wanted me to paint her nails, I mean, I'm gonna paint her nails.
Think about it.
Look, no, I know. I'm like,
Thought
if
about
I want but no, I mean, okay, to an extent. I mean, I would like you said, I wouldn't have her if she was out there cutting the yard. I feel like a bitch too. I'm like, damn, I'm in there watching TV and she out there. I come out and say hello to my neighbors and she out there mowing the lawn, sweating and shit.
Hey, baby, you want some lemonade?
Right, but no, what I
gardening while she mowing.
right.
Because my parents are like that. My mom does yard work with my dad, but that's like he mows the
It's
lawn.
their-
She
it's
does
their
the
way to
gardening.
bond.
Yeah, it
Right,
is.
right.
Their bonding is like literally like gardening and stuff.
Well, no, I say that
It
because
is funny. Old people shit.
right, yeah. But I say that because like I realized like my wife used to be upset, right? And I was just like, okay, well, she's over there doing the dishes. I didn't care. I just watch TV, watch most likely sports, football, basketball, whatever's on. She's taking out the garbage can. She get mad. I'm like, man, I ain't getting none tonight. What's up? Right. So I start realizing, because I talked to her and I was like, what's going on? You upset and stuff. And she was all like, when I get off of work, I'm tired. I have to still clean dishes, take out the garbage can. Well, I take out the garbage can, but have to cook the food, have to do the laundry and stuff. And I was just like, you know what? That makes a big point. Like, because I'm tired. When I come home, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I want to decompress. Let me sit here for 30 minutes, do whatever, watch TV. Don't talk to me. Mm-hmm. And that irritates me. So I realized, like, okay, let me help her out. And when I start helping her out, it changed a lot.
Yeah, and I think with the women, we want what we want right now.
Yeah.
Do the dishes, take out the trash. All right, I will later.
No, now.
I'll just do it because they want to do it right now.
Looking like Santa Claus going out with that garbage bag on the back.
So that could be like, okay, if you said you're gonna take out the trash today, it's gonna be done today.
Yeah.
Don't make me remind you again.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like I think women, we have this innate like desire to control in a sense, and so it's like that is something that I had to learn to. Like I had to let him be him too, like if he didn't want to do it now, even though it's going to irritate my soul, I had to let him do it. But it comes to like being, as a man too, you have to remember like, okay, I'm supposed to do this, let me do it. Don't let it fall behind and fall behind and fall behind. But to his point, like with the gender roles, like I do believe in gender roles. I do think that once both the man and the woman are working, there is a little bit more help in the house. Yeah, it would be nice, and I think as a good person in general, you would help. Like at some point, you would see like, okay, this is becoming heavy on her. Let me help her out. It's not necessarily that you don't. I don't think it's that you don't believe in the gender roles. I think that you're just seeing that your woman needed help in certain areas.
Yeah, big time.
So this is where
No, go ahead.
so this is where, and I'm glad we touched this subject, and I wanted everybody to kind of, and I'm glad it moved to this because it's so see how God works, how it moved to this. This is where the 50-50 comes in place. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Not financially.
Yeah.
But in
Right.
the relationship.
Right.
I would call that 100-100.
Well,
Right.
so
Because
you get
we're gonna make sure that this household runs smoothly for us and our kids, and that everyone is like on board. Like we don't want to again. Like I'm not gonna like his wife. Like if it's not getting done, I'm gonna get it done. Like it's gonna get done. I might be irritated about it, but it's gonna get done. So I'm still gonna pick up where he lacks, and he's gonna pick up where I lack. So I'm gonna put in 100% effort to make sure this house is running smoothly. And if he's lacking, I'm gonna have to pick it up, but I'm gonna have to tell him like you're gonna have to
Slacking.
do some things around here. Yeah.
You won't get no nookie.
So again, and to be honest, this is what make. And I've heard it, but this is what make women so great. And it sucks because y'all in the role where y'all kind of gotta y'all take it a little bit more. Y'all kind of gotta he's doing it. Well, why I gotta go through that? He's doing that. I ain't doing that. But listen, you give a woman a child, she makes it a family. You give a woman some food, she makes it a meal. You give a woman a house, she makes it a home. Mm-hmm. So she multiplies it.
Yeah.
So if that woman made that meal, right? Why can't we multiply plaque by go clean the dishes?
Right.
Right.
And so that's why you spend that's where you spend not sexual, but that's where you spend the intimate
Quality,
moments together.
Yeah.
It's not
She's
all-
cooking and you're taking the dishes, she's cooking them and washing them. And so, me, I think that's where the 50-50 lies for me. Not financially, but I'm talking about just in the relationship.
Right.
If she does her part, why can't you do your part? And we get lazy sometimes.
Yeah, we all do.
No.
We get lazy sometimes, like, oh.
I mean, women do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like I was gonna say too, like it's in nature. It's our nature as women to be go to work, and then in our back of our mind, we're gonna be like, okay, I gotta go home. I do the laundry. I gotta go cook. It's like it's in our nature to just know we have to do it, and that we're
That's what I'm
going
saying.
to do
It's
it.
because you have to, and that's why
Yeah.
Sabrina is always like, that's why women
It's
aren't
just go,
supposed
go,
to work.
go. Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there wouldn't be no issues. We wouldn't be fighting about nothing because everything would be done when you got home because that was my job.
But y'all gotta realize though, us guys, we're simple. Like
Yeah.
really, that's why things happen. Like
Yeah.
y'all get upset
I have
because
really been learning that you guys are simple. And
we
it's
are.
kind of irritating.
It's very irritating.
Yeah, because that's why we do not do this. We don't get upset. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that right now. We don't get
I was just
frustrated
about to say
when
that.
stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I was just
Because we
about
don't
to say
care.
Pisses him off that you don't care as much as fuck.
Right, and then, right. So that don't matter. I be telling my boys like literally like you can like when I was like 20, early 20s, I go to my boy house. He have a TV, a couch. We on the games. We chilling like, hey, what you gonna do? I don't know. Okay, lay back, right? He got a girlfriend. Guess what? Can't come over all the time. He got pictures on the wall. It's just like all this other extra stuff. It's just like it's just like
Throw pillows.
I'm like, bro, what happened? And it's just like when women come in, it's just
Turn
Yeah.
it into a home.
right. Like he said, it's turning into a home, and then
it's the
expectations
But
come.
I like that Mel brought that up because I was going to ask that next. Like, how do you guys feel about your woman staying home and not working at all? If able.
You want to go first or me? Because you see.
Well, I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna go first. No, I'm gonna go through that. I'm gonna go
ahead.
first. I went through that. I think that like I told you, the appreciation kind of goes out the window if she stays home and you bring on the bed because now it's just expected for you to do that. And this is gonna be fragile to touch on, but I'm gonna touch on it. I feel like women lose. Okay, let me say this before I say it.
Watch your words.
I feel like women lose a sense of who they are
No, I agree.
if they're an at-home parent because now they have no sense of direction.
You wanted to say she was gonna gain some weight.
No, you don't say that.
No, because that don't bother me. Because
that don't bother me neither.
I've never
That's
felt.
what you wanted to say.
No, I've never fell in love with a woman for her appearance.
Yeah, it's all
promise
about
you, I've
mental.
Now
You
I got
have to.
attracted to her for the looks of rich, but if she has my children, right? She laid down on that table to have my kids, and if she gets overweight,
That's different.
then you know what I'm saying? No, because a
No,
lot
that's
of people
the same.
don't like that. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're hella fat now. Like you used to be.
No,
Like
it's different. Obviously, you have a kid. Sometimes it's not easy to get back in shape, but it's different when you're taking the precautions to be healthy.
Yeah.
it's the
I
unhealthy
agree.
when you're sitting at home and just gaining weight and stay at home mom and losing. It's really the type of woman like, and I feel like just because Sabrina has been instilling this in our brains the last couple of months, I may not agree with everything she says, but I don't think I could be a stay-at-home mom.
yeah,
But what Sabrina, her schedule is the perfect schedule for a mom. She gets to wake
Not
up, get her
anymore.
kids ready, feed them breakfast, take them to school, go to work for a few hours, pick them up from school, do homework, make dinner. Like it's the perfect schedule because she still goes to work. She still gets to do what she needs to do in the middle of the day for her. But at the same time, she still gets to take care of home without any problems. Like being overwhelmed and being tired.
I think though to piggyback to what you said about like women tend to lose their self in that. I think that is a new generation like thing because I feel like, and I don't want to just say moms are only or women are only meant to be moms, but I feel like we don't take on that as that's not a desire of a lot of women. And I feel like if a woman has a desire to be a mom and a wife, it's not going to take away from who she is as a person because you could still have hobbies, you could still start side businesses, you could still pick up part-time work here and there, if you wanted to. I do think that being a stay-at-home mom does benefit the family like 1,000% more than it would if she was so busy at work. But I understand, like, I am working and I'm not taking away from women who work if they can make, if they can still be a mom to their, I just think that we tend to put kids in, schools and then they're in after school programs and then they got sports and it's like they never really get parenting. They're being parented and they're being raised by all these other adults in their life that are watching them all day long. And that's my biggest thing. Like we had it on a debate on the last episode where it was just about like homeschooling and private schooling and all that. And it was like, I don't think people quite understand how little time you have with your family and your kids when
Oh, man.
both parents are out of the house.
Shit.
And it's like that's what's really causing, you know, like society to fall, is because there's no sense of real direction. There's no sense of real values or morals being instilled. They got all these different adults in their life, like 3 different teachers at school, and then after school programs, and then daycares and babysitters. And it's like, where are they really getting their values from? I mean, of course, we're going to do the best we can. But at the end of the day, I just feel like if a mom is at home and can be that for their, you know, because men want women to have their back, but we don't think about how women are having their children's backs, you know? And I think that that's important. So I feel like if women desired being mothers and wives more than this, like, well, what about me? And what about my passions and my dreams? What about my job? I like my job. Like, it's so selfish sounding. And it's like, we're meant to be wives and mothers to be selfless, and we're meant to give and serve. And I think if we take that on more as society, we would have more children contributing in a positive way than all the crime and all the, you know, children that are falling behind and all these gender affirming crap that we're going through. It's like the parents aren't in the house anymore, and that's what's causing stuff to fucking fail. Really.
Oh, big time. Babies having babies.
Yeah.
I think that when he was saying like the women lose their selves or whatever, and how you were saying women need to be mothers and wives, I think that being a wife and being a mother are kind of 2 different things. But I mean, you can correct me because I'm not a mom or a wife. But I think it is still a balance that you have to have, because even when I feel like you were going through your struggles, and I'm like, you need to have some self time, like, you know, to get back to yourself and do things. Just have your own time. Go do whatever you want to do outside of your household. You know what I mean? Because I felt like the household was so on your mind and such a big, not burden, but, you know, like, it just wasn't right. So I'm like, I feel like you need to kind of step out and just kind of take a break, and then come back and build that again. Yeah. But I feel like also too, like, to be a wife, like, you have to kind of separate that sometimes. Like, you can't just be all about your kids 100%.
No, of course
because
not.
then you're not being a wife. You're not doing things outside of your kids, like date nights and all that stuff.
You can't pour from an empty glass.
Yeah, and like I was
it.
telling you this weekend, like, how one of my friends is really just all about her kids, and I can tell when we went on vacation, like, she just wanted to get back home, which is great. I love that you just want to be a mom, and you know what I mean. But I'm just like, I can see that it's just like, it's just so different.
Is she in a relationship?
No, she's married too. But like,
you still need to be able
I feel
to
like
have your...
I feel like if a woman is pouring all into her kids, there's definitely nothing getting poured into her husband.
She's pouring into her husband, but I mean, their relationship,
because the man will they will feel it, and you know, they will see it and be like, okay, yeah.
But most important, what about
babe,
herself,
let's
though?
go.
Yeah, and I feel like, and I be trying to like but I'm single, so it's so different. But I feel like I like that some married people have single friends, just so that they can
not single, but
well, I mean, I'm not single. But you know, I'm not married and I don't have kids. But I feel like it is a good because I feel like some people be like, oh, you shouldn't have non-married friends or non-mom friends, but I feel like you should to an extent.
Yeah.
You got to be able to trust the person.
Yeah, I feel like I do bring some type of guidance to some of my friends. I'm not a dumb girl, you know what I mean? And I learn from them as well.
So my question is, I like that. You're right. Yeah. I mean, but you're right about having the single friends. But I was always taught, like, what's that saying? The birds of a feather flock together, right?
I feel like that goes off of the person, though.
That does, and my wife helped me understand that. She did, and because I was just like, my wife helped me understand it. But you know, I always you said something when she said that. You was like when she was saying that
she can't pour into her husband.
No, about the friends. If you married or whatever, having single friends. I always say, okay, what if you have sisters and they're single? Is that not okay to go out with them because they're single?
Right.
So it's just I always feel, I tell my wife all the time, hey, because we got together, you still need to have a life. It's totally fine with you going out with your sister. She have girl nights at the house. Yeah. She go out with her best friend. I don't be there.
Yeah,
I don't be there.
I think people just need to learn to balance. And I think
this nigga said she go out with her friend. She has girl night at the house.
I think that was Sabrina's fault. She didn't know the balance and everything, because she still doesn't do anything outside of the house. Yeah. We go out once every 6 months.
She go out at the house.
And we go eat, and then she'd be like, I want to go home. Like, she just found balance.
That's her balance.
Yeah.
She just found balance in her
This nigga
kids and her husband. And yeah, she still stresses about the things, but it's not as heavy. Like
Yeah, I think to piggyback off T, I think I agree with you. I think it's about priority. I think it's about, like, once I got married and once I had kids, I knew those were my priorities.
Yeah.
And I can't, if I didn't make them a priority, they wouldn't be healthy. You know, it would be off balance.
Yeah.
And so to say like a woman should just be 100% a wife and 100% a mother, okay, that's a little, there still does need to be time to, like you said, reflect or just get some air or just like pour into myself, whatever that looks like. That goes back to like God, you know, like I find myself very much feeling more alive when I get alone with God. And so for me, that's what that looks like. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like a self-care 24 hours.
That makes
like,
sense. That makes
you know,
sense.
like, I think when women that, you know, of course I would say women should find God and find that too. But however that looks like for them, as long as they know their priorities are in place. You can't just have like your kids running wild and your husband cheating and you're just like, you know, I think it's time for a self-care day. Like, you know.
So thinking back, like my mom never had no self-care day. Ever. My mom never left us to go on a girls trip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even if my mom did, I don't know.
Yeah, that shit
No,
crazy.
my mom never. I mean, like her and my dad would be like, we're going grocery shopping. We'll be back later. They would go to dinner.
But you
They
can't
just
Right,
wouldn't tell
right.
us. But that's the only thing they would do. My mom never, nope. She barely even let me stay the night at anybody's houses. Like, she wanted me home under her peripherals. Like,
Yeah,
But
like,
that's also another good thing about two-parent homes. Like, it will allow for a mom to step out and the dad to get some time with his kids, and you know, her to go like get her nails done and just feel back, you know, back to normal, like back alive. Like, there are days that's important. I just don't think that should be the forefront of our priorities.
yeah.
But I also feel like too, like with Mel's situation, because we know like their dynamic, and I feel like their dynamic works where she doesn't need a break. She doesn't need to go on a girl trip. She doesn't need to have alone. Well, she has her alone time, so that's why I'm like. I mean, when you guys were when they were going to school and stuff, that was her alone time, or she had a job at
about her
one
mom.
point and stuff. You know, like-
I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't-
My mom was not a stay-at-home mom.
yeah.
My mom
Wrong-
just
wrong
stopped working
person,
2 years
Sabrina.
ago.
But I was
But
gonna.
I mean, like,
Don't
So
believe.
my mom didn't pick me up from school ever. Never. I cannot remember a single time my mom picked me up from school, from kindergarten to my senior year of high school. My mom never picked me up from school. It was always a grandma or a grandpa. I was always at their house. My mom didn't get home until after 5 o'clock every day. So me looking at my work schedule now, I leave the house at 6 o'clock every day. I'm not home until between 5 and 6 every day. I could not imagine doing that with a baby. There's no way. I would be so over. It would just be a lot. Like, I would be fucked up.
Yeah.
So like being without my baby for 10 hours of the day. Oh my God. And I only get to spend
Man.
4 hours of the day with my baby? Hell no.
That's why I got closer to home, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no.
Right.
But I was gonna say, so growing up, my mom was single and she had me. So my mom was working all the time. But then when she met my dad provided to the point where my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And my mom never missed a day, never missed a beat. I don't know what she did when we were at school, but we came home, there was dinner. We were all in sports. We all did extracurricular activities afterwards. Like, there was my dad, and granted, he wasn't there for most of it because he was working. Even during the summer, we were on our summer break. We went to like the amusement parks. We did all these things. So that's the plus side of having your wife as a stay-at-home mom. You're working, providing. Mind you, my mom did work nights. So she worked nights, but we never knew that really because she was there as soon as we woke up in the morning. So like, it was just like she worked, she provided for our fun money. So my dad did the bills. And my mom had our fun money for the theme parks, our vacations, our pool days, whatever we did. That was what my mom had to do. But she did what she had to do. And then now, I don't know if she's paying for it now, but she might be paying for it now because they are separated. They are separated, but they are on good terms.
Yeah.
So as far as like they separated for themselves after we were all older. So now we're older, there's divorce, but they still are on good terms. They come for birthday parties, they come for dinners, Mother's Day. My dad wanted to take us out for dinner for me and my mom for Mother's Day. Like, they still do things because they know that that's their duty to still be a part of their children's lives throughout our lives.
Yeah. I will say, as a growing up, I didn't realize what my mom was doing. Not that she was doing bad things, but I didn't realize the dynamic until I got older. But as being a kid, like, we went on family vacations. We did everything. Dinner was made. Like, And my mom worked a full-time job 24, like my whole life. So I never knew the sacrifices that she was making in the background until I got older.
Yeah.
And even like, I had like step parents and stuff like that. So I still didn't realize, what was going on. She made it very like, she handled it very well to where we didn't really realize what was going on until we were adults and understood the background stuff. So I do respect her for that, for sure.
John, so what do you think about the stay-at-home mom? Like, are you for it or against it, or?
Like when you start making more money and shit don't gotta be 50-50 no more.
I mean, I asked my wife that before. I always ask her. I mean, it's her opinion and her choice. And I asked her before. I said, hey, how would you feel about being a stay-at-home mom? My wife just won't take it. She likes to be out. I mean, not to be out, but she likes that social interaction.
No, I agree too. Because even when I do work, I enjoy work. Like, work's fun. Like, but I think it's about. I think it's about like the choice. Like, does she want to work, because she wants to work, or does she want to work because she has to work, or does she want to be home because she wants to be home, or because she has to be home? Like, I think it is still important to have that woman be able to say, like, this is what would be best for our family, if it is what's best for the family. And I think the man should ultimately be like, I think, because there are days where I come home from work and I don't want to do this and that, or I'm expecting my husband to do this and that, and he'll tell me, like, maybe you need to, because this ain't working. So you need to come back home and get off them hours. Like, we actually had that conversation this past week, because I did pick up full-time hours that I'm going to do temporarily, as of now, temporarily. And he after the first week of seeing my stress, he was like, look, if you can't, because when I brought the idea of me working full-time to his attention, he was like, as long as you can still do what you're doing, and you can work, then that's on you. So he gave me that choice, and but he still expected our gender roles to still play that big part. Right. So he was like, you have this house that you I don't want to use this word, but that you have to take care of.
Yeah.
And he was like, so if you can work and still do what you have to do, then that's on you. That's up to you. You can try it out, and then if it doesn't work out, you can stop or whatever. But that's because I also find that important. It's not like he's forcing that on me. Like, oh, you have to do the laundry and dishes. Like,
no,
I found that
her mouth.
Yeah. I find that important. And like you guys said too, you guys are very simple. He's simple. If I was working and expecting him to do some housework, it would never get done. And he's not going to even trip or have an attitude or nothing. I'm going to come home irritated and mad and everything. So he said, look, if you want this house to run the way you want it to run, and you want to work, then that's your choice. And so that's what I decided to do temporarily. And the first week it was rough. And he was like, look, if this ain't working, you need to get off that job. Yeah, come back home.
Did you do any laundry that week? Probably not.
Actually, I did.
It was tough, right?
It is tough.
Getting home at 6 o'clock.
I will say it's tough, but the toughness comes from personality. I have energy. I have time. I make time. I'm on schedule. Like,
that was the thing that that was the point I was trying to make when I was talking about her mom. Not like she was a stay-at-home mom and didn't do nothing, but I think it's about the person's personality. Like you said, you like to go to work, and her mom likes to go to work. She don't want to stay at home and fucking be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, I will say though, she did have to sacrifice her pleasure, so she did not go to the gym to take care of the house. Yeah. So she sacrificed something that she loves to do, and her self-care, that's part of her self-care, to go take care of the house.
I mean, we sacrifice a lot of things.
Yeah. Like, imagine if I had a kid right now having the same exact job that I have. I would not be able to go to the gym. I have to come home, cook dinner, take care of my kid. By the time it's 8 o'clock.
There's no way.
I go to her house for dinner.
No, there's no way. So it's because I commute.
I get it.
So then none of them commute, so it's a little different. I spend 2.5 hours in the car.
I know. I came from Oakland. I got you.
It's different.
Wait, so to ask you a question, Mel, like, because you do want to be a wife and a mom.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. So
no.
So how would you?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
So this is from when the whole pandemic started, and I had to work. I don't know if it was because it was the pandemic, but I don't really go out, so it wasn't a big thing to me. But me going out was me going to work every day. So when I had to work from home for 6 to 8 months, it was like fucking with me. Like, I can't do this. Like, I can't concentrate. Like, I need to get up and drive somewhere, like, and go and sit at my desk, because I am a routine person. So, I mean, that's why I said I like Sabrina's schedule. Like, she still is able to have a normal morning and get her kids ready and eat breakfast and drop her kids off at school and go to work, because everything is like right there. Aligned, yeah. So I can definitely do that. But the schedule that I have now, like, no, there's no way. I would have to move right next to my job. I would have to, it would have to be a big change.
I agree to that, because I had to move. I was working in Oakland for about 12 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, we bought our home out here for 7 years ago. So the first 3 years that we were in our home, I was commuting from Oakland.
I commute to Pleasanton.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean,
it's
that's
about the same.
Yeah.
It's about the same.
But I feel it like, and I had my newborn, and my wife was already out here.
Yeah.
As much as I didn't want to leave Oakland, I was like, you know what? I mean, this is what I have to do. But
And it's not that I can't do it, because I can, but it keeps me limited from doing anything else.
It does. It does.
It gives me less time with my kid. It gives me less time for me to do that one thing that I want to do every day, and that's go to the gym. And it's just not it's not fit for a mother.
It's not. But I will say my ultimate goal, though, would be to eventually drop down from 40 hours to work 20 hours a week. Because I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't like being home, but I like being able to cook and be there for Anaya. Kids get out of school at like 12 o'clock. First of all, that means they're going to have to go to an after-school program. And I didn't like after-school programs when I was in school, so I can just imagine what it's like now.
Oh, yeah. But see, that's the only thing.
So-
I have my mom. But my kid doesn't need to be with my mom more than me.
Yeah, no,
Exactly.
but yeah,
Like,
and
not that I don't think that my mom isn't capable, but this is my kid, not
Yeah.
yours.
yeah,
Right.
it's like the dynamics. I think that's what's the biggest thing. Is like the dynamic of the relationship, the dynamics of people's families. Like me and Marvin don't have any help. So that was another big aspect, is like I don't have, because even if I did have my mom, I would be okay with my kids being with my mom, because she shares the same values and she shares the same, but then we go into that topic of like who's raising the kids and who's
Right.
instilling their thoughts. What are they letting them do? Are they on screen time the whole entire 5 hours after
But
they get out of
still
school?
not getting time with your kid. You're
Yeah.
getting 3 hours a day.
Exactly.
With your kid, and that's not,
It's the dynamics. And so then for you, like you were kind of saying like you would think that a woman would benefit from working more. What if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom? Is that something that you would be okay with?
Yeah, but me, like, going through that experience, you gotta have the structure there.
Yeah. So it's the dynamics.
You
It's-
don't have the
Dynamics,
structure
yeah.
there. It doesn't work. You can't say I'm an at-home mom and I leave the house and I come back, it's the same as when I left in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what do we
Right.
do all day?
That's
So
the biggest thing though. That's the
kids
gender
are
role
just running
idea.
all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the structure at? We gotta have structure. Get up every day with a plan.
Yeah.
Because
you have
don't
to.
get me wrong. And this is where I think guys, and I'm not guilty of it, but I might be a little bit. But this is where guys get the notion and get it fucked up. And a stay-at-home mom, that's a fucking job.
That is
Yes.
a job.
Thank
I
you.
learned with
And
my
so
mom.
people don't understand, and a lot of men take that shit for granted, not realizing, like, bruh, put your ass in that same position. Could you do it? 'Cause-
yeah, now I see why my mom used to get so mad at me when the dishes wasn't done when she got home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She just worked
Right.
all day.
And that
she'll-
chicken was still in the freezer.
Bruh. I used to get in so
Nobody
much
will put it aside.
trouble.
Right.
So much trouble.
Take that meat out.
No.
Don't never do it.
I mean, yeah, my mom still made dinner every night, but it's exhausting. But you have to do it because you're a mom and you're a wife. It has to be done. She never complained about it. Like Sabrina said, she's just an energized person. My mom is the same way, but I don't want that.
I don't.
I don't.
right,
Like,
I'm gonna-
I want to be with my kid.
I'm gonna throw a wrench in there and change the topic a little bit.
Oh, there
but
we
this
go.
is gonna be a question for the whole panel, so we're gonna start with Ashley.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
And then we'll get into the details after we add to the
share
question.
it.
So the question is, would you rather have a man or a woman, for these two, with $50,000 in debt or a 100 body count?
Okay. So I feel like it's gonna be different for the men and the women.
Yeah, it is. Good. Let's go. Let's
So
talk.
so if you're my man and I'm expecting you to provide and perfect, I don't want that $50,000 debt. So I'll take the 100 body count. I'll take the body count.
Okay, go ahead, John.
I mean, yeah, shit. Hey, I'll take.
Debt we talking like?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that 50,000 because I
$50,000
feel
in debt.
Like, why
I
are
feel-
you that much into debt?
Well, I mean, school. I mean,
Okay, that's different.
Whatever, but I'll take that 50,000 because, I mean, with guys, a body count shouldn't even matter because we don't fuck with emotions. Women do. So when women have all them body counts, they start comparing.
Nigga.
You feel? No. So where am I lying?
It's so true. Okay.
Females start comparing, and the next thing you know, she with a nigga that she with a dude that, oh, well, John did it like this. He ain't do it like this. Let me go back and get this from John because I liked it. So I'm gonna take that 50,000.
Go ahead.
I'll take the 100 body count. And the reason why is because first of all, that debt's already there, and you can't repay her. You have to do anything to financially get it back. It don't matter. It's done. She did what she did.
But all them bodies is there.
It don't fucking matter. That one girl could sleep with John, and John already had 100 body counts. Guess what? She's now the 1-on-1, so she has 100 body counts with him.
Oh wow.
Does that make sense? Because he has 100.
Yeah.
He slept with her. Now she gets the 100.
Oh my god.
Because that's how many partners
so
she
sharing
doing.
body.
We share
It happens. That's why people don't know where they're getting STDs from.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's facts. But I would take that because at the end of the day, the $50,000, right? That's something that I was never in on. I don't want to pay on that shit. She had sex before me.
Yeah.
I married her. It don't matter. That $50,000, I'm not marrying that shit. Y'all can keep that.
Let me clarify. I mean, if she got a nice little body count, this don't matter. But I mean, but 100, 100. I don't care. I don't care.
That's a lot.
Your partner just ran through her.
Yeah.
Hey, tie that.
See, now you're going into detail. She said just 100 body counts.
Okay, you know how tiny the world
sleep with
is.
people.
Yeah, but if you find a girl and she got 100 body count, I'm sure she must have in the same area as you. She gotta have messed with somebody.
The world is
No, she gotta have her. There's a train ran on her multiple times. I'm sorry, not sorry.
If that's what you want to say, I'm taking. See, you guys are going into the details. She said
all got
her body count or 50,000.
You gotta think deep.
You gotta think deep about this. Because if a woman has 100 body counts, like, well, what made you what?
So you're not gonna talk to her because she got
One night
$50,000 in
stands,
debt?
Threesomes, trains, all that shit.
I mean, that's a nice experience.
100.
So she didn't put those
100
details on there. She said 100 body counts.
100.
She had 100 penises inside her vagina.
I was even gonna say because 100 could
Don't
be man
kiss her.
and woman. So
See, that's so when you.
I'm just saying.
So when she brought it up, that's why I'm like, okay, well, if it's 100 people in the same area,
loaded question.
and I know that you done slept with hella people I know.
At some point, how can you respect her?
I might take the 50,000, even though I didn't create it, but that's something that we can work on. The 100 bodies,
We gonna work
we
together.
can't take that away, and everybody know what you got. And yeah,
Now I'm looked at for wife and a
I mean,
hoe.
how can you value her when everybody's seen her body? Like, how can you really value
that's
her?
a
How can she value herself?
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go with the 50 thou wow. I'm gonna go with the 50
I knew I
thou.
was
We
gonna
can
be
pay
the
that
one
off in
with
a
the
couple of
white
years. It's cool. We could struggle for a couple. Not even struggle.
Not even a struggle.
I'll
It don't
help
gotta
you
be a
pay it
struggle.
off. We can get that shit squared away. It's good. What
Right.
about you, Labrisha?
I'm going for the body
Why I
count.
thought your name was Carmen. It's Labrisha?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, you remember on the morning thing? Hello, this is Carmen.
I love that. My bad.
First of all, my name is Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina. I thought that was Sabrina. Okay.
No, that's Tina.
This nigga been drinking.
Right.
Tina.
I've been drinking. I know. I've been
It's
drinking.
Tiana, but
I know. Tiana, I'm sorry. I've been drinking.
No, I'm gonna take the body count because I want a man who can provide. So I don't need you to be having to pay off all these other bills, and I gotta suffer because you're paying off all these other bills.
Because everybody
So
has sex.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I do think it's different for
Well,
men
that's why
and
it would
women,
be different
though.
for men
But
and women.
what if you met her at
I was
the age
gonna
of
take
20
the body count
or
at first,
18?
but I'm like,
I can't. I think
Yeah.
me and Tina
I don't
agree with
want
that.
everybody to have.
Right. Like, we live in an area where it's already slim
Yeah.
pickings. Like,
Yeah.
I already know that he fucked her, and maybe him.
But if he fucked her, and maybe him, whatever you want to say, right? And then y'all go on to be married until about 40 years, and you guys die together and been married. Was that not successful that you had
mean,
that
it
person?
was.
No, but I do
But
think.
it's
Not the
different
him
from
part.
guys.
Yeah,
It's
so
different from
I
Everybody
think-
goes through relationships in the seasons, right?
Well, I think it's different
So what's
for
the
men and
difference?
women. So, when I seen this question asked on other podcasts and stuff, a lot of the men picked the debt because they know they're going to be making the money. So they're like, "Oh, that's
Right.
nothing.
It's
I'll pay
nothing.
$250 a month for the next 20 years, whatever. Like, it's fine."
I really don't want.
And then for the body count, most women don't care about men's body count. So that's just it's really nothing. Now, when the men pick the body count, that's kind of wild, but.
It's not though. What makes it wild?
Because when women and men are different when it comes to sex. So when women have sex with multiple men, just like he said, they have a harder time pair bonding and more likely to cheat because they're constantly comparing and they have the less oxytocin release, and it's harder for them to pair bond with their partners long term. So with a higher body count, the more people they've had sex with, the harder it is to be in a monogamous relationship going forward. And that's why a lot of women end up leaving and it's actually high that women are more likely to leave relationships. That's why I was kind of surprised when you said you initiated your divorce, because most women leave relationships. Not a lot of men leave relationships. Yeah. So when they have higher bodies, they're less likely to just pair bond long term, and it causes them to leave or cheat. And with the money thing, well, we know that all of us have unanimously decided that men provide. So it's kind of like if the man is providing, he's paying his own bills regardless. So
I want to change my answer.
It's like saying
I'll take the high body count if you want to pay all my bills too.
Yeah, but again, so that goes the same for men though. You can't just leave it the female because
well, more than likely because you're providing, you are taking on her debt. When we're with the man, he's taking on his own debt, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's why for us, it's like we don't care about the body count. Most men care about the debt. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not paying somebody else's debt. I like.
So if you got married,
so you want to be with, so you want to get with a woman and have her work on her own debt. So when you guys get married, there's no debt. That makes sense. Yes,
because that's a mature thing to do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would agree to that.
Like that, like I already got to bring a baby mama.
But think about it like this. Then think about it like this. Then you could do that. You could be like, I would take a woman with debt, and we would just. We would agree that she's going to pay her own debt, and then when that debt is done, then I can take care of her. But you still picked a woman with 100 bodies.
But that's what I'm saying. We didn't go into no details. They're both loaded questions. I really don't think it's fair. 50,000 is low as hell. Now, if you said 100 bodies, 100,000, which one you doing? Okay, kind of now we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But like I said, if John slept with 20 women and he goes to sleep with the girl over there, now that girl done slept with 20 women.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying, but you got to realize.
It sounds bad, but it's facts.
How many of them females that I have emotional connection with?
That don't matter. None of that shit
matter because women do have connection.
It does matter.
Women do have connection.
You're sleeping
emotional
with him.
So how many females you sleep with that you have connection that you can say you had a connection with?
If I'm just fucking the female, I'm just fucking the female.
That's the point.
But women can't do that. Women can't do that. They have to know who the guy is. They have to talk to him for a while. They have to feel
Unless
emotional.
Unless she's a whore.
Yeah.
So she was getting paid for that shit, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
so then there we go. Your 50,000 just turned to your girlfriend.
This is where everything goes wrong at, because yes, you're right. Women, I'll give you that. They're emotionally involved and they boom, boom, boom. And this is where it gets fucked up and it gets screwy. Guys will pretend like they are just so they can get what they get. And
But they're not though. That's the point.
And then once they get it, women are like, oh, motherfucker, you play me. And then they want to call them crazy, but not realizing like you played that girl to get with her cookie. That's why it's like sometimes you just say, fuck it. Be honest, this is what I want. If you don't want to offer that, I'm fine with that. Go ahead, you can go. I'm not going to sit there and play games with you. I'm going to give it to you the real, and that's just what that is.
Right. I feel that. But
so if you're sleeping with somebody, with me, you're going to know that, hey, we're just sleeping with each other. Now, if you want to catch feelings on all the extra shit, I already told you what it was. That's on you.
Right, I get that, but
that's just how women are built.
Yeah,
like,
and
we're gonna
get with somebody that you want to be with.
And the guy still was lying about his feelings. He was just saying what he had to say to get to what he wanted. So we don't have that. Let you know we don't have emotional connection to when we have sex. That's why when cheating happens, it's worse on. I feel it's worse on the female because females literally have to sit there and
get to know them
and get to know this person,
like them.
Yeah, because they won't just let somebody. A woman won't just let somebody. Well, let me not say a woman.
Yeah,
not say a woman. But a female typically would not just let a man just slide up in it. He gotta make her laugh. Typically. Sometimes you want to take her out to dinner, and it's just a lot. Guys, we don't care. Like, hey, what's up? We go to the club. What's up? You coming back or what?
Right.
We don't care.
Yeah.
We most likely we don't even know who she is.
But we're talking about
day, right?
me putting that out there, like, hey, T, I want to sleep with you.
Why I gotta use T?
Versus saying, I'm sorry. Versus saying, like, T, let me take you on a date. Let's go on a date. Let's go.
But what he's saying is, though, even though you're gonna put in that work to pretend to be something she likes, but you're pretending, so you still don't have those feelings for her.
Yeah, we don't.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna do that. That's what I'm saying. Like, T, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I want to fuck you.
Hey.
I don't want to go on a date. I don't want to do any of that extra shit.
But you can't do that.
Guess who you sitting next to?
So, but see, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but this is what T would let me know. Hey,
and then you want to tap me.
I'm talking about her. You know what I'm saying? That makes T.
But yeah.
But she would
hypothetically,
let me know, T would go, hey, Ty, I want to be dating with purpose. I want to be in a relationship. I'm not looking for that. That's not what fits me.
Yeah.
Now, I've had instances where I've presented myself like that plenty of times, right? With a woman that I felt like, okay, boom. Then they say that shit, right? Then to find out, like, okay, they were already talking to somebody that they were struggling with, and then that shit fell off. They're like, fuck that, he ain't trying to be in this and that and there. And they're like, fuck relationship. Then they want to hit me up a month later, like, hey, T, so what's going on? Is that the offer still on the table? Like,
Hey.
oh, well, nah, see, now I'm really engaged in talking to somebody.
But that's
in a
changing the
relationship.
whole thing we're talking
So
about.
that's the whole thing of when I say that, if you put that out there and put yourself out there, this is what I want. And look, I do not, I'm the type of person that I don't think there's a right or a wrong way when it comes to dating somebody or being with somebody. If you guys have sex the first night, there's no wrong way about that.
Right,
Because at the end of the day, right,
You're
we're
gonna
all
choose.
grown.
Yep.
And you have a conscious decision to make. So
I agree.
everybody's saying women are emotionally, yes, we understand that, right? But that woman's going to also speak and tell you what she wants.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying as far as like if she decides yes she wants to do it, then that's just what it is. But
Yes.
I still think that even if I'm gonna use me as an example. If I were to go out and some guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, this is what I want, you down? And I'm like, yeah, sure. That's fine. I can still do that. But at the end of the day, after that, I'm still gonna be like, dang, did I like him? Do I feel like it's still gonna be an
It's gonna
emotional
be-
thing?
it's
She'll be
gonna
like,
be-
give me a knife. I gotta cut myself.
Like, he was
There-
kind of cute.
No, seriously though, there's really I mean, there are women that there's very rare exceptions of women who can have sex with no emotional attachment. I agree.
Right.
And there are women who can even put themselves in that mind frame to be like, okay, I'm not going to be emotionally connected to him. It's just going to be sex. It's going to be casual, whatever. We can.
Till you put that thing on her.
Capable.
Right.
We're capable. There is a capacity to do that. But like, yeah, exactly. And then let's say the sex is amazing. Boom, I'm in love now. Like that's just what it is.
Bring
That's
that shit you brought last week.
right.
There's
How you
it goes
doing,
back.
T?
It goes back to that what I was saying about the oxytocin. Men release oxytocin during sex, but a very, very, very small amount. Where women, that is a chemical that bonds us to people. So the women, we let out 1 million more times oxytocin than men. I don't know if that's the exact number, but I'm just saying. So if we're letting off that chemical during sex, all this, you mine now. Like that's what it is. Even
don't
if I
like
went
that.
into this thinking
I
it was
wanna say
casual.
something.
I don't like that we letting off that, and it's like I'm pair bonding with you, but you letting off like 10%.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
you like,
that's what.
eh.
But that's
what
why.
guys are. That's how we are.
And that's
all, man. I
I
speak
need
for.
us to both be bonded.
But look, but that's why it's important for men to have to sleep with men who have the mind frame of commitment.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't. So you have to go into it knowing
so
like
you have to find that pair bond in something else.
yes. So men have to, and you have to find a man that's gonna have the idea like, okay, I want to commit to this. Choose. You have to
Yeah.
find a man that's choosing you.
Yeah.
Because they can have sex with you all day, every day, and they're
Yeah.
just like, hey, I could go out here and find somebody else tomorrow. Like it is
Yeah.
what it is.
But that's
Got
what
me
he was
fucked
saying, where
up.
that communication comes in. Because if she says, yeah, we're good, and then like, okay, you know what? Don't be mad when you fall in love with this. Because I told you what it was.
I told you
I
what
agree.
it was.
No, I agree with you.
So
I
don't
agree
come over
with
and
you.
break my fucking window, slashing my tires, all that weird shit when I told you what it was. And you know, some women, they'll sit back and be mad as fuck.
Yeah.
They'll sit back and be like, this motherfucker told me, but still, this motherfucker
Yeah.
ain't ready to go there. But
Hey.
I told you.
I attest to that. Yeah, because I had a back in my day.
Wait, but I think
That's
real
not
quick,
how
real
old
quick,
you
sorry.
Crazy bitches.
Okay, go
No,
ahead.
but I think also
Crazy
on,
bitches.
They're already crazy before.
on this
You just
point
made
though,
them more
Come
crazy.
on.
I think on this point, I still think that men. I think if men understood that, like he was saying, that it's an emotional thing for women, maybe you would be more careful with during casual sex. Like, yeah, she could tell me all day, every day, okay, this can be casual, but I know as a man, I would know that she's gonna get attached at some point. That's just how women are built.
Especially if you really
so you gotta
performing
take
like
that responsibility
You gotta
too.
You got to take some of the performance away.
So my dad, no, hold on.
No, wait,
So my dad,
Nah, we don't because when
she
we.
did not say that. She
Hey,
did
because
not say
if
that.
it's
She did
good,
not say
we gonna
that.
want it again.
my daddy always
didn't
told
say
me.
that.
My daddy always told me don't give him all the inches, and that's facts. Not give him all them, just give him the tip.
All of it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's because you want to keep their mind wondering.
Wait, but we started talking about
wow.
cheating. He brought up cheating, so let's get into it.
Oh, cheating.
Did I?
When
Well,
you
you
bring up
said
cheating?
that.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
I did.
forgot
Okay,
what
you be
said, but-
listening.
Cheating.
Okay, you be talking,
I
listening.
have to.
Okay, there
It's
we go.
podcast hosting
There we go.
etiquette. But when so let's go
Let's
into
go.
cheating. So I have a question. First of all, do all men cheat? And if so, what kind of mindset do they have to be in to cheat? Like, what's is it just like an animalistic thing, or?
I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't think it's really a mindset a man have to be in to cheat. and I'm just speaking in general. I don't think a man have to be in the mindset. If he see a female out there and she's giving him his attention, and if shit ain't going right,
It is what it is.
But
right.
isn't
But
that
that's
the
not-
mindset?
So if she
That is a
didn't, yeah, if
mindset.
she didn't
Isn't
go
that the
right.
mindset if things
okay.
aren't going right?
That's a
So like,
mindset.
what's
Well, then
has
that
to
is a
be going
mindset, but-
wrong?
you're right. I ain't gonna argue that because you're right. You're right.
I think that's
But
why I
not
asked, like,
everybody-
is it animalistic? Because it could be nothing going on.
Everything could be great.
That's what.
Well,
but that's what we talk
hella
about.
partners that thing. I mean, when I was in Oakland, I got hella partners. They got girls. They just like, fuck, look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, with a fat ass. Like, okay, I'm like, do what you got to do. Like, it is what it is. So nothing don't have to go on either. It's just the instance of a guy. Like, if we see a female with a fat ass, of course. I mean, if you're in a relationship, if you're a, I'm not even gonna say good guy, but if you a guy that's on the right path and stuff, you're gonna look at that fat ass and be like, okay, that's cool. But some guys just be like, fuck it, like, man, that's a fat ass. I gotta
touch.
Well, yeah, and
Obviously.
yeah, you can, but it's always
so from my
yeah, you can.
from my standpoint of it is cheating is an immature thing. It comes with maturity.
It does.
And that's where I go back and I'm not gonna say I hate to take God out of it, but no, God has to be in it, because if you're in alignment with Him, that doesn't happen. Now, as a man, naturally as a man, we won't say it, and a lot of men probably not gonna agree out there. I'm looking right at that camera, right? We sexualize women.
We do
Internally, and we don't say nothing about it, but we do. We sexualize women, and I think that's where, right, women are better than us. They look at a man and say, hey, let me go on my checklist. Can I see myself with that man?
Yes,
Yeah,
Is he a
exactly.
provider?
Right.
The
Is he a
checklist.
protector?
Yeah.
And so cheating, I think cheating comes in. He said it wasn't a mindset thing, but
No,
I think
it is.
cheating
It is.
definitely a mindset thing, because if you put that on the spirit of you about like, damn. And this is why you gotta you gotta discipline yourself. Stop watching porno.
Yeah, don't watch
Porno's
porno.
the leading cause of that.
Don't
because,
watch that. No,
because
yeah.
what porno does is it releases those endorphins of a fantasy.
Yeah.
So when you get that endorphin release, you see women, and sometimes you start to sexualize a lot of shit. Like,
And if your girl ain't
shit.
doing what the porno's doing, it's just
That
like
takes away from your sex life.
it takes away.
And it
That's
takes
why you
away.
ain't
So
supposed
that's
to
why I
watch
think
porn.
cheating.
Exactly.
Like OnlyFans?
I never had an OnlyFans, so I
wouldn't
really
think
don't
you
know
would.
what
I
they
just-
do. Yeah, I mean,
I got
don't know what they
OnlyFans,
do.
but cheating
You have
is
OnlyFans?
a no. I'm messing with you.
it ain't true.
It
It
don't
ain't
seem like
tricking
you're
if
getting
you
right
got
with
it.
God, sir.
I wanted to hear her. She been on my bumper since I got here, but cheating is definitely, it's not okay, but it's more of a mature thing. You kind of got to grow out of it to realize that, hey, my wife's not, or my wife, my girl,
Our girl,
or
yeah.
my friend's not meeting where I need to meet. I need to come to this table, sit down. I'm not gonna get on the platform like Jada and fucking Will did and talk
Right.
about it.
Right.
But
That
we need to sit down. We need to sit down at the table and talk about it. Now, cheating happens, and I'm gonna give this to you guys. Cheating happens is because somewhere at some point, and I'm just gonna pretend like me and T is in a relationship, so I'm gonna keep fucking with T. Somewhere at some point, T didn't make it comfortable. I didn't make it comfortable for T to sit down with me, because she couldn't reach me. So I took that comfortability of her feminine to come talk to me because of me.
You making me the cheater?
No. Well, that's what made. Well, I had to make you a cheater. I'm sorry, but it's because. But now listen, this shit's deep, because when a person cheats, to me, like, I've learned I can't fault T for cheating.
Yeah.
I go
Right,
to
you
the
can't.
mirror. I
You
say,
can't.
hey, Ty, what did you do wrong? I check myself first. I take account every time. What did you do wrong? Okay, Ty, if you haven't done what you done, T wouldn't have done what she did. Was it okay? No. But again, I have to take the cause of that cheating. Now, did T cheat because that's just what happened? It's going to be like a one-time thing.
Because she had 100 body count.
Right.
Or did T? Or
You
did,
wasn't
or did
satisfying
T-
her
Because you didn't
needs.
give her all the inches.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Hypothetically.
Or did T? Is this going to be a continuous thing for T?
Right.
It's cheating. So that's where we have to, in relationships, realize that people cheat for amount of reasons. Is it okay? No. That's why we was talking in the group. I told him I can deal with cheating. Everybody thought I was crazy. I could deal with my girl cheating on me. I could take that shit. Everybody be like, oh, so guys put out cheating, can they handle it back in return? Fuck yeah, I already did.
I say this. I ain't gonna
Already
So
lie.
what about you cheating though? Like, what would make you cheat?
As a man cheat,
Yeah.
like, again, it's the immaturity. It's the immaturity.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And it stems, a lot of it from me was when I, like, back in the day, before I met my wife, I would cheat. I was never faithful.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, and I'm going to be real with y'all because I'm being vulnerable right here on camera, but a lot of it stemmed back for childhood, like the abandonment issue, not having. So see, most people don't have one parent. I didn't have mom or dad. I was a product of being raised by grandma and grandpa. So once they were dead and gone, I definitely went off to foster care and then group home foster care. And I went through that whole shit, like coming from the background of the life that we were raised up in, coming from that shit and realizing that. I realized up until 2 years ago, no motherfucker like me got abandonment issues. So what I would do, not realizing, and a lot of women's like, motherfucker, you know, no, listen to what I'm telling you. What I would do was I would talk to T, right? And then to make myself feel comfortable, I would keep Ashley right here because if it goes bad between me and T,
you
right?
need a safety net.
Because then she's gonna leave me. Yeah. Someday she's gonna fucking leave me, and that's all I've seen was females doing that to me. Then I'm like, hey, fuck it, I got Ashley. Yeah. Then I'd hop over to you. Yeah. Because now Ashley ain't gonna, she gonna one day leave me, fuck it, I got her. And I kept doing that, not realizing, like, bro, you haven't done it, so stop doing that. Yeah.
I never really looked at cheating.
You ain't gonna hop over to, what's your name again? You ain't gonna hop over to Mel?
Mel, well,
I mean, you can't just stop. You can't just stop. Yeah, there we go.
It's a cycle of what you're doing.
You're just not good with names, so call me whatever you want. Carmen, whatever.
It's just the cycle that you create. And this is why I tell people, because everybody was like, well, you're not married anymore, you need to get out there and fuck everything. No, because what's gonna happen is here we go to the 100 body counts. What that creates, right, is desensitizing monogamy. Monogamy. Yep. And I'm the type of person that I feel like when you get out here and you start sleeping with multiple people, that's because sex is for procreation. Mm-hmm. It does feel good, but it's for procreation. So then you start doing what we call polygamous families. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, what the hell you mean by that? Yeah. You create families over here with all these different women. Yeah. So now you got multiple houses where kids are at, and you create these families.
Nick.
Well, yeah, and so you don't want that. So you have to control that and understand that, like, boom, it's like a woman playing with a toy. You're gonna desensitize yourself, and then when you give it a man, this nigga ain't doing the Gurr 3000 lick all this vibrating shit like my toy does, because now you desensitize yourself to that.
That's why you don't play with those all the time.
Of the cheating shit happens because we set ourselves up for that, not realizing, like, have some self control. Watching porno all day or using a toy all day, like,
I just say don't even
cheating happens, and I think men cheat due to the fact of the lack of maturity. And that's just facts.
That's a good answer. I like that.
Very good.
So kind of to touch on you jumping from one person to another, cheating.
Right?
The safety net.
The safety net. Can the side chick ever be your main chick? Do you guys believe that that's even a thing?
So I don't do side chicks. It's not side chicks. I keep the friendship there first. Then she'll have that, and Ashley will have that hint, like Ashley, you know, I was just seeing how you was doing. I ain't checked on you in a while, so she knows it's there.
But if you're in a relationship with somebody,
call it side chicks.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, like, just to kind of clarify, like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you are cheating with somebody else, and it's more than just that one time, and you've kind of made them feel like, you know, you'll be with them one day. Is it possible to see them as somebody you can be with if they knew the whole time that you was cheating on? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's more of a woman question, because guys, I mean, I think
I get the question.
Like, can you wife somebody that just been sitting in the back on the back burner?
Like, you stupid bitch, what you waiting on? I'm over here cheating on this.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna take this whole serious. So she gonna be the stomping ground to get out of this shit. Actually, I'm going over there with you just so I can have. Let me not be a homeless ass nigga. I'll go live with Ashley, and I'm gonna be right here, and then I'll find my next little stable to keep going.
So
Could she be a wife?
You can never really be monogamous and wife them.
No, fuck no.
I think.
No, fuck no. If I've done that, first of all, come on, bro. That lady, like, come on, and I'm not talking about the self-esteem part, but I'm just talking about like I'm gonna look at you less than as a woman.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
So what about the 100 body counts though?
No, I'm talking about strictly what she's talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm just saying.
Like, at the end of the day, your dumb ass gonna sit and
I don't think it had to do with body counts. It's how he's treating her. And
I see what John's saying too.
But like, okay,
he's saying less than a woman.
Okay, look, because I love you.
Less than a woman, yeah.
But like,
probably 50 of the bodies was
gonna be in the guy in there.
Lend that
throw
shit.
all this in
Lend
there.
that shit, nigga. Lend it.
Right. And then you talk, and you said something. You said something. I was gonna get to it. I should have just said.
I'm in the flesh right now.
I should have just.
I'm in the flesh right now. We're talking.
But no, I feel it. I know you in the flesh. But all I'm saying is that you said something that made a valid point. But you said you would still take a woman that had 100 body counts. Like, monogamy, right? You said something about how it kind of killed that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
desensitized.
Desensitize that.
Yeah.
So do you not think that having 100 body count would kind of desensitize that?
And it makes sense too, because when a woman has, so like you're saying, like, you know, she's just stupid. She's a dumb girl. I'm just using her for sex on the side. And now she thinks like she's going to be mine. I could never take her serious because that's what she was. She was in that role. But I think too, what he's saying is like, once you've had sex with 100 people, you've picked up a role and that's your role. And now you think that like somebody's a man is going to marry you. Right. Yeah. Like you're going to be a wife. So it does kind of play in hand in hand.
So this is where we keep moving them field goal posts. Because first of all, meeting a woman that has 100 body counts, just in the purity of who she is and the organicness of who she is, right? Meeting her with the 100 body counts, but she's a good soul and she knows how to cook, she knows how to clean, she knows how to be that structure that adds to you. Versus meeting somebody that you guys met on cheating foundation.
That's like saying, that's like saying, can you make a hoe into a housewife? Can you make a hoe into a housewife?
I think it depends on the dynamics in his eyes.
That's totally different. That's just totally different. It's one of those things that we gotta understand that like at the end of the day, we all sleep with people, whether we have one person, whether we have 5 people.
It's not 100.
I understand, right? But like, okay, when we look at women's bodies, right? But look, when we look at women's bodies, right?
Let's talk about
their vagina cleans itself,
so
right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Right? Anatomy over here?
Now we going.
No, but don't the woman's body clean itself? Right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so you're not gonna have. I mean, okay, yeah, you had sex, but it's just no. I mean, guys, we carry. What's that?
A lot of problems.
We carry a lot. It's the guys. We carry a lot of problems.
I'm just saying.
Hanging on the tip of our penis.
I'm just saying. I'm not going to take her serious at that point. And we moved it, the field goal post, but back to the 100. But at that point in time, what I'm saying though is, I would not be able, out of the foundations of what we started on, be able to take that relationship seriously.
I get it.
Now, I may be an asshole because now I'm using you in this type
you ain't no asshole.
No, you would be, because at this point in time, I'd be using Ashley for my greater good.
You should be allowing it. I mean, because women understand
for that bullshit, and she's seen it.
But doesn't that also contribute to your mindset too? Like maybe he just isn't looking for a wife. Like that's not where his mindset is at. So it doesn't matter if Ashley is a great woman. If he used her for a side chick, that's just what she is in his eyes.
Yeah, I get what they're both saying.
Yeah,
they both making sense. Okay,
what was the deciding factor that your woman is the one?
Can I go first? Because all right, I'm sorry. I'm like
you just
a little
kid. Take the spotlight.
No. I mean, because I tell everybody this. I never wanted to get married. I always told myself like it has to be that right one. And when I was saying that, I never knew who was the right one. And being young, I did what I had to do. I was having fun and stuff. And I met my wife. Literally, we did not talk I did not ask her out for a whole year. And I told myself.
So what were y'all doing in that whole year?
Talking. I would come home from work. No.
Talking or like just
dating
friends?
talking.
Okay.
I would come home. I even walk my auntie dog just to be on the phone with her because my service I didn't have good service.
That was his girl and she didn't know it.
Hey, you know about it. I ain't even go into that detail because I tell her all the time.
That was his girl. He didn't even know it. The reason why I say that, hold on, not to cut him off, but the reason why I'm saying that is because I knew that he was really into that girl and he wanted that girl because he would talk about her all the time. And any other girl he wouldn't say shit about, but her, he kept on, I'm going to go hang out with Saraya.
You're fighting your feelings.
Hey, look, you can't say, look.
With Saraya. I'm like, John, where you at? Saraya.
So look.
Saraya.
Alright, look.
I'm gonna go hang out with Saraya.
That's where me and him different.
Then the nigga didn't tell me, right? And this is what hurt my feelings. I used to go to this nigga house every weekend. And this is why when he brought that shit up earlier.
When I was in Oakland.
She moved to Oakland with him. I didn't know it. This nigga's like, I'm not gonna be nice looking. Saraya.
No, but look, let me tell you, because it took a whole year for us to talk. Start talking. I knew it. I said, you know what? I seen something different in her. And I was like, I need to be better with myself. Because, like I said, I was out there having my fun.
Yeah.
You know my house in no world. So I was out there having my fun. And I was just like, you know what? Let me make sure this is what I really want. It took me a whole year. But I finally asked her out because she was all like, yeah, I'm about to go back to my ex. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay.
Because he was playing.
Yeah, I
for a
was
whole
playing.
fucking year.
But you know what? I know. But you know what?
I'm glad that didn't run you off, because some guys would be like, well, fuck it then. Go.
Yeah.
Nah, I knew how good of a woman she was.
Oh, there you go,
She was
there
the
you go.
only female that I know I mean, I didn't want to have kids, but if I did at that time it would have been her.
Yeah.
That's the only woman I thought
So
about
what was the
marriage
deciding
with.
factor? Like what?
Just because of how she carried herself. Like, she wasn't out there. Like, a lot of females, they just, I mean, because like I said, me and him was raised together. He was raised by our grandmother. She don't, a female wearing tight clothes, let everybody see what your female got? No. You should,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just against it. Like, so
modesty.
my wife didn't wear that. She was educated. I mean, let me not say educated, but she was going to school to better herself.
Yeah.
Like, just the way she handled herself. I loved it.
So it was like
And-
very feminine.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It was different from my box. I always believe going outside the box.
Oh.
I like ghetto.
So you were with
I
the
like-
ratchets before.
I like all the ratchets. I like the loudness. But at some, like now, I wouldn't do that because I feel like I don't need that.
Yeah.
But before I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out my box to see. And I went out my box and found her. And it was the best thing. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie. It was the best thing because
so good.
like I still can't, although we go through our ups and downs and stuff, I still can't see myself with her. Like, I mean, without her.
Yeah.
With her, right? I hope you delete that out. But I still can't see myself without her. Like,
Yeah.
literally, there's times when I'm in my car and I just think to myself and I just start crying because I'm like, damn, what if and of course it goes back to me. What if my son grew up without a mom, right?
Yeah.
Because
Like
I
it's
know
something
I didn't have
That's deep.
I didn't
That's
have my
deep.
mom. My mom passed
Don't
away.
drop
My
too
two
much
brothers,
back.
my two brothers passed away when I was 3. So I was with my grandma, and after my grandma, I went to my auntie's house, and I called myself. Well, let me not say too much, but I call myself the Cinderella of that, and I always look back and I'm like, man, like
Pause.
I got.
Wait,
I know.
pause.
Yeah, let me go
not
sweep.
gonna
I mean,
skip over
no,
that.
and I say that because I felt like I was the one having to do everything.
Why can't you be
So
Charlie?
I know, right? But
Why Cinderella?
because I correlate the Cinderella with how she had all
Oh, the story.
yeah.
I got you. I thought you was
So-
like losing the glass slipper. My bad.
So when I met my wife, I met the lady that I knew I wanted.
Yeah.
And when I knew I
Did
wanted
she remind
her,
you of your grandma? Like in
she
certain ways?
she don't know. My grandma was feisty.
my grandma was a goddamn small piece of leather, but
let me
well
tell
put the
you,
motherfucker
remember that
together.
time when Grandpa fell
Boy,
in the
let me
gutter?
tell you, she'll whip a switch so fast on the tree, whoop your ass. I got prescribed with ass whoopings with a switch is. Y'all know what a switch
Yeah.
is?
Yes.
God damn.
She didn't remind me of my grandmother, but she kind of. There was a time when I was able to be vulnerable with her,
Okay.
and she took that in.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this the one. Because I mean, I suffered from depression. I suffered from depression, and I still do sometimes. And when I was going through my ups and downs with trying to understand why my family is this way to me, she was there.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know what other, I mean, probably other females probably would have did that too, but she was the first one.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nah, this is the one. This is the one.
Oh. So what
yeah.
about you, Ty? Deciding factor on why you would choose the woman you marry? Like what would be the one thing that you're like, this the one?
Yeah, you know.
Or maybe you just haven't reached that yet.
Yeah.
I have. I come from a different standpoint when it comes down to it. Like I said, a lot of men don't have lists. They just kind of go with what they go with. Mine was literally like the reason why I chose the one that I chose was because I got to see, like, from a bird's eye view, I got to see outside the window, and I got to really evaluate and pay attention. So once I started doing that, stopped leading with sex, and started paying attention to what that person does. Like, mine was just like, okay, are you time oriented? Are you structured? Do you have values? Do your goals align? Are your values aligned with what I'm a vision aligned with what I'm trying to align with as far as like even spiritually? But mine was more of and this is where being a product of a broken house sucks because mine was, can I see you being a good mom to my child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing for me. You can treat me like shit, but don't treat my kids like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, that was, I don't know why, but that was number one for me. And so when I seen my kid's mom, she was very good at that, like getting up, making sure the house was taken care of, always came over when we were hanging out. Her house was always clean. She was always cooking, always had a structured schedule. And she already had a child. She had one at 16 when I was married. So, just to watch her maneuver and then take care of business and how she was, I got this kind of, just doing all that and watching all that, like to watch that and see that, that's what I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
That's the type of partner I need. But see, there's a pros and cons to that because you see what I'm saying? She was so, like, not independent, I guess you could say, but independent to where she didn't understand.
She knew she could do it without you.
Well, not even just that. She didn't understand that, I still have to I have to still pour into him too.
Right.
Because she was so understanding that, I got my life on the line. But she just didn't know how to pour into me. So that's where, but that's just a whole nother topic. But that's when I looked at her and see, like, that's the one.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, like, okay, she was going to struggle with that.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah.
So your next, I guess, the one, you want her to pour into you and your family.
So the next one, after being married and understanding, like, the things that, like, I guess I came off as controlling in that marriage, but I'm the type of person that, like, I will tell you what I don't like, and if you continue to do it, I'm gonna have a problem with that. So if I tell T, hey, I don't like the fact that you go out at 8 p.m. at night, and I don't hear nothing from you until you get here at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah.
That's a problem for me. And then you turn right back around the next week and do it.
Yeah.
That's a problem for
Everybody.
in the morning.
Some people don't give a fuck.
No, but
I'm
that's-
telling you, some
Yeah,
people
but
don't
that,
care.
like, a lot of men don't give a fuck.
Some people don't
But
care.
that's the difference too. When women, that's why I hate when women say, like, "Oh, he was too controlling," because I feel like
I love structure.
But it's not even that. I think women, they convolute the two. Like, it's not so much control. It's boundaries.
Yeah, it's
like
boundaries.
men are allowed to have boundaries. Men are allowed to say, like, I don't want you to wear that, and I don't want you to go here, and I don't want you to be out all hours of the night or not contact me. Like, we do that, and we do get considered controlling. But I think that in a marriage or in any committed relationship, there has to be boundaries on both ends, and and there has to be a level of respect, and there has to be a level. I guess if you want to call it control, because you're two becoming one. And how can you become one if one's just doing whatever the fuck they want?
And I feel like I hate when
Preach.
women.
What's your last name? Preach.
I hate when women be
Sister.
like, "Oh, if he met me this way, then blah blah blah." But it's like,
No.
like
That's immature.
like
That's
how
like,
he said, like his woman didn't wear tight clothes or whatever, right? But I wear tight clothes, and if my man was like, "I don't want you to wear tight clothes," I would not wear them. Even if you met me that way, I would still be like,
but
"Okay,
see, that's
well,
the
that's what
thing.
you don't want."
Like, okay, like for yourself, like.
Yeah.
If you was to walk outside and we seen you in your tight clothes, guess what? We already sexualized you. We were like, damn, that's a fat ass. Like,
Right.
like what's up? Like, no, serious.
Yeah.
And then when we come up to a woman and start talking to her, and then they get all offensive because what we're talking about this one thing is because how you Tell me out.
I was gonna say,
you know what I'm saying. There we
men can't objectify. Well, they can in their head, but men can't objectify you unless you're objectifying yourself.
Right.
So if you're
Facts.
already putting, and that is a good lesson to learn too. It's like T said, like, I know that you are somebody that would change if your partner was to say, like, I don't like this, I don't like that. But it's also like carrying ourselves as wives before we become them.
Yeah.
Right. Don't say, oh, why are you talking to me like this? And you out there wearing leggings and stuff, and we see everything that you have. It's not a secret no more.
Yeah.
Like as a guy, we want our women to be just we want to know what our women have, but we don't want the whole world to know because that's. I mean, it's just calling out like, hey, I'm thirsty.
And that's like also, how are we going to ask for a man to provide and protect? But I feel like controlling is his version of protecting us.
Yeah.
So like he's saying, don't wear this, don't go out at this time. Oh, okay, cheers.
Preach, Miss Allen.
Like, don't go. I want you home at this time. I don't think you should go out. I don't think you should wear this. That's his version of protecting us.
Yeah.
Men have their own version of intuition that we don't, or they don't tap into as much, and it gets construed as in controlling.
Because we
and
know.
That
We
goes
know.
back into like what she said when she said it's a level of protection. And they're not going to sit there and explain that. Like they said that, men are more simple. So they're going to say it and they're not going to be like, this is me protecting you. Like they're not going to explain that. So it's like, we just have to understand that it doesn't have to be like he said, he was like, I guess you could say I was the controlling one. No, you were doing you were putting up your boundaries and you were protecting your girl. And if the girl's gonna be like, I can wear whatever the hell I want to wear, like then bye.
Right.
Right. Because it's like, I'm going to make it real quick because I know you want to say something. But it's like, It's not that we're being controlling, but we just know how guys are.
Yeah,
we
you know
trust you.
that.
Yeah.
When you go outside, you already know a man is looking at her. But why subject yourself to that even more wearing barely any clothes?
Right, because we already know. Okay, you wearing all that. You already know guys gonna come.
Like, I know you look good with clothes on, so I can imagine what motherfuckers looking when you don't have no.
And we just don't want that. I mean, it do come off as controlling.
Go, Ty, what you gonna
but
say?
I think it comes out to. I know. I'm gonna let him say. Yeah,
let him land his plane.
You
Go
know,
ahead, bud.
I'm so glad because Sabrina was saying that, let people finish and stuff and don't hop in. And I'm thank you, cousin. But yeah, I just feel like, women do come off like, oh, you're controlling me because you trying to tell me what to wear. No, it's just because we know what attract guys. And when you bring
if that's
that,
your man, though, why does it matter?
Why does it?
it does. And it does to some women. Some women don't have that a mindset
Then they don't need to be wife. They need
you
to
right.
be in the streets.
Right.
They're in the relationship for an aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Because if my man is literally telling me what he doesn't,
I'm not
like,
saying this
I'm
with
gonna
my
change
my
it.
wife neither. I'm just letting y'all know.
We know.
Okay.
We know.
But I'm just saying, like, if my man is literally coming to me with like, this is what I don't like, then I'm gonna change it.
Yeah, and men are biologically innately territorial. Like, you are
big
built.
time.
Yeah, and
that
I want
way.
you to be territorial.
Yeah,
be
you're
about
built
me.
that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's where
I love
it goes,
that.
and that's where it comes back to say that understand the person you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because if she just half naked, you can't expect her not to. So I feel a little bit different on that. I'm like kind of back and forth on that. Because what's the point of talking to her if you know she just half naked? Because, but women will say if you don't want a bad bitch, you can't handle it because you're insecure. Just say that.
Right.
But that's not the case.
No, it's not the case.
So my whole thing is what women don't understand is you guys indirectly protect us too.
Yeah.
Y'all don't understand that. So that our thing is to lead, and that our thing is to protect our women when we're out in public at all costs. But what you're not understanding is are you doing that? Or those things that you're doing, you're putting him in a situation.
Yeah.
So the
Exactly.
unfortunate part of it is like we've had this conversation before where like, if women are wearing half naked clothes and lingerie out in public, when the fuck's they saving the room for their significant other?
Yeah.
There's no
Because
type of wonder.
The guy will hear it first in the barbershop, like, hey, bro, I seen your girl out. You was okay with that? And they going to get that first. It's going to hurt them more than it will hurt us. And we're like, babe, why you tripping over them?
Yeah.
But
So then-
it's like, they got to deal with it more than we got to.
But even in public, like if we're, at a restaurant and I'm half naked and a man like says something or looks at me a certain
And that's
way
my
or
point
touches
about
me,
that.
now I'm putting
Now
my
you-
man in a position to have to do something,
Right.
Or
Right.
to have to protect me, and it's like
Niggas
why?
have no right touching you though.
Yeah,
That-
yeah, yeah.
that's the
Right.
part where I'm like,
Absolutely,
nigga, I don't give a fuck
absolutely.
what she wearing, nigga, don't touch mine.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely. And
But-
even if I'm single, don't touch
Yeah.
me. But I get it.
Would you call your man a bitch if he didn't? So not the touching part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if dudes was like, "Hey, what's up with it? I see that ass back there." Would you be mad that your man didn't react to that dude saying that? Would he be considered a bitch at
No,
that point?
not okay. So
No, because he knows
No.
this bitch got a fat ass.
so but that goes into like.
thank you.
But see that.
My man.
But so would that
Wait.
be respectful?
But wait, like I'm gonna put this in perspective. So me, like I know that my husband is capable of like protecting me physically. Like he's capable of getting into fights and capable whatever. So me in my head with my man, I would know like this is can turn ugly real fast. So
Right.
if he didn't say anything, I would know that that's a form of protection
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
because this can get ugly and my girl's here.
Yeah.
So it will really I wouldn't think he's a bitch because I would know what he's capable of. But if it's like we're fresh, we're new, we're dating, and he's seen somebody say something to me and he just kind of like put his head down and like turned away, like act like a bitch, then that's one thing. I'm not expecting him to
Yeah.
go out and fight for me.
Yeah.
She
But
should've said
he
sorry.
could say something, he could do something like, hey, let's leave. Like this ain't a good look. Like maybe we should go change or go somewhere else or whatever the case may be. I think there's different forms of protection. At our age, I'm not expecting my man to fight anybody. Like we can just leave. Like let's go.
I think it's
Because you got to start thinking like at some point like what's the point of fighting?
Exactly.
I mean, because you got
it can turn ugly real fast.
Right.
But like
The
I
way
said,
that-
I'm capable. I know that my man is capable of doing that, and I've seen like we've grown up together. We've been together 15 years, so I've seen him fight over me. I've seen all the
But
drama
like she
we've
said,
had.
because when it's a fresh thing, it's about it's about his mannerisms. It's about a lot of things. Like if he puts his head down and he's like
That's weird.
let's go, babe. And I'm like, fuck that. But if he's like,
Let's
come
run.
on, let's go with confidence.
Yeah.
Like, if I see that confidence in him, then I'm like, okay, I know shit about to get ugly.
Right, or like,
So let's go.
Like I dress up when I go with my girls,
Exactly.
but I'm gonna dress up when I go out with my man.
Exactly.
So like I'm gonna be on his arm, and I know I'm gonna look good.
Right.
So like if someone whistles or does whatever, I'm expecting just a subtle like hand around my hip, like claim it.
Yeah, like, let's
this
go.
is mine. Like,
Like,
you know
all right, it's time
what?
for
Like
us to go.
let's just
That's
walk.
mine.
this
I don't
like that's you checking
necessarily-
him without checking him.
Because I don't
Yeah.
necessarily like
I
you to
respect
be
that.
rah-rah if you don't need to
Yeah,
be
I don't
like
need.
that.
I don't
Yeah.
need that. Cause
I don't need that. And I want
really
you to
like
make
that.
sure I'm in a safe place before you even get there. So,
But if he touched me and you don't do
mine.
nothing, you
Oh,
bitch.
hey, nah.
Yeah,
That
if he
crossed the
touches
line.
me and you don't do nothing, that's a problem.
You better
Yeah,
not let
that
that
crossed
hand
the
get
line.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
nah.
touch me.
I don't even care if you a bitch. You better do something.
Yeah, nah, I don't care. Like, if anybody touch my female, I'm there. It's bad. Like, don't put your hands on her.
Even
Like,
girls.
you
What are
can.
you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That fact.
Yeah, even girls,
I
right?
swear, no,
touches
the
your
girl
girl,
ain't
what
gonna
are you
get
gonna
in the bubble.
Somebody touches your girl.
If it's a rap, you better catch my hands.
what are we doing?
It is
Equal rights,
you know,
equal us.
right. I'm not even gonna say nothing at
I
that
don't
point
care if
because
I don't
you didn't
care
say
if
nothing
I'm
when
a
you touched my
woman.
girl.
If a girl comes to me and my man is there, say it's 4 bitches and I'm getting jumped, he better fucking jump in and do something. I don't give a fuck.
I wouldn't even let it go that far. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Like,
Because I didn't have, like, my brothers, like, when I say, like, I have male friends, like, they are really my brothers. Like, when I got jumped, they jumped in for me. So, if my nigga can't do the same thing, then you can't be with me.
No, it's just I wouldn't let it go that far. I mean,
Hey,
I was in a situation where I'm like, damn.
Right.
I mean, look at me. I mean, I'm strong and shit. But this dude, he was bold. He was big. I'm like, and then my girl came up to me and was like, oh, he disrespect you. I'm like, shit. I had to put my big boy shoes on and shit. And
I mean,
went
I
up to
don't
him and I
care
had
if
to
you get
say
beat
something.
up for me, but you better do something.
No, you have to. That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
have to because I went up and I said
Because I
something.
will get beat up for you.
Period, though. Let's be real.
Help me. Go get the gun.
Okay.
I'm at my own gun. Like,
on the 4th floor.
yeah, no. I do think protection is like one of the main attributes to look for in a man, and it don't even necessarily because some of the the best at like UFC fighters and the best martial arts and the best like Navy SEALs and Army guys, they don't always have to be 6 foot tall.
No, they don't.
But
They don't.
They have to be able to protect.
Y'all just required him to be 6 feet tall.
Most women do.
Right. And then, like I
It's not
said,
a requirement. It's a plus.
Why? Let me ask why. No, can I? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to. Go ahead, Ash.
go
Go.
ahead.
Why? Why is it a plus?
Because
It's over
it
6
just feels more comfortable.
So if you
when
have
this
a
man
guy
just
that
skyscrapers
treats
over
you treats you like no other man, like he treats you good.
No, I'm
And
saying it. When I say it's a plus,
just don't wear
it's
heels.
But that's the thing too. Like women like to when we get dressed up and we want to go on dates or go out to with our guys.
you can't wear sandals every
We
day.
want to wear. First of all, I'm 5'6", so
Okay, man.
I don't know if that's average
take
or
me
whatever
out.
for a woman, but an average man is 5'8".
Yep.
So
Yeah.
if I wear heels, I'm either the same height or I'm over him. So
Yeah.
just for like comfortability purposes,
Yeah,
if I'm taller than you, it's just like
Well, look at Kevin Hart.
I mean, I got something to look up to, right?
that's great. And I'm not saying
Kevin
I'm not
Hart
gonna date
has
anybody.
bodyguards. Okay, he don't have to protect
But
them.
I'm
Yeah,
just
you
saying,
don't.
like, if it's like for like, I don't know, like the
Comfortability.
image, comfortability,
Yeah.
like you
No,
know,
guys, we look at
I know
shorter.
plenty of short men that got hands and can
Yeah,
fight
no, that's what I was
anybody.
about to say.
Like,
Like,
it's not
yeah.
even. I'm just saying, like, as idealistically or whatever. Like,
That's
attractive.
You just don't want people to look at you and you be taller than your man.
no,
No,
it's not
it's-
even that. Because if my
Yeah.
man is short and he got hands, hey, that's what it is.
But I'm,
So it's about-
it's
I'm
about
just saying,
attraction. Just-
attraction.
it's an
like,
attraction
But
thing.
normally,
Okay,
I date guys that are literally 5'8", 5'6", not 5'6", but like 5'8". I usually date guys that are average height.
I am the average man height, okay?
over. You're over.
Yeah, you might be over because it's 5'8". You look taller than
Yeah, I
that.
think women.
I'm a little
5'7",
over 5'8".
I think women like. I think women at
So
night.
it's just like in me and her aspect, like if you're taller, it's just idealistically like from first appearance, it's like attraction. You know what I mean? But
It's
if
not a
you-
requirement, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a
Okay,
requirement at
okay.
all. It's not
See,
a
like for
requirement
me,
at all.
like my husband,
She's
he
fucking 5'2".
yeah.
Like,
Well, I'm 5'2".
Right,
So.
everybody better be taller.
No,
than
I'm
you.
not. If you guys let me land, my man is taller, yes, but he's very, very skinny. So guys look at him and think like, oh, I'll snap him in like a twig and blah 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 blah. But little do they know, my man's got hands. Okay,
crazy.
He's fought like 6'5", like buff big dude. So like, and won. So I'm very confident. But it's like he didn't have to be. He is tall, but he didn't have to be like 220 pounds or muscular and buff.
Also, too,
like,
he's an average man. He's like 5'8", 5'9".
No, he's 5'10".
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, is he really?
Yes. He's closer to a 6 than you
I
think.
didn't
He's
know
just
that
skinny,
tall.
so he looks small.
Marvito. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, you know what?
He's skinny, so he looks little.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
He looks little.
I think when I wear his, I'm probably either the same or maybe like an inch taller than Marvin. So it's like, and my man's like probably like 5'9".
Yeah, no, the shortest I've ever gone was 5'5". But that was Josh.
No, I,
And she's like
5'5".
You don't want to say it. Go ahead.
5'5".
What y'all gotta say? Because y'all 6'2".
you know.
Y'all
Yeah,
can't
your
really
whole family
relate to
is
the
tall.
conversation.
No, I'm
I know. All I was gonna say is women
that
just
I'm-
like to keep their feet
No,
on the
that's
bed
not
at
what-
night. They don't want to roll down to your chest when you're shorter and their feet hang off the bed. I think that's what the issue
Wow,
is
you're
here.
height shaming
But-
these men.
Hey, no, I don't height
the people-
shame
the men
nobody.
that
He
are
was-
shorter.
Would you date a woman that was taller than you?
Is he fuck yeah?
Hey, I'll be climbing.
But
I'll
it's
be
very
climbing
rare.
her.
Long legs.
It's
What do you
very
mean?
rare that you would find a woman that's.
But look, I'll
over
tell her like this. If I was
6'2".
short, I would tell a woman like this. Look, baby, we all the same size when we lay down. So what's up?
No, hey.
Period.
Hey, you know
Actually,
what?
that's not true.
I'm gonna tell you
His daddy
something.
told him don't give out the inches. So.
You feel me?
Maybe that's all the inches he can get.
Hey, and that's not a problem. If those is good inches, they're great.
Period.
I
Hey,
talked to a girl that said dudes with the you feel me size don't matter because the
He said
dude
you
with
feel
the shorter one
She really
hit
liked.
harder than the dude with the bigger one.
we gotta
you
think
gotta
it's only 3. The female's
We've had this
vaginal
conversation
area is
before.
only
Just
3
because
inches.
you have a big dick doesn't mean that it's.
You know how to work it.
That's not fun sometimes.
Yeah.
No,
Sometimes.
you know what?
I mean-
That's the thing. Women, that's where I think that pain is pleasure come in at because a lot of the time.
That's them 100 body count bitches.
I think that a lot of men be messing with them 100 body count bitches because pain is not always the best.
Nah,
If
'cause
you're in a relationship, I can't take that every day. If we're in a relationship, I don't want that shit every day. I'm gonna be.
That's why a lot of dudes
my
probably
coochie gonna be raw.
a lot of niggas be thinking when they humping and hitting that girl is feeling good there or not realizing she's
Sometimes
struggling.
it's like I can't wait till this is over. My coochie
Is
hurts.
this motherfucker right over?
It don't even be your coochie, be your stomach.
Your stomach, y'all feeling it.
It be everything, your
Y'all
whole
feeling y'all start
organ.
pushing down on y'all stomach like it
That
ain't
shit
going
in your
nowhere.
belly button. Yikes.
Talk about round 2.
That's why I ain't looking at him. That's exactly.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, right.
But you said that physical appearance isn't like your number one thing.
No, definitely
No.
not. Because you can go get in a car accident today and that changes. So
Yeah.
honestly, I really fall in the. I've already been taught myself that to fall in love with that pure person, the organic person, just to who they are. And once you start looking at their habits and what they do, then you're gonna know like that's just who they are.
Do you find it hard finding like I don't know if you're actively dating, but finding modern women to meet
Your
the
standard?
Your mindset?
Not
the-
their standard, but the organic. Like
yeah,
standard.
not even standards, yes, but like you guys were saying, like when you guys were saying what was the like
Ideal?
deciding factor? Is it hard finding women these days with those things that you're like looking for or would want? Like you said, you liked how the woman that I think that you married, and you were saying like she had all those feminine qualities, like
attributes,
nurturing. Is it harder to find that in women these days?
I'd have to say yeah, and the reason why, and it's so crazy because if you remember right, women would sit there and kind of like have their list of what they would see in a man, so it's easy for them to just dismiss what didn't align. Nowadays, women are just like, I'll see whatever. We need one a man and see what he got. And I'll keep playing the field because I know this guy's going to give me stuff and this guy's going to give me stuff and he's going to do this. So the quality and all that shit goes down because now when you look at a woman, they have a hidden agenda about what they want in you. And I hate that shit with a passion. I'm starting to realize that. Like,
But they have a hidden agenda?
yeah, so it's like women will get with you because, and women, I wish y'all stopped going on social media.
Oh man.
You know how many women be like, "Oh, I like you. You're such a great dad, motherfucker." Because I post my kids on the internet and you see us out. That don't make me a great dad. I could be whooping
Right.
their ass, neglecting them, not taking care of
That's
them.
because I know plenty of dads that act like great dads online and they are not.
And they're
in real
not.
life.
And the reason why I'm speaking on that is because I see women make that fucking assumption so many fucking times. It's crazy. But I just kind of like, and I'll say something, but they just still don't listen because they ain't got it. But what I'm saying is, I've understood like they have hidden agendas. Like if that woman sees you as a good father, she's only banking on, okay, I want that man because he's a good father.
Amen.
I always tell women all the time, I'm a good father, but I could be a shitty ass dude in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I think I don't think it's a hidden agenda. I think that there's something in women that just looks for specific things like the protection, the provision.
And that's why I was asking. So I'm like, well, what are if we're meeting somebody? Of course, we're looking for certain type of things.
But that's where it comes into play. Where, and this is factual, so it's gonna hit some nerves. But women only love conditionally, and men love unconditionally, because men aren't looking for anything from us. They're looking for something.
But I think that's what's hard.
That's true. That's facts.
For women to grasp.
Yes, because
that
women
they're not
think
looking
like,
for
oh,
anything.
I unconditionally love this man. No, if this man was, well off and providing for you, and he fell off, yeah, you'll take care of him temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
But if he just never got back on his feet and never took on that provision, you're gonna be out.
But is that a man then?
No, but it's the fact that the women.
No,
But
yeah,
I'm
don't do
saying,
that
like,
because
I'm not
that is a
saying-
man.
I'm not saying that's, but he's living off of you.
Yeah, but
No, because he fell off.
Yeah, but temporary.
But wait,
so
but
she's
wait.
saying forever.
But wait,
like-
but wait. Let me answer, because when I say it's still unconditional, so yes, it is his fault if he didn't get back on his feet.
Yeah.
But you made that commitment to him, so anything can happen, right? And people change all the time, like you
Right.
said.
Yeah.
So he falls off, and you now you're like, oh, I'm falling out of love with you. It's still, even though yes, the man has some standards he should be living up to just as a man, but it's still, that's what makes it conditional.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It's not that it doesn't matter, but it's just a fact. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because men have roles to play and women have roles to play. Right. If we're taking care of the house, like he said when he met his, I think, wife again, I'm sorry, but when he met her, and she was cleaning the house and she was cooking every day and she was being there for him, and then one day she stops, he's more than likely going to stay, and he's just going to be like, okay, well, how are we going to get back on these things? And she's just falling off. Like, his love is going to be more unconditional. And like he said too, with looks, like I might like her because she looks beautiful, but she's not always going to be beautiful, and I'm still going to be with her. It's unconditional for men to love women, but women are going to love conditionally. We're more likely to leave, and when we leave, it's more than likely for two reasons. It's financial or unhappiness. So we're unhappy and all of a sudden we don't love them anymore. It's always conditional for women. And it's sad that it's that way, but I think
I was just gonna say, I wish that we could love unconditionally.
it's sad, but I think if
because
men
I feel like
and
I
women
am unconditionally, but when you really break it down,
and
in some aspect, I'm gonna be conditional.
Yes, and if men and women both understood that's just how the design was created, like that's just how women are innately, then we can start choosing better people. Women need to choose better people. They need to choose men that are going to be, what they're looking for, and then know, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do if this happens, or if that happens, this is how we're going to work through things. Like, if you get a man that's happened to fall into a really good job making good money, but he has no ambition to get better, or if he falls off, he has no motivation, no ambition, you need to know that. Like,
I you're right. I'm not.
And that's
I'm
where
not
I was
arguing.
going with the whole, like, they fall off.
The
and
one
then
person talk, huh?
I'm like,
That's where you was going.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was going to lose my train of thought.
No, go ahead.
So that's where I was going when you were like, oh, they fall off. And I was like, well, is he a man? Because I'm like, does he not have the motivation to bring himself back up? Does he not have the motivation?
You picked a man that probably wasn't hard worker.
I would have been like, look, sir.
But you would have never. But the thing too is, women would never, like, men don't get with us because of our job, because of our money. They don't get with us for that, but we do. We tend to look for the men that is going to be able to provide.
And who knows if he was put in that position for a different aspect?
What's the first thing as friends? If one of us came to each other and was like, "Oh, I met this new guy," what's the first thing we ask? What kind of job?
What kind of job
Where
he
does
got?
he work? What does he do?
Right.
Go ahead, John.
I hate it.
Go ahead, John. Since you,
Oh man,
let's give you your time.
I wish the way I'm 34 now, so my mind is. Yeah, when you just jumped in there, just took. I can't even think about what I'm gonna say now. I was, but you just took it away, T.
Just as bad as you did.
Yeah, T. You took it away.
I'm like, I had to speak because I was gonna lose my train of thought. I was.
No. It's
women are conditional, men, or women love conditionally.
Oh, because you said something about money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still can't remember. Sorry.
It's okay. But I don't even remember how we got onto that part either. But the height thing and the standards.
Yeah.
And just how women they do have, like, I would say, stricter standards.
Can I ask a question? Because I don't even think we're gonna ask. Mostly everybody over here have kids, right?
No.
Okay.
It's 50-50.
Well, then, okay. How do y'all feel about transgender and they teaching that in our schools?
Good question.
Let me speak.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
How do y'all feel about transgenders and teaching and allowing them to teach that in our schools? That's a topic that I think a lot of people need. Yeah,
I'm a little tipsy, but
so let's go ahead.
I do not think it's right.
To teach it in schools, be clear.
Yeah, please,
to teach it in schools.
at all, ever.
Why? No, but
I'm not going to
let's
say
get
teach
this.
it at all ever, but I don't think that it's right to teach it in schools because I feel like
What are you teaching them?
there should be a standard. Like there should be a normalcy. And I mean, I may not be saying this right. So
No,
please
go ahead,
forgive me.
speak.
The problem is though,
But-
T, is they look at it like it is their normalcy.
And I
so they're
underst-
teaching
and I
normalcy
underst-
for
and I
the world
understand
as
that.
today.
And
That's the problem.
I really might get dragged if we have any transgender or whatever fans, but I feel like when you are teaching school and stuff, like kids at a young age don't think about that type of stuff. And if they do, please forgive me. But I haven't been around any kids or even in my generation that was like, I want to be a woman. I want to like no until they see that type of stuff.
So it's crazy because in elementary school, I actually went to school with a kid. He was younger than me, a couple years younger than me, but we went to after school program together. And he dressed like a girl. He would go to swimming class with the bikini on. Like he did always dress like a girl. And I don't know what his thoughts were.
But
or what he was thinking.
as a parent, where's your standpoint on that? Would you allow that?
So I have a very different and strong opinions than most people on this. Like I go as far as I don't even think sex education should be taught in school. I think anything sexual should be taught by parents. And that's why I went private school, because I don't want my kids to have to learn about sex from teachers. Like I just don't think it's just not appropriate.
So with my stance on that, because my mom wasn't big on teaching us those type of things, and like I said, it goes off of personality. I just wasn't the type of person that, even though my mom didn't teach me that, and I learned it from school or outside things, I wasn't like a hoe in school. You know what I mean? So it definitely goes off of personality. But if your parents are the type of parents like mine that were old school and was just like, we don't talk about it, I feel like it should be taught somewhere. It definitely shouldn't be taught with your friends, because who knows where that can go.
And
You know
definitely
what I
not
mean?
in elementary school, because what they do,
Definitely not in elementary
they try to
school.
introduce it in kindergarten, first
Yeah,
grade.
yeah.
I think it should
Yeah.
be taught in high school when you are getting those emotions. I mean, it may happen in middle school, but I feel like middle school you should still teach
You're
your kids
still-
like
you're still very
to
young.
hold their composure. But
I mean, I do think it's a failure of parents that don't teach their kids.
Right.
So I think that if, it's kind of like a safety net in her case. Like she was like, okay, my parents weren't comfortable doing that, and I wish, I'm glad that school at least taught me safety. That's great and everything, but now we have a generation full of promiscuous people and people who don't value sex outside of, or value sex.
I mean, well, they give you a permission slip. So if it's as you
I
as a
get it.
parent to be like, if I'm going to teach my kids, I'm going to teach them this way. So you can be like, no, I don't want them to learn that.
Yeah, no, I get it to an extent, I guess. I just don't agree. I think, and to get back to the topic, because you asked the question,
Right, yes.
I think there is a greater agenda in the whole LGBTQ being taught to children. So I don't want to go down a rabbit hole or anything, but I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's okay. So it's one thing to learn sex education as a high schooler.
Yeah.
It's another thing to introduce, changing your gender in elementary school. That's a whole different topic. Why are you talking? And being gay is a preference, right? Being transgender is a whole
preference.
it's not a sexual preference though. It's a sexuality. Like it's
Right.
Yeah.
it's your body that we're now putting into kids' head. Like, oh, you might be a girl. Like, no, it's first of all, it's not even
But I feel like
biologically
they've even gone
factual.
beyond to where you're just like nothing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
not
not a
even,
girl or a man.
It's
I'm
not
just
even
here.
biologically factual that men can be women and women can be men. So
Yeah.
that is it's just a whole nother thing. It's like teaching them what type of a political party to be a part of. Like it's
Yeah.
like you don't train them a certain way and then
I feel like
leave them to
but
it.
comes to
I just
high
want to. I'm sorry. I just
No,
want to
go
know,
ahead.
so do you guys feel that it's okay for schools to teach and let kids decide?
No.
No,
Okay,
I feel
so-
like the parents should decide. Like I said, when I was in school, they had permission slips for sex ed. Like,
Right.
if your parents wanted the school to teach you, you had to sign this paper. So
Are you
as-
talking about sex ed too?
No,
Oh,
I'm just talking about transgender
I mean, I feel
because
like
I got a little boy.
if it's a transgender thing, if they're teaching that, I feel like it should be a permission thing.
All right.
I saw a TikTok the other day,
I know which one you're gonna bring up.
and
that's paramedic?
this no, what?
That was the paramedic.
That was
no,
a good one.
a different one.
Oh.
The paramedic I told you about. Go ahead.
Oh, I did see that one.
Yeah.
But there was another one, and he was just interviewing people, talking about transgender. He's like, and basically the girl who was gay, and she was saying how I am gay. I'm going to school to be a teacher, and I'm teaching my students that they should be transgender or gay.
What?
And then the guy,
They should be?
and it was a response video. So the responder was saying, isn't this an agenda? I'm so confused. You just said that you didn't want, like, you don't believe in having an agenda. You don't believe that, like how Bree said, like, this is all an agenda. She was like, well, I'm going to school and I'm teaching my future students that this is what they should. And I was so confused. But I'm over here like, I will homeschool and if I really have to.
How do you teach your kids to be that if that's not?
Well, if they don't already associate with, like, I mean, your son is big with the whole I'm a boy because he didn't want to go to Anaya's Barbie party.
Right.
But like, if they just so happen to just be like, oh, I'm gonna play with, Anaya, she's athletic. Okay, if she's like, I'm gonna play football, and now she's associated with all these boys.
Yeah.
And now she's a boy. And I'm over here like, girl, no, let's go. I feel like that's also on the parents.
It is on the parents.
And the lack
I feel
of parenting.
Like a lot of girls, and I will stand for myself, go through our like
It's a
tomboy
stage.
era, right?
Yes.
And that doesn't mean I want to be gay and I want to be a boy.
All the time, tomboys, when girls be going through that stage, they always be the girly girl stuff later on. It's always
I'm
like that.
super girly girl. So it's like I definitely went through my tomboy stage, but I didn't want to fucking be a boy. And now parents nowadays like, oh, well, she wants to be a boy, and it's like, no.
So they did. I took a psychology class, and they was doing the studies on the boy, and they allowed their parents to make this decision on, hey, we're going to do the sex change. It's going to happen, and this. They called him John Doe. He got a sex change at 12.
At 12.
right.
And he regretted when he got older.
And when he was 14, he said, "Mommy, I want to be a boy again." And it was too late. So
but I've heard that so many times, and that is definitely based on the parents.
And if you think about it, like if you look at how hard they're pushing the agenda, right? You're looking at how hard that they're fighting for these rights to teach it in elementary schools and stuff. But
why?
You don't see these stories about the detransitioners, and you don't see the stories about the people who actually got worse in depression after they transitioned.
Didn't that girl sue Kaiser for her parents like letting her? Or
yeah, it was the parents that sued because But this is the thing too is that parents get to this like neurotic phase where they're just like, oh my God, like my kid thinks he's a girl, and if I don't transition, they're gonna off themselves. They're gonna off themselves, or they're gonna feel outcast, or they're gonna be bullied because they want to be something that they're not. So we're just gonna transition them, give them what they want. The doctors are feeding the parents like your kid will think, I don't want to say the word, but they'll think thoughts about taking themselves out and deleting themselves because of this. You need to transition them, so they're being like pushed into the agenda. And so parents, of course, as parents that are uneducated and don't have God on their side, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I gotta do what the doctor says. I gotta help my child. So then now we're getting parents who are just confused and just as in a state like the kids are in the state, so they're just like in this vulnerable place where they don't know what to do.
So my standpoint, and again, I'm not a parent or I'm not married, but when the whole Gabrielle Union and all that shit came about, please, y'all could drag me if y'all want to. But
I'm not dragging you. I'm just saying don't bring it up for the sake of the show.
I don't give a fuck.
Because they don't get everybody for defamation of character.
Right.
That's great. But I'm going to speak my truth. Like, regardless of what you think as a kid, you're a kid and your mind is going to change. So if my child is like, oh, I want to be a boy and he's fucking 16, or I want to be a girl and he's 16, I'm gonna be like, no, you're going to wait till you're 18 or you're like 20 before I approve. If I sign a paper, you're gonna be an adult if I have to sign it.
So this is the thing. Like, why don't they treat them for mental illness, right? Because a lot of people that go through that sex change and stuff, guess what? They're going to physical therapy. Yeah. They're going through all this. Right. So why don't they just treat them for mental health?
I agree.
So I will say, I have a friend, or my sis, her girlfriend had a new, like, somebody who was transitioning, and she said that during the transition process there is a process of counseling that they go through before the actual transition can take place.
Because why?
But I feel
exactly. So, but I think those doctors are more affirming them.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that we have this gender affirming, like we have to affirm them. And I think if we step back, like if I went to to, you know, if I went to the hospital and I was like, I'm a dog, I'm a dog, I'm a dog.
Ruff, ruff.
Like,
But
they're
they
gonna
have
say,
that.
they're gonna say, no, ma'am, like, let's, you know, you're not a dog, like, let's help you.
And they're gonna see them as mentally ill, right?
I don't remember what
So-
friend told me that their kid is in elementary school, and one kid was saying she's an animal. They had like a fucking animal thing for the kid.
So there was
That's affirming.
that was
Yes.
that was
Like,
they
what the
do
fuck?
it's going that route. It is, but I was just using that as an example. But yeah, there was a little girl who went to middle school and she said she was a cat, and her parents forced the school to put a litter box in the bathroom.
What the fuck is that?
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
What? Not a fuck?
Yeah, they had
litter box?
I had a litter box in the girls'
Let her go-
bathroom
let her go
because the
pee in the
girl
litter box.
thought she was a cat.
I would whoop my
But
kid's
it's
ass.
funny because I had a
But wouldn't they
cousin.
consider that mental illness?
Yes, it is mental
right.
illness.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, why do they allow?
My thing. So go ahead.
Why do they allow people to say, "Hey, I want to be"? I feel like I'm a man without treating them. I mean, they treat them for mental illness in the sense,
But they're
that they
not
give
treating them. They're
Well,
affirming them with
well,
the
you're right,
counseling.
You're right.
And that's the
right.
difference. It's not treatment. It's a affirmation of what they think they are.
So do you think that the country has a whole agenda on how they want to dumb down our
The world does. Well, the
want to dumb
West.
down our students. I mean, our
You're really
kids.
about
'cause
to get us
these
canceled.
kids is going to
the
be.
government is going to cancel us.
I mean, but these kids are going to be the same kids
said
that's
the
taking care of us, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely think there's an agenda. It's deeper. It's spiritual. It's, you know, it is way too much to even get into in an hour long
think it's
conversation.
spiritual because
I do
you're
think
right.
it's spiritual.
If you're not aligned with God, you gonna start thinking random shit and letting random shit be okay.
But just
Yeah.
to quickly,
Yeah, it is spiritual. You're right.
just to quickly tie in the spiritual aspect, it's if you don't know your identity in God,
Yes.
if you don't know your identity in God, you're gonna have identity issues throughout your life. Even not gender affirming,
Yeah.
even not transgender. It could be something like, oh, you know, like I'm trying to find my identity, trying to find who I am. But all you have to do is rest in God, and you'll find your true identity, your true purpose. So if you don't
Amen.
have God, then you're going to be going all these different ways in the community, and when they're pushing something, you're going to lean towards what they're pushing because that's
Yeah.
all you see. But
going potty in the litter box.
yeah, exactly. but
Don't make a joke out of it.
I think it's absolutely wrong for them to teach children this at such an impressionable age. And now all of a sudden we're seeing this epidemic of transgenders we've never seen before because it's
The
absolutely
fact that
ridiculous.
they're pushing this in elementary school
If I
is
was- if-
wild
They have
to me.
agenda. They have agenda.
If I was to walk outside and be like, no, my name is Jennifer. I'm Jennifer and I'm a Taurus and this is who I am. You guys would be like, you're fucking crazy. Your name is Sabrina. You're not that. Like, you would think I have split personalities and send me to a fucking hospital.
Facts.
So like, it's one thing. Like, I can't sit here and say I'm somebody else. How come I could sit here and say I'm another gender? It's just, it's ridiculous.
Like, I understand, like, being gay is whatever it is, right? Like, I honestly feel like some people were born being gay, right? But when you want to, dissect it and be like, you want to change genders and...
It's different. It's a totally different aspect. Like, you can be
I know,
gay.
because y'all still got hope. I mean, y'all still got hope. Just get with one good dude and it'd be like, whew.
Shut up!
No,
Okay, never mind. Okay.
That's not what we mean. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
No. That's not what I mean. I'm saying, like, it's okay to be gay. I don't think it's okay to try and be a gender that you're not. Yes, okay, you like women or you like men.
one is a sexual preference.
Yeah, I think
that's
it's
what I'm
okay,
saying.
but just don't teach it to our kids. Like, don't put that pressure on our kids. Like, let us teach them and let us decide on what we want to teach our kids.
I mean, they're
Don't
not
put that pressure on
teaching
our
us in
kids.
school that we need to get married and have kids.
No, because I think that's that's just
in Christian school.
in Christian school they do.
Yeah.
But just don't. I mean,
But
like, I seen this
why?
story.
Why? I don't
I
get
get
it.
her
saw-
point. I get her point.
I saw this story of this little kid. He was talking. They went to the whole Senate talking about, hey, I'm 6 years old. They talked about this and talked about how sucking dick, you know, all that, and the parents stepped up and said, hey, I don't feel that should even be talked about.
Honestly,
It definitely shouldn't.
shouldn't.
I don't remember having to sign a slip or nothing.
Oh, my mom did.
But it was my freshman year of high school. I don't remember that class at all. I don't remember anything. Not a single thing.
So when I was in middle school, I think it was 7th or 8th grade, they started doing the sex ed.
Yeah, sex
My
ed.
mom had to sign a permission slip for me to join it, and she did.
Did grandma sign one? 'Cause
We
I
didn't-
think-
So I think in high school, she did again, but I'm not 100%
Yeah, we didn't have
sure.
we didn't have sex ed in middle school, but we did have it in high school.
It was in high school. For
But
me.
I think with the whole
Middle
sex
school
ed,
for middle school for me.
Middle school for me.
for
Yeah.
the whole sex ed topic, I just think that after the sexual revolution, I think it was 60s or 70s, they started to say, okay, well, like everyone's having sex now, let's put it in schools. I think the intention was good, but what they seen were numbers of minors, numbers of kids were having unprotected sex and sex outside of marriage increased because of sexual education.
Yeah.
So that's where I think they went wrong. Is I think the intention was okay, but I think that the them doing it actually hurt kids more than anything.
So I know, like, when you
have
go to the
babies.
doctor and stuff, when you're younger, you're required to have physicals, and I think that should be included with your physical.
What?
So if you don't want to
Sex
teach it,
Oh, sex ed. Okay.
What?
Sex ed should be
Sex ed.
included into your physical.
yeah,
What?
with your doctor and
Yeah,
your parents,
sex
and you guys
education.
should. If parents are uncomfortable, it is uncomfortable to talk about. Like, you don't want to talk about sex with your kid. That's fucking weird.
It's not weird. I think it's gotta. We gotta be
It's
comfortable.
uncomfortable. So what I'm saying is, you have to do the physicals. You have to go to the doctor. So if it's uncomfortable for people, why not include it in that? And your doctor can help you assist
Yeah.
your child.
I mean, I agree that can be another route. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree that could be a route. Oh my god.
Yeah, I felt the okay. So with sex education, it was more so sex prevention.
Yeah, I mean,
It was never really like this is. It was never
like, how
saying
to
like
do it.
no, but
It
it
was
was
just like-
never more so like don't do it.
Yeah.
It was
No.
like if you do it, which I know you're about to do it. This is how you put a condom on a banana. Like this is they're not telling you to not do it. They're more so giving you the preventional tool.
And it's funny because
do
she
it.
says like, "Oh, if your parents like," I mean, I'm sorry, mom, but why is it uncomfortable to talk about this with your kid? Like,
I honestly never had the sex talk with my mom.
exactly. So I'm
After
like-
until she found out I was having sex.
even
And
when
then
my
she
mom
was
found
like,
out I was
yeah,
having
no.
sex, she was like, she wanted to like punish me for it.
Yeah, but I was definitely
I was
punished.
like 17. Like, what the fuck?
I was definitely punished.
I'd rather, if my son's having
young.
sex, I'd rather teach him the
17
right
is-
way
I don't
instead
feel like
of
that's
trying to
young.
hide it and doing the wrong way and get somebody pregnant.
You find out your
Right.
daughter's getting fucked at 17, you're gonna be pissed.
When you're 18, you're grown and you're out of the house.
But you're not 18. You're 17.
It doesn't matter. You're.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
I don't
Because
believe that.
you
Like-
as a person, you know that you know as a person, you're going through these emotions.
No, but Tiana, you're thinking on a personal level.
Yeah,
and
you're
I
taking it
think
personal,
I think
Tiana.
what you're missing is that 17 is absolutely way too young to be having sex. Is it happening? Yes, that doesn't mean
But
it
I
should
feel
be
like
normalized.
if you are not comfortable
Amen.
having, so then you should feel comfortable having these conversations
no,
with your kid.
but okay, I get what Melanie's saying though. Again, we're in a generation where it's being normalized, and so now we have to normalize something that we never had to before.
It's not even normalized. It's just
Sex-
bodily function.
No.
So, first of all, let's talk about this, and I'm glad we're on this subject because that other subject I was confused on.
You
I
was
like,
lost.
yeah.
You was over here sitting like
I was
a.
quiet as hell.
yeah.
But listen, so I'm
Crickets
glad
over
we're
there.
I'm glad
Crickets.
we're on this subject because first of all, sex was normalized back when your mom was back in the day. It just wasn't talked about.
That's what I'm
Yeah, I will
So-
say. That's what I was gonna say too. I feel like if you have a son, you're giving them the sex talk. Like my mom had all girls. We have never really had the sex talk. So like a dad is for sure gonna give his son a sex talk
Oh, for
early
sure.
on.
Hey,
Early
this how you
on.
work it. This how you
Like
gotta
they're
do
gonna,
it to keep
but
her.
it's not gonna be like the sex talk. It's I'm teaching you the game.
Right.
Like it's gonna be like the,
Fuck
It's
no.
sex
I'm
talk.
teaching them this
No,
how you
I
put a
agree.
condom on.
Yeah, this how you put a
how
condom
Yeah,
on.
the
proactive.
game.
But
Yeah,
This is how
my
boom, boom, boom.
my husband said that his dad had to talk to him with them when they was like 13, 12, 13. They was getting condoms from their dad. Like the dads take it way more
they take
easier.
it seriously.
Yeah, we do.
But
I would be the guy to have a sex talk with my daughter.
yeah, and
I would
as
be
you
that
should.
guy.
Yeah, as you
Because at the end of
should.
the day, I want my daughter to be protected.
But I
and
will say that
understanding what
with
that
my
is.
husband, his dad, they were harder on his sisters. Like he had four sisters. He has four sisters. So the dad didn't necessarily have the sex talk with the girls, but it was more of a like she said, like giving the boys the game. Like his dad, let me just say his dad was more interested in like, oh, it's cool for the boys to have sex. It's not cool for the girls to have sex.
It's cool when we do it. It's problem when they do it.
But I
problem when they
think
do
where
it.
I was going with the normalized thing is it's that yes, sex is natural. It's a natural thing. It's a natural thing, and it's been happening since the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve. That's how we all got here, right? That's fine. But I think what wasn't normalized was introducing sex to minors, like to kids. Yeah. So once we normalize introducing sex to kids, now we have to normalize having that conversation with our kids.
Definitely.
So that's what Melanie's saying is, yes, it was uncomfortable for our kids because, our parents, because they didn't have the talk from their parents because that wasn't something they had to have the talk about.
And I don't think it's normalized. I think that it's happening and it fucking shouldn't be.
Well,
I don't want to call it a normal thing.
No, but normalized is a negative word. Things should not be normalized that are normalized.
Yeah.
So
see, I don't even like the word normal because normal is a whole mind. It's like
It's a
what you may
mindset,
seem is normal.
no,
I
I'm
may
not.
seem
Okay, I think you guys are missing the point.
I
Just
get
because
the point.
something
No, I get
is
the point.
normalized doesn't mean it's normal.
No,
or
I'm
okay.
not even saying that because I'm saying like if my mom would have had the sex talk with me early on, I might have not lost it at whatever age I lost it at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what you were saying,
and that's why I'm trying to
What was the
dial
age?
back.
Yeah,
Like
but-
I don't think that it's okay to have it at a young age.
no, but what you were saying was that because your parents didn't have it, you were thankful that your school had it. But now the school is saying these are things are normalized, which it doesn't mean it's
But I
normal
wasn't even
or
saying
okay.
that I was thankful because I wish that I didn't have to learn it that way.
Yeah, no, I know. I understand what you're saying. I'm not going against anything you're saying. What I'm saying is that when the parents weren't having the conversation, now the schools are having the conversation. So who has the upper hand in raising the child or the children? Because
Right, and
at
I think
17
that's
you're a
wrong.
children. Yeah, and I'm not saying that you didn't say that. I'm
just
Oh my
agreeing
God.
with you. I'm agreeing with you.
I don't need you
But
to
hey,
agree.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm totally honest. I lost my virginity at 22, but I was scared as fuck because I watched that sex ed class and the shit that was on the herpes and all that shit scared the fuck out of me. And I thought because you had sex that would happen. So they said 1 out of every, and I'm like, and when I was in middle school, I still didn't understand the shit, but I never had sex. That shit scared me. Yeah. And they said you can't get rid of it, and this will happen. Like, oh yeah, no, I ain't doing this shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be virgin till I'm 40, huh?
No, but see, that's what Ash was saying when she said the word preventative. I didn't agree when she said it, but I think that's what their attention was, is to teach you the good and bad, because they didn't sit there and say to us in sex ed, oh, this is going to be so pleasurable, you're going to love it.
No.
They told us the negative aspects to it. That's why I say I think they went into it with good intentions. They went into it with teaching children you should wait. But when they introduced that, that's when people, and that's when last episode or a couple episodes ago when we were talking about school, it's like you were saying kids are going to rebel anyways, right?
Yeah,
so
always.
when that's the problem, is they introduced sex in schools, and it opened our minds to it. And the kids that were like, well, my parents are saying I shouldn't, but the school is saying all I have to do is put a condom on. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fucking put a condom on.
I know girls that used to get trains ran on them in the bathroom during passing
and
period.
how many of us in high school heard stories about people that got caught in the library or after school went to the bus stop or like,
oh my god,
it's because,
and then I'm like, I could never.
and then that's also it goes into corn. I'm gonna say corn because
Corn. He said.
I know it's fine, but it goes into that because now that sex has been introduced to children, now they're getting their hands on things like corn, and it's like that is what's gonna desensitize. It's gonna create promiscuous people, and it does. You
ever notice that porn is free now?
Yeah. Why is it free? Right. Yeah. Exactly. Why is it free? Why is it so easily accessible? and it's so easily accessible. And now we got OnlyFans and we got all this other stuff. And it's like we. So when she was saying like 17, you're almost an adult, but you're not.
But you're not.
Especially for women, because again, we weren't taught in sex ed how women are going to get bonded to these people, how we're going to have emotions that come after it, and then we're like, oh, it's just natural. It's just what men and women do. We have these hormones. We feel these things. We should just do it. No one's teaching us anything, and that's why it needs to land on the parents. And that's why I'm glad we're having these conversations, because in hopes that people see this and like, okay, like I need to know how to raise my kids and teach my kids these things, because they're going to get shit from these schools and they're not going to know what to do with that information. And then here we go.
Yeah, I remember when my mom found out I was having sex. I want to say like 18 or 19. So I was out of high
Mama
school.
Karen.
I know, because she's listening.
Right.
She was like, you will go get on birth control right now. I'm not taking you. You're going to go do it by yourself, since you think that you can have sex. Like, you're going to go get on birth control. She was like, because what if you did get pregnant? What are you going to do? You're a child. Right. I'm not taking care of no baby that you have. Go get on birth control. Like, I don't want to hear shit else about it. I was in trouble. That shit was embarrassing.
And then that's another aspect to the fall.
I was gonna say because I was
we got
scared.
punished. We got punished, and mind you, my mom found out because I was on birth control. And she was like, well, if you get pregnant, I'm like, well, I'm on birth control and I'm using condoms at the same time.
Yeah,
I learned this from school.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's another scare that we had for us though.
Right.
Was like we're gonna get pregnant. Yeah. If I have sex, no matter what, I'm getting pregnant. Like that was a scare for us.
No,
These days, it's like, well, if I have sex, I can go get a plan B. If I get pregnant, I can't for sure get an abortion.
Yeah, no.
But
Every time I have sex,
I
used to buy
we didn't
pregnancy
think of that.
tests at 18 years old because I would have sex with a condom
'Cause
with
we were
protection, and I'm
scared.
like, I'm pregnant. My stomach hurts.
Like
I'm
we
pregnant.
were, like we were scared. That was a thought that we had, and these days it's more so
like having sex gave me anxiety.
The plan B, right?
You never got him that. I'm sorry.
This guy.
I'm playing with you, man. I'm just
Wrap
talking.
this up. I'm done with y'all.
These days, though, it's like the alternative, like what can happen, and then I can prevent it.
Yeah.
It's better than what can. So like they're taking I'm gonna have sex. I don't care. I can take a plan B. I can get an abortion.
Yeah.
If I want the baby, I can get an adoption. Like they don't think of it like as a scary thing anymore because they have all these preventative measures.
I definitely don't think pushing birth control on your teenage daughter in high school. I think that you're just telling her that it's okay to fuck.
And but again, too, that just comes with our parents because I don't put blame on them.
Yeah,
I think that they did they did the best they can with the information they had, and that's the problem. Yeah. Now we're in this new era of internet and education.
Yeah, it was completely different when we were
social media.
Social media. But just the fact that like now we can, as parents, we can see like, you know, how to prolong. I don't want to say stop because who knows when our kids are going to have sex, right? So we hope to prolong those days. And with that comes, you know, now we have more information on birth control and what it's actually doing to women and society as a whole. And that in itself right there is like, because if let's say my 17-year-old came to me and Mom, I really like this boy and we had this moment and I didn't do it, but I want to, which I do. I still feel so strongly about birth control that it'd be a hard thing for me to handle because I don't want to put my kids on birth control or my daughter. And so I think that is what has made me make decisions while they're so young to prolong that, like the private school and then not putting them in the public school, not being okay with the sex ed, not being okay with all these other agendas. I'm going to do everything in my power to prolong that because I don't want to have to do that. I want my kids to hold off and maybe not till marriage if it's not realistic nowadays, but maybe until they're at least with somebody that they can see being a father to their kids. And if that's at 19, of course, I don't wish that on them. But if that's at 19, hey, if you guys are shooting for marriage and you can start a family, we're here to support you and help you. I'm very big on keeping my kids home as long as possible and being a village. And if that means that I got to step into another mom role for my kids, then that's what I have to do. But again, I'm going to do everything in my power to prolong that because as normalized as it is, as normal as it can seem, it's not. And we all agree that it's not for kids to have sex. It should not be normalized.
I just want to say that I'm glad that I have friends that are going through this before me because
wow.
No,
let her speak. Let her speak.
No, that's not selfish. That's not selfish at all.
I get what you're saying.
I'm glad that I have friends that are going through this before me because I can help. We can figure it out together, and then when I have kids, it'll be a better version of us figuring out together.
You would hope that until you get to your child's different.
I mean, yeah, even if my child is different, she can still give me advice on, you know, how to try to structure it. No?
Nah.
Why?
And the reason I say that is because every child's different. So her kid may not have been honoring versus yours is honoring. So she may not be able to tell you.
Yeah, but she can still give me some type of guidelines to go to.
But if she never experienced the honoring from her kids, how can she tell you?
But she still has a guideline. There's still a road.
You older. I mean,
I think parenting for everyone is going to look different. But I don't think that it's necessarily that we, like, if my kid doesn't go through something and her kid is going through it, I can at least give that advice because as a parent we don't know what we're going to go through yet. So we've thought about these things because we have kids. So if I've had to have those thoughts, I can at least come to her with, oh well, if this was my kid, this is how I would do it because of the things I have experienced. So there's a level of advice we can still give, but it's not going to be the same for every child. And even for my two, I might have to go through something with one of them that I did, or that I won't have to go through with the other one. But it's just and the more kids we have, the more experience we have. So everybody get on it.
I have to go pee.
Yeah, go.
I am. I'm just letting y'all know. I want y'all to finish y'all little shit.
You're annoying.
But yeah, no.
Y'all got.
But you were saying how it is normal right? You were saying that. So how do you feel like about the sex education at a young age, about them
Well,
learning and birth control and all that? I mean, I know you guys are mental, you don't have to necessarily think of those things, but you have a daughter, right? So like what would you hope for? What would you do to kind of like prolong that, if that's what you feel should be done or not? Like,
Man, I'm just one of those parents that like
you want to have that open communication.
Yeah, I'm very woken to understand that, you know, I didn't have that type of table where I could just come to, because grandparents, like I told you, I didn't have that communication where I could just go to them and be like, hey, you know, I was young at the time when they passed, but even with the foster parents, I didn't have that type of communication to where I can go to them and be like, hey, you know, I was thinking about doing this, that, and the third, you know, with a female. So I didn't have that as that. So I just chose that I'd do the reverse it and do it different. Like even when my son turned 8, and my other son, my other son, he turned I believe 11 at the time, and I was like, y'all know what sex is? And the crazy thing is, the 8-year-old knew more than the 11-year-old.
Oh wow.
That's scary. My son's 7.
And I was like, what the fuck? But then again, I realized that no.
We're not talk about this yet.
I realized it wasn't that he knew more. It's just the 11-year-old. He was embarrassed to open up about it. With an 8-year-old, he has no concept. So he's like, I'm just gonna let you know what I know. He grabbed the pillow and started humping it. And this at this point in time, he's never walked in on us or nothing like that. So the only place I knew that he was getting that source was from the TV. So I literally realized I had to cut back the source.
That's actually what happened to me on Friday. My son, he likes YouTube, so I had restricted his YouTube to kids' YouTube.
Crazy too.
Yeah,
even the kids.
Yeah, no, I'm finding out. So, but he started watching YouTube on my TV, because I have the YouTube app on my TV, but it was logged into my YouTube, so it was an adult YouTube. And the stuff that I watch podcasts that talk about stuff like this. So he was trying to look up kids stuff, but it was a cartoon character, a woman cartoon character, and on the front it was a sexual picture, a naked cartoon woman, and it was like her back. It didn't show the butt, but it was like obviously in a sexual position. And when you play it, it has like a hole, right? So it's all black around, and it had a hole, and the girl is doing this motion that like she's getting fucked.
Right.
But it's a cartoon girl naked, but you don't see anything, but she's just doing this motion in the hole and making these sexy faces. And my son watched 2 30-second videos of that, and I was fucking livid.
He was ready.
I was at work, and I'm looking at my history because I'm watching YouTube. So I'm like, what is it? So I play. I was like, holy fuck! So I had to call my husband's cousin stays with us, and he was watching my son, and I was like, I told you not to let him on YouTube, and he was like, oh shit! I thought he was just watching like Netflix or Disney Plus. He didn't know. So I'm like, well, I sent him the video. He's like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, my heart was racing, my hands were shaking. I was texting and calling my husband like, we need to take away the iPad, we need to take away the TV, everything. Like I cannot. So technically he's been introduced, but he doesn't know what he's introduced to yet. And my husband had the conversation with him. I don't think he like broke it down, but we were just like, we have to take these things away. They're poisoning our minds. Like it's not good for you and blah, blah, blah. And he just was like, okay, whatever. Like it is what it is. But it scared me to my core. Like I don't want to have this conversation at 7 years old. Like I don't.
Well, you should, because
I mean, I'm going to have to. We're going to have to, because it's being introduced out of our...
Right. So what is the ideal age? Just, because I'm a mom. So what is the ideal age to have the conversation?
I'd say either one,
You're
7.
right, I
I'd
guess,
say like
yeah.
7 or 8. Either way, either
7?
girl,
Really?
7 or 8. And the reason why is because you guys got to think about it. The time and the era has changed to where when we were kids, we didn't have access. If we wanted to go watch it, we'd have to go find dad's old fucking porno mags.
I was gonna say,
hidden up. But now the kids getting phones at a young age.
Yeah.
Now your son or your daughter may have somebody at their school to have a phone, and now they're showing them. Well, they may have somebody at school, right? Another kid that's going to introduce your kid now is exposed to that because he's showing that kid's over there showing your daughter or son porno.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. I took Anaya to her pediatrician, and we just got to talking about hella random stuff. But the doctor was basically telling me that she gets a lot more patients now. Mind you, she's a pediatric doctor, and these girls are starting their periods at a younger age than what she was seeing.
Yeah,
like I started period at like 15, 16.
Yeah, I was in the 7th grade.
Yeah, I was in high school, but these kids are starting their periods at like 10 years old.
Yeah, in elementary school.
That's what she said. She said it's the food they're eating, and then the less active they are, they're starting their periods earlier, so they're starting
so the
to
less
become
active as like sports and stuff like that?
Sports, because now they're more so at home. They're on their tablets.
You know,
they're
they
watching
say
TVs.
when we're on our cycle,
Bless you.
If you're
when
more
we're on our
active.
cycle, if you're more active, you have
welcome.
less cramping, you don't bleed as much,
Right.
which I find to be true. So that makes perfect
Yep.
sense.
They also say too the average age of children being introduced to pornography is like 8 years old. That's the average age.
Fucking wild.
And
Your son was just.
yeah, and so and it's
So you have to put a
I'm gonna go
block
to the
on all
yeah.
YouTube.
Well, yeah, YouTube's done like
At my
over
age,
with.
I didn't. No, I definitely wasn't thinking about none of that. When I got to middle school, the only reason why it was like that was because the people I was like subjected to, like people in middle school in my age were pregnant, and then like it was like the boys that were like into the girls and stuff like that. But I mean, like we weren't necessarily talking about sex, maybe till like 8th grade, but some girls were pregnant, so it was like it was talked about.
But
Yeah, kissing was sex, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
How old were you when you got your first
I'm not gonna have
kiss?
sex with you. Trying to kiss
10.
me, you dirty.
I was young.
I was literally in like 4th grade.
I was young.
So
I was
also
like
to go back to what Ash was saying too about the girls getting their periods earlier. It's there's I don't know how factual this is. I didn't get all the studies on this and stuff, but they're also saying to birth control. You know, we're putting these hormones in our body, but it's also coming out of our body. You know, so like it's another reason why men are becoming more feminine. Because of all the birth control that women are taking, those hormones are being let off. So like when we cook our food, like our hands and just not necessarily like the man we touch, but it's just those hormones that are being let out, and it's causing even men to be more feminine. And it's because
we're. Are you,
You know,
saying
like-
because it's in our bloodstream and it's like going through the babies, or like?
so I don't know the details, but it's like, so for example, we let off like around our period time, we
Endorphins.
let off like a pheromone, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of like makes men more sexual,
Yeah.
right? It makes them want us more. It's
Right.
kind of like
Like
it's like a
being
chemical thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a chemical thing. But when we suppress that, they're not getting those pheromones. They're not getting that.
So it's making men in the world not get those.
Yeah, so
Okay,
they're
I get you.
not actively doing things to seek women, and they're
Yeah.
not actively doing things to be men.
Yeah.
So they're becoming lazier and becoming the video gamer, and they're becoming less intrigued with women, and they're becoming less social, and they're becoming more feminized, and it's all because of
And that's the
birth
thing
control.
too,
Not
because
all, but
I noticed with some men that I've dated, you know, when it comes to like anime and the video games, they have that shit in there. So it's like men that aren't literally like sexually active in like human form.
I'm listening.
They're
I'm
getting
letting
it through
y'all
like
know.
the internet stuff, which is making them weird. Like,
Yeah.
so it's making the younger generation be like,
It's
yeah,
also
they have it in anime and fucking
anime.
video
I was gonna
games.
say it's
Like,
also in anime. It's also
weird.
and
Big
then
in anime.
and that's where it
Yes.
comes in where when he was talking about desensitization.
Yes.
It's making and it's making men
Yeah.
like want different things from women
I'm like,
sexually.
if you're getting this in a cartoon, I cannot give this to you normally. That's so fucking weird.
You can't be you can't.
I'm not a
You
cartoon.
can't be a Naruto. You can't bend over and put your arm behind your back.
No, I can't. I don't want to. I don't
I
want
dig
to.
it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it comes from like, and I did bring it up earlier. The
Desensitization.
yeah. Oh my god, I don't know why I just lacked that word. But a lot of it does come from that. But again, and then men testosterone levels. We ain't even gonna touch on that, but that happens too, to where they lose that drive a little bit.
Man,
So
that
that
hit
plays
like
into
36.
That goes into play. So
Y'all
I
lose
hope
the
I don't
drive
get
to
that.
what?
34.
Wait, y'all lose the
I
drive
didn't lose. I didn't lose
to
my
like have
drive.
sex?
No, not me, not yet.
some people do,
But a lot of
I'm
guys
like,
do.
I know men that are like 60 having babies still.
No,
Like,
Well, I mean, on
but
Viagra. On Viagra.
No. So look, let's talk about it. So, and I hate to be the asshole, but women will never understand what it truly
Yeah.
is to be a man. So,
Nah, y'all
Yeah.
don't.
and that was gonna be one of my questions today.
yeah.
Was why do women know so much about being a man, not enough about being a woman?
We don't know because
And
we're not
so-
those women. So we
so-
would like to know
No,
as well.
like that is a good question because a lot of women try to tell men how to be men.
Men.
Right, and don't even know. And they probably had a
A real
dad
man
that
would
wasn't
open my
even
door. A
alive.
real man would go do that. A real man would like, do you know the motherfucker?
What about a real woman? What do women do?
Speak on it. Speak on it.
Yeah, go
Speak
ahead.
on it.
That's where it did. Okay, so this is the problem. So and I've been talking to females, talking to relationship, but they always like like there ain't no real men out here no more. Men ain't doing this and men ain't doing
Daddy
that.
wasn't even in her life.
And I'm like, well, where's your daddy at? Because first of all, do you even know have an epiphany
Idea.
of what it is to even be a real man? Because what you told me is your dad was in our job, he was never there. I mean, Grandpa's there, but again, it's different from every day being there versus Grandpa showed you a little bit of love. That's what you know. But I never will understand or grasp that for a woman to sit in in her femininity, calling a man out about being a man, saying you don't know how to be a man. A real man wouldn't do this just to insult that man's
Masculinity.
Yeah,
I
masculinity.
was gonna say, I don't
Yeah.
think that's her being her femininity either.
And so that's where,
There's no way.
that's why in relationships, I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but I've noticed it about a couple of my homeboys when they call me, their women is like, they're in the masculine level. And I'm kind of like, why do you come with so much masculine energy about, like, I just never, a lot of women, let me not say all women because people get offended when I say that, a lot of women come out with the masculine energy.
Yeah, I want to answer your question too, because I think that was the biggest thing that got me on this like road to understand men. Though I'm not saying I know how it is to be a man, but I got very intrigued when people on YouTube started coming out and talking more about men troubles and masculinity and what it means to them to be men. And for me, I felt like it was beneficial for women to learn that. It's not that we'll ever understand it completely or know what it is like, but to understand it was a different level for me, because now and this is kind of contradicting, but it pushed me to be more feminine. And when I say that, I'm not saying that I think that we should be walking around being masculine, or that it was okay for me to be more masculine, but I used to be that girl. I used to be the one telling my husband, like, you need to be a man, or you need to do this. Real men don't do this, and da-da-da-da-da. All along, I was being that real man. You know what I mean? Like, I was the one that was trying to be masculine and trying to control and trying to lead and trying to wear the pants. And I had to see that I was the problem. I wasn't allowing him to be a man because I was trying to control everything and trying to tell him what to do and how to be and where to go. And so it was like the whole time he was being a man, but I was in this masculine energy or whatever.
You're
and
competing with him.
it was more about not being in touch with just being like more agreeable and more submissive and more like letting him lead. And I think that's the problem, is that women have become independent. They're able to work, they're more educated, so they think that they're better, or they think that they should be able to control, or they think and then they're still asking for a real man. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. And it's crazy because women are out here saying, and I will say, like, as I've learned more, I feel like I'm able to talk about it, like, well, men, think this way, and innately they're this way, and biologically they're this way. And it's not that I'm trying to say like this is how all men are, but it's that women, it's important for us to understand how important it is for us to be feminine. Because if we're just out here thinking like, oh, this is how men are and this is how men should be, but yet we're still acting in that way, it's not helping us. It's hurting us. And go ahead.
Yeah. So this is where this podcast stuff becomes crazy, because anybody can just get a mic, headphones, and start a podcast, right? I heard this guy on a podcast saying this is why, as a society, as men, we fail a lot, because you have men that really have this thought process. He said, if a woman cannot thrive with her man in her femininity, she will then result in masculinity.
Simp.
And so in my mind, a lot of women agree with it, because I went because I always go to the comments.
Of course they did.
The comments of that.
That's a pick me.
And that, you feel me? And so to me, and this guy is consistently always beating down on
Probably
men on
that
his
light skinned
podcast.
man.
But to hear him and hear her say that, right, I instantly started thinking back in my mind, okay, well, since she's acting in masculinity, I'm going to go ahead and act in femininity.
Right.
So I'm going to meet her where she's at. Oh, babe, don't talk to me like that.
Because, and then we women want to say that and agree with that, and men want to be pick-me's and say that too. And then it's like, okay, how many women would date a man who's in his feminine energy?
Because women don't really,
and then expect men to pick them when they're in their masculine energy.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous.
That's why I don't agree with that. Oh, women want you to be all soft and stuff. No, they don't. Because once you start being that, they're gonna be like, wait a minute. They're gonna start having second thoughts. Yeah. So it's like, that just goes to what I always say is like women don't really know what they want. They say they want this. No,
They don't. They don't.
They say that they
don't.
want this, and then when we give it to them, they be like, "Wait a minute, this is what it is. I don't want that."
Yeah,
But it's go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no,
That's
no,
where
no,
it goes
I'm gonna
into.
let you respond because
That's where it goes into. I've always said this, man. It's I've always said that there's too many Megan Thee Stallions and not enough Michelle Obamas out there.
Definitely.
And it's factual because everybody nobody wants to put together the hard work.
No.
Right.
No.
Everything
Zero.
should just happen. That's why every time somebody goes to the gym, like you could tell this motherfucker finna fall off with the gym because he's only posting the gym when he goes every once in a while. And even if he posts every once in a while, that's the time he goes to the gym. So of course you're gonna post your pump when you're pumped and yeah, I'm jacked. I've been in the gym. No, motherfucker, you ain't been in the gym. You go every 1 to 3 months. So at the end of the day, nobody wants consistency with the relationship to put the work. They just want everybody all already made.
Yeah.
Women,
mostly.
Cardi B said it best. I don't cook, I don't clean. I still got the ring. A lot of women's mentality go there because they're not going on these different little grades that Michelle Obama's going on, where she's going to go speak to young black women and let them know like this is how you carry yourself as a wife. You sit in the femininity. Like could you imagine, right? You go to your wife as a man, you go to your wife, and every time it's just to beat down on her. Fuck you, and you ain't doing shit right. Boom, 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 and she keeps responding to you like, you know what, babe? You don't have to talk to me like that. Could you see yourself as a man, and this is why you got to get called as a hoe card as a man? Could you see yourself continue to disrespect your wife, and she's coming back at you saying, you know what, babe, it's disrespectful. We could just talk about it. As a man, I couldn't sit there and just keep beating down. I have to then check myself. Like, bro, you got to stop doing that.
I always say you can't speak down on your woman and then allow another nigga to come in and do the same thing and then have a problem with it.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's where, as that whole thing, that's where.
Yeah, that's kind of a verbal abuse. I'm not being soft if you're verbally abusing me. Right.
Yeah, and so.
I don't even believe in that, like
see,
verbal emotional abuse. I don't necessarily believe in. I think it's just buzzwords. I think it's words women use to say they're unhappy or say they want to leave or say.
Well, because someone will meet you where you're at.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you want to be, I'm going to come back at you with that when you don't have to.
But but I do think that it isn't right to put your woman down like that. But it takes a real man, like, here we go, right? Takes a real man. But it does to see, like you said, to sit and see and reflect and take accountability. Now, if you kept doing it, obviously, yes, there'd be a problem. It'd be, I guess, considered verbal abuse. But like for a man to sit back and be like, damn, I don't have to talk to her like this.
No.
But it does take for the woman to be in her feminine to kind of allow a man to take that accountability. Because like you said, if it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, there's never going to be resolution. It's just going to keep going.
In the beginning stages of my relationship before I married,
and vice versa.
My kid's mom,
Correct.
in the beginning stages, he was there for it. We're at, and I'll never forget this fucking day. We're at Emeryville Mall, and we're sitting outside.
Oakland, California.
And bruh, I literally was going in on my kid's mom.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And this is when him and his wife was boyfriend and girlfriend, and I was like going in, and I was mad because I was like,
nigga, we was together.
Y'all was boyfriend and girlfriend.
We was married.
Was y'all married? Y'all was not married at that time. But that's when y'all was not married. No, they was not married at that time. I know they wasn't.
Okay, we ain't gonna go into
this is
that.
when because a year later I got married, if you remember right, when y'all got married. So y'all wasn't married at that time. But listen, I'm good with dates. So we were sitting at this goddamn mall, and I was going in, and I couldn't remember what I was going in about. But you know what? After she walked off, because now she's like, I'm gonna walk away because I'm gonna say some disrespectful shit back. So let me get up and walk away. Mm-hmm. And this is where if your friends ain't checking you, or your closest people ain't checking you,
I called him.
Right, they really not your people.
Yeah.
So him and his girl, or his girlfriend at the time, which is his wife now, they sat there and said, hey, you're going to lose something that's good because of the way that you're treating her. And you treat her like dog shit and talking to her like that. You got to stop doing that. It's just sometimes you respond hella disrespectful and you're not realizing that one day that person that you said something to, what if she just walks away now and go die over there? And that's the last thing you had. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize it until after I realized, like, damn.
Yeah, I have that issue too.
So I took that constructive criticism and realized that, like, okay, cool. As a person, I can't keep dogging a person that I supposedly say I love.
Right.
So I had to really understand that. So when it comes down to this, you sit back, and if a man says, hey, I don't want to do something, and then a woman returns like a real man with another man, or this man does this, or John does this for his wife, why can't you do that? He's a real man. And you start doing that type of shit, then it starts to play the game of, am I good enough as a man now? Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, okay, now this is this is no bar holds for me to be like, fuck this relationship, and I'm gonna internalize it and be like, okay, I'm checking out now, because now everything I do is like, you're not a man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
am I good enough for you?
Yeah.
You know what? That is true. I just approach a lot of things differently. Like, I remember people would ask me, "Oh, do you buy your wife flowers?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't do that." And a lot of guys buy their wife flowers, but I know my wife don't even like flowers. She buy like a plant. She like that little plant to hang over, and it got the
The
little
orchid.
right? So I know, so I buy her that, but I still don't do it on a regular basis. And I always tell people that I don't do that because I feel when you start doing stuff over and over and it becomes like a normal routine and you stop doing it, guess what? Well, why you don't buy me flowers no more? Why you don't do this no more? And it just starts a whole conflict. I know that probably was off the whole topic. I'm a little.
It wasn't, but I feel like, but what if she likes that? Like, because I like flowers.
But then when you stop, what you gonna think?
I mean, okay, so
That's
in
true.
your in
Man,
your
I'm wasting
in
money.
your
These
point,
motherfuckers is dying every week.
in your point,
What are you gonna
I guess if it was like a routine thing, it would be like played out, right? So I do like flowers, but I do like them if it's like, oh damn, he ain't bought me flowers in a year,
Yeah.
and he bought me flowers. Damn,
Right.
that's hella special to me. You know
Right,
what I
it's
mean?
more special,
It is
right?
more special.
But- okay.
So I get it in
Yeah.
like a 50-50 thing.
Yeah.
But I do think, like it's important to allow men to be men. It's important to allow them in their masculinity, but it's also just as important for women to understand how important it is for them to be in their femininity. And if they have guys on podcasts and on TikToks and Instagram saying like, oh, well, women don't have to be in their femininity if you're not going to be in your masculinity. Like I think that's bad advice. Like, I think women should, and like this goes back to what I said earlier when we were talking about the tight clothes. Like, women should be the women that they're supposed to be in when they're in their committed relationships outside of that as well. Like, we need to be feminine. We need to be, have the nurturing side and the peace, and we have to be loyal outside of relationship. Like, we have to love. I don't want to say love ourselves, but we have to respect ourselves enough to be that no matter what, single or in a relationship, because that gives, and that's why when you were saying like, why are women out here saying I can't find a real man? It's because you are becoming the man you want to be with. Your standards are too high. Like,
Facts.
And when I say your standards are too high, I'm not saying to lower them to like be with a deadbeat or to be with a gamer that's not going to give you any time and love and attention. But it's to understand that we lower your standard by stop being the man you want to marry. Like, stop being like, it's just be the woman that you want to be in a marriage, so that men can see that, oh, this is a wife, this is a mother, like that's how she carries herself, and she's not even that yet, and that means she's gonna be, well, hopefully she'd be a good one because she's that already. So like the whole like girlfriend giving, what's the saying? It's like, I was a girlfriend giving wife benefits.
duties.
Yeah, doing wife duties or something. No, you were who you were supposed to be.
Right.
Exactly.
So I mean, I
Like,
definitely
there's a meme that says something like, I'm not gonna be cooking dinner for a nigga that ain't my husband or
Yeah,
something.
like,
I'm
it's
But that's what you
So-
working
but if that's what
for.
you want to do,
Yeah.
like,
So you
you just
like
need to find a
stars
man
there?
that's the husband.
yeah.
And that
And
goes
it-
a lot with trust.
Yeah.
That's what that
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Like,
and picking the right person.
Yeah.
and they say too, like, like when I say lower your standards, I'm not saying to be with the first person that's going to show you attention and just be like, hopefully he makes me a husband or a wife, but it's saying that, pick wisely, pick a man who's going to be a good husband and a good father. And then you can, not saying at that point, then you can become the wife and the mother, but the two can combine. You can't combine a wife with a man who's not ready to be a husband, or a husband with a wife that's not ready to be a wife. Like, it doesn't work.
So in
go ahead.
that aspect, do you feel like you can turn a hoe into a housewife?
No.
I'm talking to Sabrina.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Well, no, because
So do you feel like there are women that just aren't wifely?
So
and they're never going to be wife?
I'm sure that there are plenty of hoes that get wifed, right? We
Yeah.
see it all the time. But I think it goes back to the body count issue, and it goes back to how they carry themselves.
Once you've already surpassed that part, like, how do you become a wife? Or is it just all ends, you're just done?
I think
for?
that if you were a hoe and you have a high body count, I think that you need to lower your standards, or you need to accept a simp, and you're never going to fully respect the man that you're with, because it's going to be somebody who's going to basically not respect themselves enough to be with you in a sense. So
Yeah.
it's going to be, you're going to find somebody, but it's not going to be the man that you're going to ultimately respect and look up to.
You're gonna have to get a man with the same
So you can get
lifestyle
wiped,
as you,
but, yeah.
basically.
that,
In a sense.
yeah, that all sounds cool. But like, I'm learning now, right, in the dating world, I'm learning now that you can't let everybody have access to you.
No, you can't.
Yeah, definitely.
And show them everything. Now,
Right. No, I agree.
I'm the type of person, and I'm only going to speak on me. I can't speak for all men, but I've learned now as being out here now, right? Understanding that, okay, if I see something in T and that I know it, okay, cool. I can, her good versus her bad, the good's better versus the bad. She got the baggage. I can deal with it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to show her everything. So this is my resume. I treat it as a business. It's not a business, but I treat it as a business.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm giving you my resume because then I want to apply for the application of the lonely heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have to buy. I live by the LPP principle: lead, provide, protect.
Okay.
That's what I live by. That's the first star on my thing. I'm also a student. That means that I'm going to learn. I'm going to sit there as a student and learn you. I'm going to learn you as far as understanding what messes with your emotion, what triggers you, where can I be vulnerable for you at, and where can I make it comfortable for your femininity, right? They come to me. So here we are, and I'm learning that. Now I'm checking that box off on my resume of what I have, and then we're gonna go down and talk to the lines of this is what I have to provide for you. This is what I have to add to you. This is the substance that I have for you. So I think a lot of people in relationships, this is where we go wrong at. We stop being a student.
I was just about to say,
'Cause
I feel like in our age group, because of the pressure that they put on people, like I was asking you, like, okay, so what if she was a hoe in her 20s? And like, what does she do now in her 30s? You know what I mean? Like, you still have to be a student. You still have to learn. Like, I'm still learning. I'm still learning at my 33 age. Like, I'm not a mom. I'm not a wife. So I'm still learning. Even if I have a boyfriend, I'm still learning on what to do and what path to take. And he still needs to learn me. And it's not saying that I can't change who I am or what I do or whatever, but you can't put stipulations on people like, well, you're just done for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's saying, like, I'm going to learn her. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Like, you still have to, if the person's not willing to learn, then you can't do anything with that person.
Right.
Yeah, and then that goes to say, like, even being in from the standpoint of being in a marriage, like, people talk about, let's talk about it. People talk about this evolving. Like, you're not always going to be the same. You have to evolve.
I mean, you're not.
You're not.
But what people don't understand is, and I've said it like 100 times over, some people evolve to be worse.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey.
It's not always growth is not always a good thing.
Yeah.
Growth, they grow to be worse because they're not evolving to where it's a positive. It's more of a negative.
Yeah.
And that's where I tell people, are you evolving because you want to, like,
Better?
I'm evolving because I'm controlling my life now. I want what's for me. That's not gonna be good for the relationship.
Right. Selfish.
Selfishness because you're worried about the needs of you.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just totally weird that, well, I'm going to put myself first. I haven't put myself first. Well, you don't. That's not fair to bring kids in the world.
No, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, that's why we have to understand that marriage, I'm going to talk about marriage because that's what I'm in, but it's, or committed relationships, it's about duty, it's about serving, and it's about putting self aside. In love, well, us Christians understand, like, God is love, right? That's what love is. But what was Jesus Christ? He was sacrificial. Love is sacrificial. Love, you have to be able to sacrifice your needs, your passions, your all of that to put your family and your spouse first. Again, I'll go back to, of course, there are points where we have to be able to, like, okay, like, how can I make myself better for them? But is it for them or is it for you? Like, what does that look like when you're going, like, oh, it's best for me to go find a higher paying job than my husband? Like, is it best? Like, it might be best for you, but is it best for the family or whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is? I agree with that. I agree. And it is always important to be a student and to learn. But again, I think, to go back to, like, what you were saying, T, about, like, the hoe being done for, it's not necessarily that I feel like hoes don't deserve love in relationships and marriage. I think it's just they're making their life harder in the bad decisions.
I definitely do.
And I think that we have to, like, when we keep saying, like, it's about who we pick, right? So if a man decides, like, oh, I'm sure I can turn her into a wife, I'm sure she's changed, she's older now, it's like, okay, where are her morals? Where are her values? Did she value promiscuity? Did she think that made her better, brighter, bigger, or whatever the case may be? Because he said too, evolved. Is that did she evolve from that, or did she evolve, like, embracing that?
Embracing the
shit.
shit.
Because if she thinks, like, if she's just walking around here like, oh, I didn't make any bad decisions in my life, like, I don't regret anything, like, then where are her morals and where are her values? Is she you know, in that case, it's gonna fall flat. It's gonna not work out, and she's gonna get married to this man, and then she's gonna end up wanting to get back in the streets and have sex with somebody else she's seen at the bar like 3 weeks ago.
Because I mean,
There we go.
that podcast that we watched when we were on our way to LA, and that girl, that older lady. To me, I feel like she was done for because she didn't want to learn anything.
Yeah.
She was just stuck in her
Agreed.
ways, and she was just like, men are this and men are that. And it was just like, well, what you did wrong in your relationships. Like,
I think that goes to say that's why you see a lot of these women in there that are single, that are pretty, right, when they're older, and then because it's just like, okay, they've been through a lot of stuff, and they were like, no, I'm not. It's not learning in a sense. It's like tolerating now.
Right.
I've been through it before, so why do I need to tolerate it again? And I'm not going to do that.
right.
So that's why I say when you're younger, it's better to make the mistakes and stuff because younger people feel that, hey, I am going to grow with this person, so I am going to take that time to learn, and I'm going to work on myself to be better. But when you're at an older age, it's harder to find a relationship because of that. They say, no, I'm not changing. Guys and women do the same thing. I'm not changing. So if they can't meet me here or meet my standards, I'm not going for it.
right.
Women are waffles and men are pancakes.
Yep. Y'all never heard that before?
No.
So
Break
go
it down.
ahead.
Break it down.
women
Departmentalize things.
This is where the notion of when I was talking to him a long time ago about women are waffles, which mean. Or no, let's talk about men being pancakes first.
Yeah.
Men are pancakes, so where we everything that happens to us, right? We take it in, but then eventually it falls off the side of the pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
Versus women, they're waffles. They compartmentalize the syrup, right? So the cheating,
good.
they compartmentalize it. They hold on to that. Versus men, yeah, I cheated, but let's work through it.
Yeah.
Versus, you know, the cheating, the lying, and you guys compartmentalize
Yeah.
and keep that shit in
Yeah.
to where now it builds up anger. I want to love you, but you did this, that, and the third, and it's
Yeah.
fucking with me mentally.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a relationship, and I asked it earlier, have you ever been in a relationship, but you were single as fuck because you already checked out that relationship that you were in, but he still think you guys are in it because he still wants to work on it because he's let it go, but you have not because you still hold on to that.
Yep.
And that's
Been
just
Been there.
everything with the whole thing. So that's why I always tell men, be careful what you do because they're gonna remember
What you
that.
do, what you say.
And that's why I don't be in women's business. If she wants to wear makeup, go ahead. That ain't none of my motherfucking business. You look good, babe. But that women's business ain't mine. That's why, and I tell him this all the time because we always have these hour phone calls on the thing because he's married. I used to be, so he understands that it's not John's responsibility to worry about how his wife treats him. It's John's responsibility to worry about how he treats his
Period.
wife.
I love that.
And if he's treating his wife of good and he's in alignment with the alpha and the omega, then it eventually will be substance and that covenant is there.
Yeah.
And so that's
That's
why
good.
I always sit back and I realize like, dang, but I'm the type of person I learn. It's not like I don't get it. I learn. But then when I realize that like there's a lot, I keep meeting women that just want everything from me right away.
Yeah.
But because that's older women that you said you talked to.
You want fucking
older
33
women.
to 40.
Older women realize like, hey, I have a certain time period.
Yep.
I need to hurry up.
No.
Not that one. Oh, okay.
Not that type of one.
I think it's more so talk about like the generational.
Oh, okay.
You feel me? So
The
it's just more of
generation we're in with
These
the-
younger kids are
Let's
talk about
microwavable
rent.
kids.
Yeah,
These
they don't want to go through the
They don't want the struggle. They
Yeah.
want to just say, hey, put this. I want this business.
They
Put
want
this
it
in a
all, but they don't
microwave
wanna
for
cook.
15 seconds, and then
Dinner.
there we
You know what
go.
I'm saying? And that's where
is that why when you're saying you are working on yourself and all these things and you're dating women that you don't want to, you telling them, I don't want nothing right now because of the popcorn reaction?
yeah, it's more of
Because if you meet a woman that's in her 30s, that's like, okay, well, you're working on yourself and I see you working on yourself.
Why can't we work together, right?
Yeah, why can't we work together and build together?
Because that's what life is. I think that's what it is. With marriage, we're working.
So
we're
when
not,
when he was originally saying that, I'm like, okay, well, if I was single and I was interested,
like, what if it takes 10 years to work on yourself?
right? And
You-
but if he's like, okay, this is what, because he seems like a man with a plan, right?
my journey is my journey. Though.
I mean, but plans are not always good to have.
It is. You gotta.
I mean, plans are good
Don't
to
say
have,
that.
but-
Don't say
yeah,
that.
let me not say- let me-
A man has to have a vision. He has
have
to
to have
his
a plan.
family going somewhere.
But the thing is, it's just like when you making a plan is like a goal, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, right? So what happened if you never meet that goal?
No.
No.
But I'm
What
like,
happened
that's
okay, you
that's
could say
something else.
you could be saying my plan is to graduate from college,
No.
right? And you never meet that.
The foundation.
Yeah.
You cannot build a house without a foundation. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. Correct.
I mean,
How,
I can't speak for me. I built a house on the foundation, but
you can't build a house without a foundation.
I can't speak for everybody else. But for me, I built a house on the foundation.
But I mean, that's just the right way.
I can't
mean,
speak for everybody else.
Can you get out of bed without your feet?
Yes. I just be
What you
having
gonna walk on?
my knees.
You're gonna be falling.
You telling me
be
that you
falling.
never seen nobody
You're gonna
walk
be
on their
falling.
knees?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying, if God bless you with feet, I'm not talking about people that have amputees, but you get out of the bed with your feet, without your feet. You can't get out of the bed without your feet. You're gonna be falling, right?
You saw people walk on
So
their
you
hands.
need that foundation to walk. You need that foundation.
Either
to walk.
way, you need a foundation,
But
whether it's
need
your
a
hands, your feet,
foundation,
your
bro.
knees, whatever.
Regardless of what it is, you need a foundation. That foundation has to be there. You can't have skin without a skeleton. Now let's talk shit now.
I'm sorry. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk.
He said, I don't want the smoke.
Yeah, I don't want this smoke today.
So what I'm saying is you have to have that as a foundation. A woman has to see that this guy is there's a foundation that he could build a life. She has to be able to see that. You have to give her that. As a man, we have to be architects. We're forgetting that. And somewhere in our mind, some men, we're failing that. We're not giving that architect. We have to have it mapped out, and it has to be built. We have to build this, that, and the third. And I think a lot of it is being lacked because, and I hate to say it, women, you guys are not really, because you like, fuck that, I can go get it out and get it my own. So that's why you guys are not getting men of substance. Mm-hmm. You guys are getting men that's lacking, and then you guys get with them, and then y'all for so many years, this motherfucker changed, and then never happens.
Yeah.
Who said it?
And it just, it's this whole shit is so convoluted. It's like you got hurt people hurting people.
Yeah.
And you got this person went through this personally. Now she's with this person. He's struggling, not knowing what real love is, and then it's just so convoluted that you start to just dismiss all this. And that's why, like I always tell people, just you gotta take the good with the bad. And if that person's good is better than her bad, then take it. And then you guys just work on it, and you gotta be willing. Two people have to be willing for the relationship to work.
So bring it back to my point. If you're meeting a woman that is willing to take you with you saying, I'm working on myself, and she's like, okay, but I still want something serious.
I'm still out of alignment. I'm not going to be able to take you and drive us where we need to go.
But do you think that
So
could
if
be
she's
an
willing
excuse?
to stick around.
Wait, so then you would say that she would probably be, it wouldn't be right for her to stick around, is what you're saying.
I would tell her, I would say, hey, T, you know what? I'm working on me. I'm trying to get myself into alignment. So let me go through this journey. And if to God be willing, because God's going to align it again. Right. If it's willing, you let go and let God move on it. And if God lets that alignment come back together, then it's going to come. But you have to, as a man, myself as a man, I'm going to call myself out. I have to check myself first.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be another way of having an excuse of just being out there to do what you want to do?
Women are going to see it that way.
Yeah.
And so they're going to see
you said that.
They're going to see it that way. And the reason
But if he's telling me like he's telling me, so continue to tell me.
And the reason why they're
I love it.
And the reason why they're going to see it that way is because, number one, first of all, check that man's phone. And
Wait, what?
Listen.
Wait.
Pause, Bree, let him finish.
Let me land it real
I
quick.
need to know why, 'cause I don't do that.
I'm the type of person. No, look, listen. I'm the type of person, right? If I'm really interested in this person, me and you both know, but I'm telling you, hey, I'm in alignment with God. And hey, if you don't believe me, I'll give you my phone. I'll let you go look at my social media. I'll let you go look at my text. I'm not talking to nobody else because I'm that focused on what I got going on. And to be real with you, I would be honest, I ain't got time right now because I
give her your phone.
Nope.
But I would give them my phone. I have no problem owning my phone, giving T my phone right now, because at the end of the day, I'm telling you, I'm trying to get myself back in alignment with where I'm supposed to go. I'm gonna be there now. You would be the problem, and indirectly you would be the problem on accident. It wouldn't be your fault because now here we are. I've already had sex without being married, right? So here you are. It's not you per se, but we're gonna be alone. I'm gonna be like, do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the alignment's gonna be off.
Right.
I'm gonna keep hindering. Now, once I get in alignment and realize who God is, that means the pornography goes out and all that other stuff. Like I told you guys before we started this show, when she said it, I'm working on myself, I'm struggling.
Right.
It's because I literally have to go through this and go on this spiritual journey to realize that, like, this is where I need to be and this is where I need to focus. Now, if T's not in alignment with that, because God ain't gonna align something that's not supposed to be aligned. Right. That's first and foremost. We know that. So if she's not in line with that, I'm gonna say, hey T, I just don't feel like we're vibing or we're in the same alignment. I just gonna have to let that go. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna respectfully say, hey, I'm not trying to waste your time. I don't want you to waste your time, but I don't think we're gonna be a match.
See, I think, yeah, I agree with you, but I also think like women, when the vibe is off, I don't care if it's just for a day. If it's off that one time, they be like, nah, he's not
Something
the
ain't
one.
right.
Yeah.
Something ain't right. And it's
But
just
I
probably because
respect
the
that
guy
he
could have
said,
been
like, he's gonna
shy.
say like we not aligning.
I got called.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot align one day and the other days, if you go on another date, you know, it could have just been the fact that somebody was shy or somebody just didn't feel comfortable that
It's not
day.
a one day
meeting somebody.
thing though. It's
But you make it as a one day, unless if you saying, okay, because if you don't feel the vibe the first day, you're not going on a date the second day, right?
Yeah.
So if you say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna put all that
An
aside.
immature person wouldn't go on a date the same day. Because a
Wait, but
mature
I was
person,
I was gonna say
Wait, to
because
a
bring
mature
both-
person would speak up
No.
and say, "Hey, I had an issue with this date. Maybe you may not have noticed, but I think you offended me here."
Okay,
And then that
that's-
doesn't mean that guy can't get that secondary chance. Now, if you go on a first date and he's already sending pictures of his shit, okay, cool. He know what he did wrong.
Wait, but to bring both your points together, because I think I'm getting what both of you are saying, and I don't know if you quite answered the question for me when I asked you. So, for him, when you were saying like, okay,
Me or him?
you,
Okay.
Ty. So when you guys were saying like, you would be basically seeing like if you align with her, and if it doesn't, then you would be like, hey, this ain't working, right? But she already knows you're not in the headspace to be in a committed relationship. So what I'm asking is, would it have been unsmart for her to stay like trying?
Yeah.
Because she's aligned. So in her head, she's like, well, this is who I want to be with. I like him a lot. We've had sex. We're dating.
and
we're
I
seeing
see that
each
he's
other.
on his journey. I see he's working on it.
So she's thinking, well, he's got to get to the end of this journey sooner or later. I'm gonna just stick it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Would
no,
that be unsmart, or is that per person? And then he's saying like you're talking about in the dating phase, right? Like if it's off one day, more than likely you're not going to get that second chance. So I think with both of them combined, it's like I'm asking like when is it like I guess a good person would say like, okay, I'm going to leave you alone because I know you want a relationship and I don't. But at what point do we say like this isn't the woman should like. Because some men don't understand.
Off jump, I'm going to explain to you, this is what I go. Like,
so you're
I
leaving the
meet her
responsibility
today. I
on
met
her.
Today. I'm telling her, hey, I am not in the space to be in a relationship. This is what.
So you're leaving the responsibility on her.
Yeah. So, but I'm not going to have sex with you because I know that's going to hinder me from where I'm going. But I'm down with being your friend, T.
Okay.
Can we be friends?
Yeah.
Because any relationship you build, you got to be friends first, right?
Nah.
So if
No?
I'm saying like
He's disagreeing with you.
You don't believe in trying to get to know a person, be friends first, and understanding that.
No, because I think if you go in a relationship with somebody and you got a
it's
good
not a
vibe,
relationship.
if you go on a date with somebody
Or hanging out.
and it's a good vibe, you gonna fuck. You're a dope. A dope's not gonna be around the corner and just be no, I'm serious.
So you don't believe in?
But I feel like that goes into where he was saying immaturity and not immaturity. And I'm not trying to say you're immature.
No,
but
go ahead.
He's saying like if he's at a standpoint in his life where he's like, I'm not looking for something serious. But if we go on a date and I fuck, that's immature to him. So
Okay, but which is understandable,
immature.
but then that also defeats the whole purpose of him talking about how when he said when you're adults and you just fuck, that just happens.
But he's already said he's in a state
Right?
to where he's
So
battling
that-
that.
So I get what
But
you're
no,
saying
no,
because it's
but
like,
he
why
just
put yourself in
said-
that position to go on a date in the first place?
Right.
No.
So
but
like, if you're gonna be like, if you're gonna look on your alignment and stay on that path, then stay friends.
Right.
The
stay
minute you
friends.
take me on a date, in my mind, I'm
And
like,
fuck, yeah, it's opening
I'm
the
like,
door to
oh,
something
we
else.
on a date now. We're going on dinner. Okay,
Yeah.
so now he must see
take
me.
the sex out of it.
But not even sex. We're just on a
Okay.
date yet. We're
Yeah.
still on a date.
So what's wrong with a date?
Because I'm
'Cause
like,
it opens the door
It
for
opens,
women.
it opens the door for
learned-
one
still-
sex, and in my mind, back like, okay, he's taking me seriously now. Now we're going on dates together. We're being seen in public together.
So my
Like, okay. So guys and girls can go together on like for friends.
I'm about to say. So I was gonna say, what's,
that is
okay, so
I can't look. So look. So
No.
I don't want this to be misconstrued. But if I take T out to go, I'm like, hey T, let's go get some dinner. Let's go get a bite to eat. I can't take my friend out to go get a bite to eat and
Look.
show her that I am a gentleman. I still have to show her something.
No.
that's
can't-
all cool
I
and
can't-
stuff.
No.
I learned that a
No.
long time.
What's the point?
I
No.
think-
I learned a
No.
long
What's the
time
point?
ago.
What's the point?
When you this is the difference from young grown women and young girls. I learned a long time ago.
This is spicy right here.
No, because look,
This is crazy
I used to
spicy.
talk
We
to
gotta get
older
into it,
women,
'cause I
right?
gotta
And she
say
said,
my piece.
she said, I invited her over to my house, right? I had an apartment over there in Emeryville, right? So, we were just chilling and stuff, and she was just like, "What's up?" I was like, "You want something to eat?" And she was all like, "Look, let me tell you something." And this is where I learned a lot of my game from. She said, "Look, a grown woman is not just going to come out and come to your house and just watch Netflix and chill. That's what a little girl going to do." So
Go ahead. I want to hear.
Okay. So she was just saying, like, you know, when a grown women can, I can stay in my house all day. I can stay in my house if I want to. I could have just talked to you on the phone if I wanted to. But when a grown woman come over here, don't think about it as a Netflix and chill, because that's not what we want. We want to have sex.
No, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Take sex off the table.
We're not in a relationship.
First of all,
We're not in a relationship. That's the thing.
To piggyback
But
on
is
it,
this your first time hanging out?
Yeah.
See, that's
But to-
then yes. Why? But I'm not making that a first date. Like, I'm not going.
But
to some man's house
that's his
first,
point
no more.
No,
though.
but what
That's
I'm
his point.
saying-
His point
What-
is, as a woman, you're gonna go to his house, Netflix and chill.
Yeah, and I have control. over
Why
if we're
are we
having sex
just
or not.
chilling? No, that's not like.
So
he's-
what I'm saying-
he's saying like
Yeah,
that. Like
but-
a woman, if I'm gonna go to his house, I'm gonna let you know. Like
Okay,
that's
I get
basically
that.
So if I
what
go
it's
on a
gonna
date,
do.
if I go on a date, I mean, come on now. If a woman, I mean, everybody have that urge. I don't care. I mean,
Well, yeah,
some
of
women
course.
don't.
But
The
from
mature
him,
part, you don't
him
put
saying
yourself in that
he
situation.
knows he don't want nothing more. He knows he doesn't want to have sex. He just wants to go on a date. Bye.
No,
I'm not going on a date with you.
So you gonna?
He just wants to.
Oh, so you just want to? You want to just pay for lunch, have fun?
Nah, I don't. I'm too
gotta-
old for that. Like,
So-
if you just want to go on a date and you have no intentions of taking it any further than that date, you're wasting my time.
Okay,
That's
so,
what
so
I'm
let me,
saying.
So let me ask you this question.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, a
take me
woman's
to
not
eat
gonna
for
come
what?
to your
Flirt
house
with you
just
for
to
what?
watch
You don't want to
TV.
be with me. You don't even want to have.
But that's what I'm saying. A woman's
No.
not just gonna come. A grown
Yeah, I
woman
get
is
what
not
you're
just
saying.
going.
I
Okay.
get what you're saying,
Yeah,
but
she's not
when-
just gonna come and
him?
just do
No.
whatever.
So when you're working on yourself, you're not seeking for that relationship.
work
so
on
that,
yourself.
That would
Just
never,
show me
work on
date
yourself.
them.
Why bring somebody else into it?
Listen, I'm not. No, that's not what I'm saying. So hear what I'm saying. You're not listening. When you're working on yourself, you're gonna tell that woman that. So she's either going to understand that. I wouldn't take her on a date per se, but if she wanted to go out to eat and hang out, I'm cool with that. I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
he's just saying the communication has to be there. Like, as
It
long
has
as he's.
to be-
But
it
that
has
I
to.
think that's where
So
the
you
hurt.
got to take sex off of the out of the assumption
Equation,
off
yeah.
the table, because then you'll get the purity of this person. People think that
But what does it matter with the purity if you're not even trying to settle down with her?
Listen, what I'm telling you. What's the difference between this lady T going on multiple dates with different men?
That's why you don't.
No, but it happens. You go on multiple dates with different men because you got to get a feel for the man. You're not getting the feel for that man because if you're going through multiple men and you're going on multiple dates, there's no feel there.
But if you're
Because
working
what's
on
the purpose
yourself,
of going on
why
dates?
even
But
put her
if
in
you're
that
telling me,
situation?
Let me ask you a
I
question.
don't go on
What's-
multiple dates, so I
what's the
can't relate
purpose
to
of
that.
going on dates,
I don't
though?
know because I don't do it, so I don't know
You don't
the
go on
purpose.
dates at all. You
No,
don't
I
have a
don't.
date life at all.
Nope.
Okay.
So my
Have
thing
you
with
had a date life?
what?
Have you had a date life before?
Not dating multiple men at once? No, absolutely
no,
not.
just in general, one man. Have you had a date life before?
Yeah.
What was your purpose of going on dates?
I mean,
What's your purpose? No answer. What was your purpose of going on dates?
but that's not what we're talking about.
But what was? I want to hear you.
We
tell
have a
me.
purpose because I want to be with you.
The purpose to go on
But
dates.
you're saying from day one, I'm working on myself. I don't want nothing serious. Bye. You tell me that day one, I don't want to talk to you. What's the point? Go
And so-
work on yourself. Come talk to me when you're ready.
and so
Women
It'd
don't
be
waste
different
their
if you're
time when
already
they're
dating and then
adults.
boom, you come out of nowhere. Then that's different.
So let's give it from that angle. So then you guys will get understanding what I'm saying.
It's the same thing to me.
No, listen.
If I'm
what I'm
pursuing
So I'm
you,
going to say, hey,
pursues
Mel,
me.
how you doing?
If
I don't want to be with you, but I want to take your time because I want you to go out to eat
No,
with me.
you're taking the notion of it, and that's why I'm about to give it from you this angle. If she pursues me, T pursues me, and I say, hey T, I'm not in that place of boom, 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 and then she goes, no, you know what? I prefer you to be a friend, and I'd like to. I'm spiritually sound. I prefer to be your friend. Can we be friends?
oh,
we hang out
that's
and
cool.
stuff?
But I'm not. I'm not doing that.
But everybody's
I don't need any more
It's going to be
friends.
different. But
Yeah.
if she goes on that standpoint of saying, "Hey, I'd like to be friends with you," and let you know that I'm spiritually there, I'm woken, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to show you or teaches me what's wrong with being cool and being friends like that.
Nothing's
There's
wrong
nothing
with it.
that.
Yeah, I just don't see it. The point. We're grown.
But if you're not
We're grown.
ready,
I don't need any
and what
more
happened if she
friends
starts to
go
fail
on
for you,
dates.
fall
Yeah, I
for
was
you?
gonna say we can't.
What
really-
happens?
Me personally,
Nah.
I'm an emotional person, so you
Yeah.
can say
A
we
lot
can
of
be
women
friends.
are.
and
That goes
I'm
with
gonna
the
end
being
up
a friend
falling-
before a relationship thing. That
Yeah.
If you see a guy, I feel like women, if they see a guy doing all this, hey, taking me out on lunch, buying me all this, that's
I'm
what
gonna
they
be
You
want.
like me.
bruh.
So now what are you
Now-
putting?
now I'm
now
really
what are you
like
putting in
love
your
for you.
head?
I think
We-
that's
But now
what-
you're putting
we
in
all
their
know that the
head.
liking's going to be there.
But you're
at
putting
the
in the
same
woman's
time-
head of false.
Yeah,
like,
that's
false-
that's where my question was going with Ty when I said like, okay, so yeah, you can be communicative, but then it's probably not smart for her to continue just being friends with you because
And I
she's gonna.
respect that.
But also to piggyback off that, it's it's also not really responsible for the man to be like, even
Right.
though I told her, I'm still gonna hang out with her, because your actions are showing you're interested. Your actions are showing like, oh, this could lead somewhere. So it's gonna confuse her, and I think that's what's unfair. And I don't think it's unfair on the man, because you were communicative, but I think it's not smart for the woman to stay friends, thinking in her head like, oh, he might come around, or maybe his journey's gonna be done in a month.
But that's how we do it. I mean, I'm sorry, my bad.
That's what's really going to come from it. Like, she's going to be like, okay, well, he seems like a good guy. He has all his stuff in line.
I have everything I want,
and
right?
eventually,
every box.
if I stay around, he's gonna pick me.
Yeah.
But see, this is where guys
that's
get
what it is.
They be like, "Well, look, I told you."
Yeah, that's and that's
why
fucked
are
up.
you
that's
why are you
the
upset?
unfair
That's,
part.
I told you.
Yeah, and
that's the unfair part. But it's up to the woman to.
Yeah,
stick
that's what
around.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put the accountability on the women for that. Like, I hear where you're coming from. I think that it's fair to say that that's an okay, you
can put the accountability
scenario.
on women, but you got to understand that's a way of manipulative. Like, us guys are telling the women, no, you know what? And you can laugh at it.
Wait,
all you
no,
want,
but
No, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing because I'm.
No,
He's like, damn.
Because y'all motherfuckers ain't getting it.
no,
I love my
we
cousin.
get it.
If there was $10 million,
No,
let's
say-
just fucking
I
move
get
it like
it,
this.
but
There was
Ty,
$10 million
so
in this
Ty.
box, and they said, wait 10 years to get this $10 million. Are you gonna stick around, or you gonna be like, oh wait, I've done built all this 10 years of this box, and this money still ain't came out yet.
No, but that's the point. So what I'm saying is like,
Are you
okay,
gonna still sit there and wait the 10 years for the money, or no?
yeah, I'm gonna wait.
I'm gonna
You're
wait.
gonna-
If I
you're gonna wait.
But that's the
So
point I'm
if
trying
you're
to
gonna
make.
wait,
It's
right?
not fair
If
because
I know I'm gonna get that.
no. Listen, it's not fair because then in 10 years and the box opens and it's empty. Then what? I wasted 10 years of my life. It's still a
But you
risk.
see the 10 years through the clear box. You see the 10 million through the clear box.
That's different then.
There
But
we
what
go.
you're saying is I'm on this journey. I need to, handle some things. We can be cool and we can talk to each other, get to know each other. That's cool. But you're not promising her anything.
Right.
So it's a risk.
Cause like,
So you
It
guys
has to-
basically are telling me, so you know what, T, once I go through this spiritual battle and I go through this spiritual warfare, as soon as God put me in alignment, I'm gonna come back.
For how long?
Yeah, you would have to say
I'm gonna
that.
come
Then,
back
Yeah,
at
you would have to tell me like, is it a benefit at the end of my risk?
How
yeah,
long?
but not even though,
I
'cause it's
asked
how
my
long,
wife
because
to be a girlfriend
I'm
in
a
a
type of
year, and
person- I'm the type of person
she
where
almost left.
if I was single and you told me that, I'd be like, okay, cool, yeah, he's got it. I'm about to ride with him through it. But if in the end you're like, well, I told you in the beginning that I wasn't ready, and I'm like,
because my question is going to be like, my
my
question is like, what am I waiting for?
Exactly.
You're on this journey. Okay,
because
cool.
I'm not a popcorn bitch, but
right.
like,
Because like if you're telling me to wait, I'm assuming you see me as a good woman for you to
and
wait
that's
for.
that's the key thing. He's not telling you to wait.
So
that's
I'm
his
saying,
key thing.
right? So I'm saying like you got me in your back pocket over here.
No, I don't.
Okay,
that's what
But
he's saying.
that's
what
the
he's saying.
choice
I
that
don't.
she's
You have
making.
free will to go live. If you want to go date other people, and I can't be mad.
But
at
like you
Ashley
said, but-
and be like, and then once I get in alignment with God, and be like, hey Ashley, are you available still? And Ashley goes, well, now I'm struggling. Not that'd be my decision now to be like, okay, well, I can wait for Ashley because I felt like you feel
You
me?
can wait, but she can't.
But to what you're saying, it, like she said, she's not a popcorn bitch. She's gonna be able to wait. And as women, when we find the one that we see we can be with for the rest of our lives, and they check mark all our boxes, and they're a good man, they're a good person, and they're being communicative, and they're telling me these things, and then I'm good. We're gonna wait.
Right.
But the fucked up part is, in that 10 years, you come across another girl, and you're like, oh, she got 10 times more, whatever you're looking for than this woman, and she done waited 5 years, and you're like, oh, matter of fact, I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah,
But
and
no,
then
but
your
that's
excuses.
where-
I didn't
but
tell
see,
you.
that's
that.
the thing.
And I get it.
Now that
That's
$10
where
million
that
is
alignment.
money
Once you have that alignment there, God will align that back together.
Yeah, no, I get your
Or
mindset.
God would have brought you that woman from the get go, and you would have.
God brought you that woman,
You would've just-
and you
Sometimes
ignored the signs.
Sometimes we ignore the signs
Right,
of
yeah.
spiritual when you go
But
on that
I
spiritual
get it.
battle.
I-
I can't be a broken man trying to bring T in while I'm trying to get in alignment with God and bring her in.
Well, that means you
That's
just have to
gonna
let the
what we
women be,
call-
though.
Yeah, you gotta let it go.
Just
You gotta
don't
let
talk
them
to
be.
nobody. Don't
Yeah.
date nobody.
Be
You
with
don't see
yourself.
those friends while you're aligning with God. You gotta
Because
do
you're
that
doing
on
more
your own.
harm.
The question was, why can't she get with you while you're working on that alignment, right? So I'm giving you the answer. So you can't bring that in with not understanding, because as a man, you're going to always have the clear mind. I've always said, put God first and you'll never be last. In all that you do, whether it's taking care of your children, whether it's taking care of the finances, whether it's taking care of your wife, whatever it is, you put God first, you will never be last. In every
Even though
aspect.
people put God first, we don't see them signs.
So right now, I'm talking to you, right? And so this is where I keep trying to tell people, you be like, well, take God out of it. You can't, because at the end of the day, there's a right and a wrong, right? So we know that. So if you take God out the center, where's the direction you're going? Where's the direction? Where's the source that you're getting it from? We can't trust on the government. I can't trust on this therapist. You gotta say the therapist is good.
You gotta realize that there's still a lot of good. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of good people that don't believe in God. You know, there's a lot of good people.
No,
still.
yeah, no, I get,
So
I
you
get what
can't-
he's saying, and I think it's not wrong.
Where do you go get your FEMA at? If God's your FEMA and your source, where do you go?
I don't think
I
you're
can't
wrong.
speak for that because I go to God.
But I
No, I'm
feel
just
like
saying, where would they go to get their source or their FEMA?
Probably
I
they
feel like
can.
at that point you still have to be a student because
And yes.
because you have a clear road on where you're going, and you're saying that she has to be aligned with God, and when God aligns it and whatever, but
That's just a whole lot of faith.
you don't know that somebody might be coming in and it might be the right person. And
I think
you're
there's
so
more-
focused on that straight path, which is not wrong at all. But you still have to be a student and be open to the relationship part, even though you're working on yourself and you have that straightforward.
I believe
You have a goal in your head where you want to be at a certain point in your life to open up to a relationship.
I
If I
believe
can have a
working.
relationship with God, does that make God my man?
No.
I have a relationship
But-
with him. So what's the difference between humans? If
But
I have
I
a
think-
relationship with a person that I'm understanding that, hey, this is a friendship right now until God elevated it to something
yeah,
else.
no, I agree.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Nothing's wrong with that.
Nothing.
I think.
I
like,
think we were confused on just bringing the girl in, like,
No,
because
yeah,
you're
right.
saying I don't want to bring
get
her
why-
into the frame, but
Yeah,
at the
I get
same
why.
time, you kind of are.
I shouldn't be
so that was-
seeking.
I
I
was
was
going through
seeking
what-
dating if I'm working on myself.
Right.
I get what you guys are saying, but that's why I tried to switch it a different
Dial
way.
back.
She came up to me,
Yeah.
and then you feel me. Then,
So you're
then
saying you're not pursuing anybody,
I
but if
know.
somebody
It's-
pursues you, then that's what
then
it is.
it's kind of I'm gonna lay that foundation in my resume.
yeah.
This is
Okay.
what I'm going through, and this is what I'm.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think sometimes it's helpful to have somebody to go through that because
was
some
gonna
people
say
can
that.
actually help you get out of whatever you're going through.
But I
and
think
make
what
things
he's saying
better.
is whatever he's going through, only God can help. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
thank
God
you.
sends people
Appreciate
your
that.
way
Yeah,
to
I
help.
I'm not
agree.
saying you
agree.
don't. I'm
Right?
not saying
Because
no,
I
no,
tell you
no.
like that. I went through
help.
depression.
Assist.
I'm
Assist,
away.
not
Like I
help.
went through depression. You think I'm gonna stop? I mean, you think I'm gonna stop talking? I'm gonna let my wife go out and going through depression is not nothing fun. Anybody that's been through it, they know how bad it just feels.
Your depression could be bringing your wife down. You may not know it.
No,
Internally,
but see-
she ain't gonna tell you.
But no. What I'm saying is, I did not allow that to stop, and that was actually helpful for me because earlier I told
didn't
you.
allow what to stop?
Earlier I told you that my wife helped me understand my emotions when I was going through stuff. She helped me. She actually bettered
But I
me.
think that's
into-
what he's saying too. Is like it was okay for him to have those friendships because who knows what, you know, where God is gonna open that door for him within that relationship. So he's saying if somebody was pursuing me and I told them everything up front and she's still down to be cool, who knows what God is working on with that relationship? That's what he was saying.
No, I understand what he was saying.
Would you trust
but-
Ray if she came and opened up to you saying, "Hey, you know what, John? I'm not a good woman. I'm gonna hurt your heart. And I'm gonna hurt it, and I'm gonna hurt it bad. You're gonna feel bad and depressed." Would you then take that chance, or would you say, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take that chance, and she's already told me I'm gonna accept whatever happens that comes with it."
No, I get what you're
think
saying,
that's
but
a
I'm not
woman
going
and
to
a
take that.
man
I'm not going to take
difference.
that.
Would you?
So I'm
would you
actually
still
going to leave.
gamble yourself and
Yeah,
okay,
but-
so you would leave, right?
Yeah.
She laid that foundation out till you left. Now, what's the difference me laying my foundation on her? This is what
Because
I'm
that's
going
I
through,
think
this is
So
what-
because
what-
I'm a
what
woman
I'm
and he's a
getting at-
man, so I think
what
he
I-
would take it differently.
What I'm getting at is the fact is, if you're working on yourself, then you're working on yourself. If a female come up to you, which usually females don't come up to males, it's the males going up to the females. So if you're working on yourself, then you shouldn't even be approaching a woman. You should work on yourself first.
Yeah.
But he's saying he doesn't
I
approach women.
I don't.
They approach him, so that's why he's like, "This is what I'll be coming with."
No,
Okay, and then when you approach them, do you get their numbers? Do you exchange stuff, and then you see what you can get out of them first? What do you do? That's the thing.
So-
do you just
so-
end it right there?
So I approach, right? If I approach, right, then that's be approaching, right? But now, don't get me wrong. Like I got served compliments, and I've walked up to them. But I would approach at that point.
So the
in
question
time.
is, do
But
you-
now, knowing now, today's day, like this month, this last 2 months, knowing that, hey, fuck that.
Knowing that you're not
I
ready,
have
do
to-
you accept? Do you still try to approach them, or do you still push them on? Yes. Or, do you, knowing that you're not ready? do you still allow a woman to talk to you, exchange your numbers and everything, knowing that you're not ready? Why?
If they want to talk to me and they want to have a conversation, I still lay my resume out to what this is where I'm at as far as mental goes.
Okay.
And this is where I'm not ready. I'm not ready for a relationship.
So when a woman approach you, they approach you
friendships.
because they feel that you're attracted in some type of way.
You wouldn't believe how many times I get approached and how many times I get like
no. So my question is the fact that the fact that you understand that she is going to approach you because she finds you attractive. You know she gonna want something more out of you. So why do you even exchange numbers with her?
What are you talking about?
I get what he's saying, but I think it's just going in circles at this point.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely hard because you just circle back to something totally the same exact narrative where we're at. But at the same time, if I give that person my number, that's with faith that they understand that, hey, this person is not in that space.
But I think what John's trying to say is that you're still taking that risk of them falling for you, and that's not fair. Which isn't on him; it's on her because she knows what it is, and that's where I say we got to put the accountability back on the girl because. If she knows and she's taking that risk, that's on her. And there is some responsibility on him too. But
it is.
I think it's.
But she's
giving, and she was given the choice. Right. You could stay and
he's a man, so he's gonna be like,
yeah, I get it. I don't think.
No, it's not about getting my dick right. You keep reverting everything back to sex. It's literally
just having somebody.
It's literally platonic friendships. You know what? I've never, and this is where the immature part was about me, and I've already accepted that and understanding like with who God is the immature part is I never had platonic friendships with a female ever.
Yeah.
Like I will shoot my shot and call a girl gorgeous. Or like, hey, boom, boom, boom. But I've never had a platonic friendship. I've shot my shot in somebody's inbox before already. Then I realized like, dang, I really don't have to shoot my shot because am I really in that place to even want to be in a relationship with this person because I have to get right. I know that I'm not right. Mm-hmm. And that's why I told you guys I'm spiritual warfare. I'm really battling, which I tried to tell her earlier. She's like, yeah. They all just working on each other. But when I gave you that vision of what I'm talking about, now you understand kind of, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm still struggling. I'm human. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do it perfectly. So but
I think it goes into like what you said earlier about hurt people. So when a girl hears that, they're just like, oh, fuck, like.
Yeah,
he's working on himself.
Also naturally just wanting to fix.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So if I'm,
especially if you check mark all the boxes, it's going to be hard to be like,
and you're telling me, oh, this is your problem, and you're working on it. Then I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, he's working on it. Yeah. So you're still checking a box.
No, definitely. I know that for a lot of the women that like I've gotten involved with and all that. I know that I'm phenomenal as far as checking the box goes. My biggest issue is in relationships, and I'm honest, is and it sucks, but it's just I feel like when I meet women, they always have a hidden agenda about me, and I don't get what it is. I try to like they'll be like boom boom boom. I want to be with you boom 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 because I feel like you're a good man, you're a good dad boom boom boom. But then all of a sudden they keep.
But that's not. I don't think it's hidden.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hidden agenda. Because
I think it's the same thing any woman will want. That's why
I think that you kind of have to. You need to look at that as a plus, not a minus. Because
want me for me though. Don't want me because you see I'm a good dad and you want to have kids with me. I want you to want me because you like me.
You want somebody to really understand you and get to know you and all that.
They see that as a good character.
Yeah, they see that as a good the resume part.
It's not like you're a terrible man and they're like, I just want to have his kid because he's a good dad. Like that would be weird. But
it sounds weird, but this shit's true.
Oh, well.
I mean, it is true because there are women that are just searching for good dads,
especially older women when they want to have kids. They're ready to have kids. They're like, well, I know he's a good dad. I can't find. Not that they can't find anyone else. You're a last resort or anything, but
no, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
He's suffering from good problems.
I literally had a woman tell me, she was like, I envision you being a father to my kids.
Yeah.
I literally had a woman tell me, I'm like, lady, is fucking.
He said,
and
lady.
From there, I'm just like, okay, all right, whatever. I guess, but it's cool, and that's where. That's why kind of like I realized after these like last couple of months that I'm realizing that, okay, I know that I'm a one woman man and I know that I deserve one woman. But I know that me ignoring God and I'm not, I had to tell myself these last couple of months that you don't go seek nobody no more. Just work on what God has planned in store for you and get on that and work towards that and then eventually you'll grow from that. Now, get me wrong, I get weak sometimes because if I see a woman talking about God like on the different things, which I guess the devil comes in many forms, but whatever. Yeah. But if I see a woman talking about like God and how like going that like
It makes you want to have a conversation with
hell
her.
yeah. I'm like, okay, cool, because like that kind of turns me
That's
on.
the same thing they do when they talk to your kids.
Well, yeah.
Hidden agenda.
And so I get that part, but then when you start talking to them and they start backing it up in scripture and they start going, and you
I
guys
get it.
understand that soul's there. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, cool. This person's equipped and you know what they got.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But my biggest question I always ask women: if you can change one thing in the world, what would it be and why? I always ask
And
that
what's
question.
your hidden agenda behind that?
So the question, why I ask that
Right, 'cause
question
what's your-
is
what's your
because
right
you're gonna
answer?
Get the IQ of what they have. There's no right answer, but you're gonna get the IQ of where they are. If somebody says, "Oh well, I changed the gas prices because they're too high," now you said so it goes
Now
to
they're more
that
worldly.
it goes to that OG's thing when he's on the thing. You think it too small, bitch. You need to be thinking big. It goes to that, right? And so understanding, so
Mind frame.
Yeah, mind frame and trying to see
Yeah.
okay where it is. And believe it or not, I got a lot of different perspectives. If I ask you guys if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be and why?
Mm-hmm.
Some of you would be like, that's a good question. Because
It is a good question.
so it's
We know who to say it.
so it's just always funny. And mine has always been racism. And the reason why I chose racism is because if you take out racism, right, and say I went to the store to go steal something, now you can judge me off of, oh, that motherfucker's just a thief. He steals stuff. That's what he did. We caught him. He did that. Instead of I go into the store being black, oh, he's about to steal. You know what I'm saying? So you take that off the table. Now you are what you've done. You are the actions of what you've done. And now that's where the racism, you take racism to be more of a loving place, more of an evolving place, more of a understanding that we help people, and that's just what this is. And the world will be a better place to go around.
I'm actually gonna start asking.
I'm like, should we answer that
Wait,
question?
I was gonna say, okay, so
wrap up the.
We'll do this. I'm gonna
Mel,
ask.
like I gotta go 2 hours
My
ago.
parents are gonna be here in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
I have to change and stuff.
I'm gonna do two things. We're gonna let you guys give. We want you to give relationship advice to women, but to the woman that would be your ideal woman.
Yeah.
And then after that, you guys can ask any last questions and plug any socials if you want to, or podcasts or anything you have going. So go ahead. And then at the end of that, we can say what we would change in the world.
I make sure it's really short.
Okay, good.
One relationship advice I would give to a woman is just to don't get comfortable in a relationship.
What is okay?
Don't get comfortable. A lot of people. I mean, it's a broad. I just
Yeah,
don't want
it's
to go
very
into
broad.
too detailed. But people understand when I say don't get comfortable. You get used to doing certain things, and you forget how it was when you guys first started.
Keep the
So
So you
consistency.
feel like we
Doing
should
what you're
keep
supposed to be doing.
we should keep it spicy from how it was in the
keep it.
beginning?
Yes. Don't. I mean, it's nice to go to bed still looking sexy. You know what I mean? Don't go to
Got
bed
you.
and it's nice because guys we look at that we be like, damn, she looks sexy. We may not tell you.
So when you want to keep them the same way you got them. Don't
Yeah,
stop.
don't. Oh, I'm gonna wrap my hair. I mean, you can wrap your hair, but just keep it sexy still.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay,
What about you,
Ty?
Ty? Relationship advice to your ideal woman.
To my ideal woman, be a chameleon in it. Always stay blended. Always stay assertive, and always be that man's like confidant. Because like especially being black, going out into the world every morning, and understanding that hey, he may not make it back home, but just not understanding how that man's being treated at work, not understanding when he's driving home being pulled over, not understanding that man goes through a lot of stuff and he's out there working his ass off to make it happen. Just understand that like you have to be that place of refuge for your man. So always be a chameleon, be able to adapt into the whole thing of this is my man, how I'm moving, this is what it's going to be, and always protect the whole situation of the relationship.
That's good.
As far as that goes.
I like
Be a
it.
chameleon.
Anything you guys want to plug? Social medias or podcasts? Go ahead.
I'm on Instagram, but it's Teegoham, so it's TEEGOHAM, and I'm bald-headed dude, no shirt on. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm
catfishing out here. No,
Yeah, I'm hat fishing for sure. I'm bald. I just shaved my head probably like 4 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's new for me. Anybody got some bald-headed hoe shit advice for me? Keep my head fresh. Like,
Not
Bald-headed hoe.
Nah, I don't have that.
No?
I don't,
All right,
I don't,
that's fine.
I don't give my
That's
social
fine.
media out really.
All right,
Alright.
Bree, what would you change? What's one thing that you would change?
That's a good big question.
Yeah.
Because I've
It's
changed a
loaded.
lot of things.
Yeah.
it's
Just narrow it down.
What's one in the forefront?
But I would bring God back into the schools.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a
Ash.
It's a very good one. It's funny because this last week I was going through a lot, and everything was just going through my mind. So I think I would change. Gosh, I would bring back traditional woman or modern, traditional woman.
I was gonna say, mine
bring back
would
traditional
kind of be two. I would take the like new age, like gender stuff and like gay stuff or whatever. I wouldn't change it from the world because that's the world, but
The agenda.
I would change the agenda and I would bring back traditional like family values.
Come on, Mel, because
That's a good question.
you kicking us out. Come on, Mel.
I'm not kicking you guys out. We just usually don't record for 5 hours.
This had to be a good one here.
I think I agree with all of them. Just in general in the world or
in the world.
Just in the world itself.
social media. Get rid of it. Oh,
I agree.
all of it.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
And why is that?
I want a world with no social media.
Me too.
Because it changes
Simpler.
everything.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
I agree.
we need simplicity. In
I think
this world.
it's a reason for a lot of issues in the world. So
That
I
might
like
solve,
that one.
might solve my world problem.
Yeah. I like that one.
Take away cell phones.
Yeah, let's have to have conversations with people and meet them and not just text. And
I like that.
That's the reason
like
why.
pick up the phone, call somebody. You can't
though you
just
got
text
two
them. You
That's
know?
the reason why, like, having cell
Yeah.
phones.
I got
is
two
having cell phones is
one
the
for the
worst
plug and
because
one for the hose.
now when I come home, we have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
We talked all
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
So there's no substance there.
no social media.
That was amazing. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Definitely have to have you back. I appreciate it. And that's that. Bye, guys.
Bye.